years, hovering around -5 degrees. Just as the plum blossoms began to bloom. Hearing his daughter's voice, Dai Wanling turned his head, and Zhou Yuqin finally glimpsed his visage. The elder had a hawkish nose, a face chiseled like stone, with piercing eyes that emanated authority even without anger. Despite his age, he remained spirited and vigorous, particularly his eyes, which seemed capable of piercing through a person's soul. Upon seeing his daughter's family, a slight smile creased Dai Wanling's lips. "I thought you would arrive tomorrow, but you're here today." Dai Wan replied, "We took a flight this morning." Shen Jingyun interjected, "Hello, grandfather." Dai Wanling glanced at Shen Jingyun before pointing at Zhou Yuqin, asking, "Jingyun, is this the man you chose?" Shen Jingyun nodded, affirming, "Yes." Dai Wanling continued, "Is he little Yeya's biological father?" Shen Jingyun nodded again, "Indeed." Zhou Yuqin smiled and greeted, "Hello, grandfather." Dai Wanling cast a glance at Dai Wan, who explained, "They obtained their marriage certificate last week. Although the wedding has yet to be held, they are already legally recognized as husband and wife." Dai Wanling coldly retorted, "What does legal recognition matter? As long as I refuse to acknowledge it, he is not a member of the Dai family." What a character. The old man's temper is quite formidable, and his arrogance is astonishing. It is rather amusing to see the Dai family, on the brink of becoming a third-rate clan, still bearing such pride. Zhou Yuqin feigned ignorance to Dai Wanling's words, maintaining a smile on his face while not shying away from his piercing gaze. In terms of presence, Zhou Yuqin, possessing the prowess of a martial arts master, feared no one. The saying goes, when a martial artist is enraged, blood will spill within 5 steps. Not even a retired soldier or the president of the Lighthouse Nation could intimidate him. The fact that Zhou Yuqin dared to meet his gaze without yielding left Dai Wanling somewhat taken aback. Once a legendary general commanding thousands and having personally faced battles, Dai Wanling's aura surpassed even that of Shin Changgang. Whether it be the children of the Dai family or the valiant generals of the military, none dared to speak loudly in his presence, let alone make eye contact. Yet, to his surprise, this grandson-in-law not only possessed such audacity, but also exuded a hint of pride and dominance from the depths of his eyes. Just this alone made Dai Wanling realize that this young man, much like Shin Changgang, was not someone to be easily manipulated. Noticing the atmosphere shifting, Shen Jingyun nudged Zhou Yuqin with her shoulder. He withdrew his gaze and turned to her with a slight smile, then addressed Dai Wanling. "What you say is true, sir. My surname is Zhou, and I have married into the Shin family. Thus I cannot be considered a member of the Dai family. However, I am indeed a relative of the Dai family, which is indisputable." Dai Wanling huffed, smooth-tongued. Zhou Yuqin chuckled, choosing not to engage further, and turned to little Yeya, "Sweetheart, greet your great-grandfather." Little Yeya seemed a bit afraid of Dai Wanling, timidly saying, "Hello, great-grandfather." Seeing the adorable child, a hint of a smile finally graced Dai Wanling's face. "Hello, little Yeya. Come, great-grandfather will take you inside for some delicious treats." "Thank you, great-grandfather," Yeya replied. Shen Jingyun secretly sighed in relief. She was well aware that her husband was not an easy person to deal with. Had Dai Wanling displayed a harsh demeanor towards little Yeya, Zhou Yuqin would undoubtedly have erupted, leading to significant trouble. Fortunately, while the old man was not particularly amiable towards adults, he was quite fond of children. Upon entering the main room, a middle-aged woman in her 40s poured them each a cup of tea and presented little Yeya with a plethora of snacks. This woman, named Chen Xing, was the caretaker assigned to Dai Wanling. Little Yeya inquired, "Mom, can I eat this?" Shen Jingyun replied, "Of course you can." Little Yeya promptly grabbed a piece of orange-flavored soft candy, requesting Zhou Yuqin to help unwrap it, and popped the candy into her mouth. Dai Wanling chuckled. "This little one is just like you were as a child." The moment she tastes something delicious, her eyes light up with joy. Dai Wan remarked, "Little Yeya is far more beautiful than I ever was." "Father, how is your health?" Dai Wanling replied, "Just as before, able to eat and drink. The doctor who checked me said my health is comparable to that of someone in their 50s or 60s. Zhou Yuqin speculated that the old man must have been a martial artist in his youth, possessing skills that were undoubtedly formidable, as well as a profound understanding of health and wellness. Otherwise, at over 80 years of age, he could not possibly be in such good condition. Dai Wan said, "That is good to hear." Dai Wanling continued, "Changgang is doing well, making progress and securing a position in the Yunhai city government. He has been in the deputy ministerial role for 4 or 5 years now. In a couple of years, he may well be promoted to a position like deputy director of the public security department in Yindu." Upon hearing this, Dai Wan remarked, "It would be best for Changgang to work in the public security department, but if not, it doesn't matter. We don't care about such things." Dai Wanling frowned. "Foolishness." Dai Wan smiled. "Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Some people strive tirelessly for promotion, yet find themselves unable to ascend, while Changgang has focused solely on his work and has instead enjoyed a smooth path to success. Thus, I believe that one cannot make sweeping generalizations about the world. Sometimes being a little naive is preferable, as being overly shrewd can lead to wariness from others. Beautifully articulated. Zhou Yuqin silently commended his insightful and astute mother-in-law. Dai Wanling grumbled, "You are a writer. I cannot outsmart you." Dai Wan replied, "Father, you are nearly 90. Nothing is more important than health. It would be best for you to cultivate your well-being and refrain from concerning yourself with external matters." Dai Wanling raised an eyebrow. "Your elder brother is vying for a ministerial position. How could I possibly ignore that?" Dai Wan calmly stated, "Isn't my elder brother nearing 60? He has spent his whole life in government. Yet in the end, he still requires his nearly 90-year-old father to assist him. To be honest, it is somewhat disappointing." Dai Wanling retorted, "What do you understand?" Dai Wan replied, "It's not that I don't understand, but rather that I choose not to. Father, I do not care whether my brother can be promoted. My concern lies with your health. You are no longer young. Please do not exhaust yourself over such matters." Dai Wanling's expression softened somewhat. "If you truly care about my health, then hasten to have Chang'an transferred to Yindu. That way, you can visit me at any time." Chapter 369. A shift in attitude. Dai Wan chuckled, "Father, do you believe me? If I were to visit you every day, I fear my 3 sisters-in-law might become anxious." Dai Wanling frowned. "Waner, I believe you have misunderstood them." Dai Wan replied, "Whether I have misunderstood or not, I am well aware. However, I do not wish to discuss this today. Tomorrow is your birthday, and Hao Yu and Jingyun have arranged for a piece of calligraphy by Chao Wangda. Cheers to the wine. I remember you particularly enjoy his calligraphy. Would you like to take a look now?" Dai Wanling turned to Zhou Yuqin and Shen Jingyun, asking in surprise, as Chao Wangda grows older, he becomes increasingly protective of his calligraphic works. Where did you acquire this? Given that Chao Wangda's son is a deputy national leader. Dai Wanling's inquiry was essentially aimed at discerning the relationship between the couple and the esteemed calligrapher. Zhou Yuqin responded, "Not long ago. The Calligraphy Association of Xia held a gathering in Yanhai, and I had the fortune of meeting Mr. Chao, from whom I received this piece." Dai Wanling probed further. "It cannot be that you purchased it?" Zhou Yuqin replied, "I exchanged it for another piece of calligraphy." Dai Wanling exclaimed, "Ah, that makes sense." Observing Zhou Yuqin's humility and lack of boastfulness regarding his calligraphic skills, a glimmer of appreciation flickered in Dai Wan's eyes. Just then, Shen Shiyan parked the car and walked in, smiling as he greeted, "Grandfather, wishing you blessings as vast as the East Sea and longevity as enduring as the South Mountain." "Good." Dai Wanling assessed Shen Shiyan, nodding in approval. "Not bad. You've matured quite a bit." Dai Wan added, "Shiyan was once naive. After hitting a wall in the financial market, he has changed considerably." Dai Wanling remarked, "Recognizing one's mistakes and making amends is a great virtue. Besides, Shiyan is still quite young. As long as he sheds his frivolous nature, the future is bright." Dai Wan smiled, "Let us hope so. Jingyun, please bring out Mr. Chao's calligraphy." "Okay," Shun Jingyun replied, retrieving a scroll from a long box. Zhou Yuqin held one end of the scroll, and together they gently unfurled it, revealing a magnificent calligraphy piece titled "Cheers to the Wine" before Dai Wanling's eyes. The grandeur and boldness of the work were unmistakably reflective of Chao Wangda's artistry. Dai Wanling exclaimed in admiration. Although Shen Shiyan had no expertise in calligraphy, he could still perceive the generous and heroic spirit embedded within the strokes, saying, "Brother-in-law, can your piece Cheers to the Wine compare to this?" Dai Wanling paused slightly, responding, "Sure to. What do you mean by that?" Shen Shiyan, astonished, replied, "Grandfather, didn't my mother tell you? Recently, at a gathering of the Calligraphy Association in Xiagua, my brother-in-law's cursive work, Songfeng Pavilion Poetry Manuscript, received widespread acclaim from all the calligraphers, fetching a staggering 1,800,000 in auction, which was donated to the Red Cross. Mr. Chao was particularly fond of my brother-in-law's work, and in front of everyone, they each wrote their own cheers to the wine, one in cursive and the other in regular script, as a gesture of mutual appreciation, which has since become a celebrated story in Xiagua's calligraphy circles. My brother-in-law has since earned the esteemed title of the foremost cursive calligrapher in Xiagua." Dai Wanling's expression revealed disbelief. "Waner, is this true?" Dai Wan confirmed, "Indeed. Yuqin's cursive is exceptionally good. Among contemporary calligraphers, I doubt anyone can surpass him. At the very least, I have not encountered anyone better." Dai Wanling turned to Zhou Yuqin, uttering 2 words, "Impressive." Zhou Yuqin smiled. "Old man, you flatter me." Dai Wanling continued, "However, calligraphy is but a minor pursuit. A man must cultivate his own career." Zhou Yuqin nodded. "You speak the truth." Just as Shen Shiyan was about to reveal Zhou Yuqin's identity, eager to impress, he was halted by a glance from Dai Wan. After learning of Zhou Yuqin's mastery in cursive, Dai Wanling's demeanor softened. In the afternoon, they dined together before departing. On the way back, Dai Wan asked Yuqin, What do you think of your grandfather? Without hesitation, Zhou Yuqin remarked, the old tiger still possesses his fierce spirit. Mother, I presume the old man must have practiced martial arts in his youth? Daiwan affirmed he practiced Hungar. In his younger days, he single-handedly felled over 20 enemies at the border with a blade, earning the moniker Old Tiger Dai. As he aged, he took up Tai Chi and often consumed herbal dishes. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. No wonder he enjoys such robust health at his age. In truth, after conversing with Dai Wanling, Zhou Yuqin's assessment of him was not particularly high. Out of respect for Dai Wan, he refrained from expressing his true thoughts and tactfully shifted the topic. Shen Jingyun cast a glance his way and smiled slightly. While he might deceive Dai Wan, he could not fool Shen Jingyun, his confidant. Upon returning to the courtyard, Zhou Yuqin dropped off Dai Wan, Shen Jingyun, and little Yiya, and quickly set off with Shen Shiyan to Yindu Airport to pick up Shen Qinggang. Shen Qinggang had flown directly from Yunhai after work and was expected to arrive around 10 o'clock that evening. After waiting for approximately 15 minutes at the airport, they spotted Shen Qinggang emerging with a briefcase. On the way back, Shen Qinggang inquired, Yuqin, did you meet the old man? Zhou Yuqin nodded, I did. Shen Qinggang asked, did he give you a hard time? Zhou Yuqin laughed, not at all. He even praised me for my calligraphy. Shen Shiyan chimed in, brother-in-law, you owe me your gratitude. If I hadn't mentioned to the old man that you are a master of cursive, he wouldn't have regarded you so highly. Zhou Yuqin smiled and remained silent. Shen Qinggang asked, did you mention the exchange of works between your brother-in-law and Mr. Chao Wangda? Shen Shiyan replied, of course. Shen Qinggang retorted, so, do you think your grandfather values your brother-in-law's calligraphy skills or his relationship with Mr. Chao? Shen Shiyan was taken aback. Is Mr. Chao really that formidable? Zhou Yuqin responded. His eldest son is currently a high-ranking official at the national level. Shen Shiyan suddenly understood, brother-in-law, no wonder during dinner, grandfather inquired about you and Mr. Chao. It makes sense now. Zhou Yuqin clarified, it's not so much about relationships. I have only met Mr. Chao once at the Calligraphy Association gathering. There is no actual connection. Shen Qinggang sighed. Your grandfather is eager for your uncle to advance further, to attain a ministerial position, and now is the best opportunity. Alas, he may be grasping at straws. Shen Shiyan asked, Dad, does uncle have that potential? Shen Qinggang replied, it's hard to say. Shen Shiyan casually asked, what about you? Do you have that potential? Chapter 370, The Olive Branch from the Dai Family Dam. What a reckless question. Zhou Yuqin did not expect Shen Shiyan to pose such an inquiry. It was audacious indeed. A reprimand was surely forthcoming. As anticipated, Shen Qinggang scolded. Is that something you should be asking? Focus on learning business from your brother-in-law. My affairs are not for you to meddle in. Shen Shiyan shrugged and quickly fell silent. Zhou Yuqin remarked, Dad, the old man mentioned that in a few years, you might be appointed as deputy director of the National Police Department. A glimmer of light flashed in Shen Qinggang's eyes. It seems my recent promotion has caught the old man's attention. It's the first time he has mentioned my matters over the years. How did your mother respond? Zhou Yuqin summarized. Her reply can be distilled into one phrase. Gaining it is my fortune, losing it is my fate. Shen Qinggang laughed heartily. Can you discern her meaning? Shiyan, you go first. Shen Shiyan looked confused. Does she mean it doesn't matter? Shen Qinggang sighed. You are right not to enter politics. Yuqin, what do you think? Zhou Yuqin pondered for a moment. The old man has not mentioned your position in many years, and now he suddenly brings it up. It is evident he is seeking to secure an avenue for the Dai family. Shen Shiyan was even more perplexed, brother-in-law. How can you tell that the old man is paving a path for the Dai family? Zhou Yuqin explained. This is the old man extending an olive branch to Dad, implying that the Dai family will fully support him in stepping up into the National Police Department. However, this means Dad will be tied to the Dai family, needing to look after their younger generations. The old man is orchestrating matters for Uncle. If he can ascend to the ministerial level, that would be ideal. But if he fails to do so, Uncle will retire in a couple of years. What then for the Dai family? Upon hearing this, Shen Shiyan suddenly grasped the situation. So, grandfather wants Dad to act as a bodyguard for the Dai family. A hint of admiration flickered in Shen Qinggang's eyes. Yuqin, you are a commercial genius. I am surprised at your political acumen as well. Zhou Yuqin replied, I once read Comprehensive Mirror in Aid of Governance. Shen Qinggang asked, if you were in my position, what would you do? Without hesitation, Zhou Yuqin replied, I share my mother's sentiment. Previously, the Dai family provided you with no resources, leaving you to struggle alone in the police department. Now, having achieved success through your own efforts, the Dai family shamelessly offers you an olive branch. To be honest, I find their approach quite distasteful. When my mother asked how I viewed the old man, my response was that the old tiger still possesses his fierce spirit. What she does not realize is that the fierce spirit I refer to is solely about the old man's health, not the current influence of the Dai family. After pausing for a moment, Zhou Yuqin continued, Dad, I am uncertain about what higher authorities think. But I do know one thing. Your promotion signifies that the path you chose is indeed the right one. At your age, if you continue along this path, it is highly likely that you will receive another promotion within 3 years. Conversely, if you become entangled with the Dai family, the prospects of advancement become uncertain. Well said. Shun Qinggang applauded a few times, expressing his approval. Your thoughts align with mine, and your mother shares the same sentiment. Tomorrow, you will meet the younger generation of the Dai family. If I were to summarize them in a single phrase, it would be that they are like mud that cannot support a wall. The old man is overly optimistic. 20 years ago, I would have joined the Dai family without hesitation, but alas, the old man looked down on me and denied me that opportunity. 20 years later, the Dai family is no longer what it once was. The old man believes himself to be formidable, but in reality, his connections are primarily within the military, and few in government pay him much heed. The current Dai family would only hinder me and provide no resources, hence I will certainly not align myself with them. A phrase suddenly surfaced in Zhou Yuqin's mind. Once you ignored me, but now you cannot aspire to my level. If Shun Qinggang's story were to be penned as a web novel, it might become immensely popular. The two of them took Shun Qinggang out for an authentic Yin capital delicacy of braised dishes, and by the time they returned to the courtyard, it was nearly midnight. Xiaoya had already fallen asleep, while Daiwan and Shun Jingyun were watching television. Upon hearing the commotion outside, Daiwan stood up and said, "They have returned." Shun Jingyun, seeing her mother heading to greet them, quickly interjected, "Mom, it's too cold outside. Let us wait here. Perhaps my dad wants to tour the courtyard for a while." The courtyard was adorned with red lanterns and illuminated by LED lights. Once the lights were turned on, the entire yard appeared exceptionally beautiful. Shun Jingyun's speculation was correct. Shun Qinggang took a moment to explore the courtyard and the eastern wing before entering the main house. Shun Jingyun fetched them slippers, inquiring, "Dad, what do you think of this courtyard?" Shun Qinggang replied, "It is quite splendid." Shun Jingyun smiled, "We plan to keep this courtyard. If you come to work in Yin capital in the future, you can stay here with Mom." Shun Qinggang waved his hand, saying, "Let us not discuss whether I can come to Yin capital. Even if I do, I wouldn't reside here. It would reflect poorly for an official to live in such a fine courtyard. Every action of a senior official is scrutinized under a magnifying glass. Any misstep could lead to being targeted." At 52 years of age, while Shun Qinggang was no longer youthful, a single advancement could obliterate age constraints, leading to limitless future possibilities. Therefore, he was resolute in avoiding such juvenile mistakes. Daiwan remarked, "All right, it's getting late. We can discuss matters tomorrow. Everyone should get some rest." Shun Jingyun replied, "Very well, we'll return to our room. You and Dad should also retire early." Daiwan nodded, "Off you go." Zhou Yuqin and Shun Jingyun occupied the master bedroom. Initially, Shun Jingyun intended to relinquish the master suite to the elderly couple, but Daiwan declined. After all, this was a house purchased by Zhou Yuqin, and they were the rightful owners. After a hot shower, Shun Qinggang felt a delightful warmth enveloping him. Upon seeing Shun Qinggang enter, Daiwan set her book aside, saying, "Old Shun, my father has extended an olive branch to you." Shun Qinggang replied, "On the way here, Yuqin mentioned that you had declined it on my behalf." Daiwan was taken aback. "Yuqin can comprehend the conversation between my father and me?" Shun Qinggang settled into bed. Pulling the covers up, "Your husband is no ordinary man. He may be in business, but if he were in politics, he would undoubtedly surpass me." Daiwan remarked, "Fortunately, Yuqin is a man of integrity and principles. Otherwise, I would worry about my daughter being sold off." Shun Qinggang laughed, "That will certainly not happen. From the very moment I laid eyes on him, I could tell he was not a bad person." Daiwan retorted, "Yet you didn't give him a pleasant expression at that time." Chapter 371. The mother-in-law's authority. Shun Qinggang responded, "That young man made Jingyun an unwed mother. What father would be amiable?" Daiwan continued, "It is fortunate he wasn't scared off. Otherwise, where would I find such an excellent son-in-law?" Shun Qinggang waved his hand. "Let us not digress. We should discuss tomorrow's matters. Professor Dai, for the first time in over 20 years, the old man has brought up my work. This is a clear signal. I suspect your elder brother's promotion is in jeopardy, and the old man, lacking alternatives, has turned his attention to me." Daiwan nodded. "I thought of that immediately. Although I deflected it at the time, my father and elder brother will not let this go easily. What are your plans for tomorrow?" Shun Qinggang replied, "As before, my affairs do not require the old man's intervention, and I will not concern myself with the Dai family's matters. However, this means you will likely be caught in the middle and face some trouble." Daiwan stated, "I am merely a woman. They cannot use me. By the way, old Shun, tell me honestly, is there a chance for further advancement?" After a moment of contemplation, Shun Qinggang answered, "As long as I maintain my current status without issues, I should be positioned well in 3 years." Daiwan, surprised, asked, "How can you be so certain?" Shun Qinggang replied resignedly, "Because I am a solitary figure. Neither my son nor daughter has ventured into politics, thus I pose minimal threat across various levels. Consequently, I have become a desirable candidate. Daiwan smiled wryly. What the books say is indeed true. Politics is an art of compromise. Shen Qinggang noted, those above value my independence. Should I align with the Dai family, I would be indistinguishable from other officials. The inevitable result would be retirement from my current position. Daiwan clasped Shen Qinggang's hand, saying, Old Shun, I feel I have wronged you. During your lowest moments, the Dai family offered you no assistance. Now that you have finally made progress, my father. She sighed. Honestly, I feel a bit embarrassed for the Dai family. Shen Qinggang patted her hand reassuringly. We have been married for years. Why speak such words? Your father is not driven by greed. He merely seeks someone to shield the younger generation of the Dai family, but the third generation lacks any promising talent. Daiwan affirmed. Thus, you must not accept this bodyguard position. Even if it means offending my father and brother, it must not be agreed upon. While I cannot assist you in the political realm, I will not allow the Dai family to hinder you. Shen Qinggang nodded. Professor Dai, let me say something sentimental. Marrying you is my fortune. Daiwan raised an eyebrow. Is that a compliment? Shen Qinggang replied, Of course. They exchanged glances, both bursting into laughter. At 7 o'clock the next morning, Shen Qinggang and Daiwan rose to prepare for a stroll outside. Upon opening the door, they saw Shun Jingyun standing in the courtyard, clad in a red lightweight down jacket, practicing Tai Chi today as temperature was -5 degrees, and the weather was exceedingly cold. Yet Shun Jingyun's complexion was flushed. Not from the cold, but from warmth, with beads of sweat forming on her forehead. Daiwan whispered. Jingyun informed me that she learned Tai Chi from Yuchen and practices for half an hour each day. That must be it. Shen Qinggang remarked. I have heard that standing exercises can stimulate the body's energy and enhance the internal organs. For Jingyun to be sweating in such frigid weather clearly indicates an increase in her vitality. Who would have thought this girl would aspire to become a martial arts expert? Just then, Shen Jingyun began to move, first raising her arms slowly like a snail, then pressing her hands down and exhaling deeply. A breath formed a white mist, extending nearly 2 meters before gradually dissipating into nothingness. Dad, Mom, you're up so early? Shen Jingyun wiped the beads of sweat from her forehead, greeting them with a smile. Shen Qinggang remarked, Jingyun, your Tai Chi stance is quite impressive. Shen Jingyun responded with a smile. The essence of this stance is truly remarkable. Ever since I began practicing, my physical condition has significantly improved, and I feel energized every day. Just the other day, while jogging in Lijiang Garden, I completed 10 kilometers without feeling fatigued at all. Dad, Mom, why don't you give it a try? Shen Qinggang replied. We'll discuss it when we return to Yunhai. Where's Yuchen? Is he still asleep? Shen Jingyun said. He left a while ago to buy breakfast. Shen Qinggang urged. Then hurry and call him. Your mother and I will eat out, so he shouldn't tea by too much. All right. Shen Jingyun responded with an okay gesture. At 9 in the morning, Shen Shiyin drove a Maybach, while Zhou Yuchen followed in a Land Rover, departing from the courtyard in succession. After about 40 minutes, they arrived at the elder's residence. Upon exiting the car, they encountered Daiwan's elder brother, Dai Xiaobiao, along with his wife, Sun Yan. Dai Xiaobiao, 59 years old, bore a resemblance to Dai Wanling, wearing black glasses with neatly combed, thick black hair. His wife, Sun Yan, 2 years younger, donned a stylish red coat, though her looks paled in comparison to the beauty of Dai Wan. Elder brother, sister-in-law, it's been a long time. Uncle, aunt, greetings. They exchanged pleasantries. Dai Xiaobiao adjusted his glasses and remarked, You all arrived quite early this year. Shen Qinggang chuckled. We came to Yindu a day in advance. Dai Xiaobiao surveyed the scene, his gaze landing on Zhou Yuchen, who was holding little Yaya. Qinggang, is this your future son-in-law, Zhou Yuchen? Shen Qinggang replied, He is already my son-in-law. Sun Yan asked in surprise, When did they get married? Why weren't we informed? Daiwan explained, They have only obtained a marriage certificate, with the wedding scheduled for next spring. Zhou Yuchen stepped forward, saying, Elder uncle, aunt, greetings. Both Dai Xiaobiao and Sun Yan frowned in unison. Wan, what is the elder's stance on this matter? Dai Xiaobiao inquired. Daiwan's expression darkened as she replied coolly, What does my husband's relationship with Dad have to do with you? Dai Xiaobiao continued, If Dad does not acknowledge it, Daiwan interrupted. As long as the Shun family acknowledges my husband, we need no validation from others. Dai Xiaobiao stated firmly, You are a daughter of the Dai family. Daiwan countered, If that is the case, then why don't you and sister-in-law acknowledge my husband? If that is how it is, then your future son-in-law and daughter-in-law should no longer call me little aunt, as I cannot accept that. This left Dai Xiaobiao speechless. Zhou Yuchen secretly gave Daiwan a thumbs up, feeling quite disappointed in Dai Xiaobiao. Chapter 372. The various faces of the Dai family. As the saying goes, one can glean the whole from a glimpse. To require the elder's approval for acknowledging his own nephew-in-law shows a lack of responsibility and decisiveness in this deputy director of the business department. Shin Jingyun's expression darkened to the utmost degree. Anyone witnessing their husband endure such humiliation would certainly find it unbearable. Sun Yin, concerned about the potential for conflict, quickly sought to mediate, saying, "Wan, your elder brother didn't mean it that way. We were just taken aback, not expecting Jingyun to marry so soon." Daiwan sighed. "In Yindu, there are families stronger than ours, yet our family's standards are the highest. If word gets out, it will only invite ridicule." Shin Chungang, deeply solemn, declared, "Enough of this talk. Today is your grandfather's 86th birthday. Let us proceed inside. After the celebration, everyone can return home." With that, Shin Chungang led the way, showing no regard for his brother-in-law, Dai Xiaobiao. Years ago, to marry Daiwan, Shin Chungang had been targeted by the Dai family for many years. With no other choice, he learned to endure. Now, 20 years later, witnessing his son-in-law face similar hostility from the Dai family was something Shun Chungang could not accept. Zhou Yuqin whispered to Shun Jingyun, "Your parents are really formidable." Shun Jingyun replied, "Dad might be reminded of his past, which is why he couldn't help but be angry." "Don't take it to heart, my love." Zhou Yuqin chuckled, "I'm not bothered. I just think Mom is right. It's quite surprising that a young billionaire like me doesn't meet the Dai family standards. Their threshold is indeed very high." A trace of cold amusement crossed Shin Jingyun's lips as she remarked, "My grandfather and uncles are completely indifferent to my affairs. If they cared even a little, they wouldn't treat you this way." Zhou Yuqin nodded in agreement. At that moment, little Yaya leaned close to Zhou Yuqin's ear and whispered, "Daddy, I don't like them." Zhou Yuqin replied, "Daddy doesn't like them either. After we finish eating, we'll leave." "Okay," little Yaya said. Upon entering the elder's home, they found the hall already filled with guests. Shin Jingyun's second uncle, Dai Xiaoming, and third uncle, Dai Xiaoshan, had also arrived. Daiwan introduced Zhou Yuqin, and everyone's gaze shifted to Dai Wanling. For reasons unknown, Dai Wanling acknowledged Zhou Yuqin, saying, "Xiao Ning, pour a cup of tea for your brother-in-law." Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow, saying, "Thank you, grandfather." Xiao Ning, referred to by Dai Wanling, was Dai Xiaobiao's daughter, Dai Ning. At 33, her looks were merely average, yet she exuded an air of grace, embodying the essence of a refined young lady, making her Dai Wanling's favorite granddaughter. Even after marrying into the Zhao family, the eldest son of the Yindu Zhao family, Dai Wanling's affection for her remained unchanged, standing in stark contrast to the treatment Shen Jingyun received. Besides Dai Ning, Dai Xiaobiao had a son named Dai Xingyang, a twin to Dai Ning, who now held a position as a departmental official. Interestingly, the Dai family consisted of 3 sons and 1 daughter, each having 2 children. Dai Xiaoming had 2 sons, Dai Xingwen in politics and Dai Xingwu in business. Dai Xiaoshan had 1 son and 1 daughter, Dai Xingli and Dai Yu, both in business. Dai Wanling, a military figure, had connections primarily within the armed forces. His intent was for Dai Xingwu or Dai Xingli to pursue a military career. Yet both had found the rigors unbearable and fled after just a month, nearly driving Dai Wanling to his wit's end. Dai Ning offered a cup of tea to Zhou Yuqin, smiling, "Brother-in-law, have some tea." Aware that this gesture signified the Dai family's acceptance of him, Zhou Yuqin stood, accepted the cup, and politely said, "Thank you, cousin." He took a sip, but only half of it, then set the cup down. The Dai family had high standards, and he was not someone to be trifled with. Their acknowledgement did not guarantee his acceptance in return. By only drinking half the tea, Zhou Yuqin communicated a clear message. His acceptance of the Dai family remained uncertain. Observing this action, both Dai Wanling and Dai Xiaobiao's expressions shifted slightly, a flicker of displeasure crossing their features. Shin Chunggang's lips curled into a faint, barely perceptible smile. Daiwan sighed inwardly, fully aware that her family's actions left her husband deeply dissatisfied. However, due to her own pride, he had been suppressing his anger. Apart from the 4 of them, the others entirely failed to grasp the significance of the half cup of tea. Dai Xiaoshan, a middle-aged man with a rotund figure and an ever-present smile, cheerfully inquired, "Xiao Zhou, what is your profession?" Zhou Yuqin replied, "I am in the early stages of entrepreneurship." Shin Shiyin nearly bit his tongue in disbelief. With assets exceeding 100 billion, Zhou was still merely in the initial phase. What did that make others? Dai Xingli immediately took interest, asking, "Brother-in-law, what industry are you in?" Zhou Yuqin answered, "I primarily engage in financial investment and internet technology." Dai Xingli's eyes lit up, and he promptly seated himself beside Zhou Yuqin, saying, "Brother-in-law, do you know what is the most lucrative venture these days?" Zhou Yuqin shook his head, responding, "I do not." Dai Xingli exclaimed, "It's the US stock market. Last month, I invested 30 million in American stocks. Do you know how much I earned?" Before Zhou Yuqin could respond, Dai Xingli held up 4 fingers, exclaiming, "A whopping 40 million. Zhou Yuqin replied with an impressed, "Oh, remarkable." Shun Jingyun and Shun Shiyan exchanged glances, both slightly speechless. In the presence of a super-rich man poised to short sell over 100 billion in U.S. stocks, the siblings felt a sense of absurdity. What was it to flaunt one's prowess before a master swordsman? This was precisely it. Just as Dai Xingli was about to continue, Dai Wanling, with a grim countenance, interjected, "Have you finished speaking?" Clearly intimidated by Dai Wanling, Dai Xingli instinctively recoiled, hastily silencing himself. Zhou Yuqin smiled gently. Dai Xingli was indeed quite amusing. In contrast, the other children of the Dai family exhibited a degree of arrogance that was excessive, especially Dai Xingwen, the deputy county chief, who had not even cast a glance at Zhou Yuqin since entering the room. The younger generation of Zhou's contemporaries spent some time in the main hall before ascending to the second floor, which housed an entertainment room where some watched television while others played cards. The third generation of the Dai family had mostly married, with 2 children older than Xiao Ye, while 3 younger ones were still little, all held by their mothers as they watched cartoons together. Zhou Yuqin observed that Shun Jingyun's rapport with the Dai family was rather lukewarm. She could only converse a few words with Dai Ning regarding the children and shared little interaction with the other cousins and sisters-in-law. In contrast, Shun Shiyan fared somewhat better, engaging in card games with the cousins. As Zhou Yuqin observed the scene, he noticed a row of bookshelves brimming with literature and picked up a volume of Ziji Tongjian to read. Dai Xingwu, who was playing cards, caught sight of Zhou Yuqin engrossed in reading and smirked, saying, "Shiyan, your brother-in-law is quite the pretender, isn't he?" Shun Shiyan retorted, "Wu Ge. Your lack of interest in books doesn't imply others share the same sentiment. My brother-in-law possesses an extraordinary memory and dedicates considerable time each day to reading various genres. Do you have any idea how many books are in his study?" Dai Xingwu raised an eyebrow, inquiring, "How many?" Shun Shiyan replied, "Over 400. I could randomly open a book and read a line, and he would instantly recite the next line. Impressive beyond belief." Dai Xingwen chimed in, "So he is a bookworm." "A bookworm?" Shun Shiyan chuckled. "My brother-in-law is truly well-versed in both literature and martial arts. Not to boast on his behalf, but none of us in this room could match him." Dai Ning's husband, Zhao Yuanjian, curiously asked, "What does your brother-in-law's family do?" Shun Shiyan explained, "They are an ordinary household." Upon hearing this, the group's interest in Zhou Yuqin waned considerably. Only Dai Xingli, who had been observing the card game, sensed something amiss. Despite Zhou Yuqin's unremarkable appearance, he exuded a demeanor of calm assurance. Even in the presence of the older generation, he remained unfazed, an accomplishment not typical of an ordinary youth. "I must engage him in conversation." Dai Xingli approached and sat next to Zhou Yuqin. "Brother-in-law, what is so fascinating about that book?" Zhou Yuqin looked up, smiling. "Reading is quite beneficial." Dai Xingli replied, "I've always found reading a headache. It holds no interest for me." "Brother-in-law, didn't you mention wanting to start a business? If so, you'll certainly need substantial funds. Would you like to earn a significant profit?" Zhou Yuqin queried, "How significant?" Without hesitation, Dai Xingli declared, "At least threefold." Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow. "Li Gu, you're suggesting using high leverage to purchase stocks in the land of the lighthouse, aren't you?" Dai Xingli gave a thumbs up. "Smart. I don't need much. If you lend me 10 million, I assure you I can turn it into 30 million. Zhou Yuqin inquired, "With the soaring prices of internet technology stocks in the land of the lighthouse, don't you think there is something awry?" "Correct. That is precisely the point." "Brother-in-law, do you know what era we are entering?" Before Zhou Yuqin could respond, Dai Xingli continued, "It's the age of internet technology. Many experts predict that tech companies like Orange Group will continue to rise, and it will be a meteoric surge. Brother-in-law, you must trust me. Now is the optimal time to invest in their stocks. Missing this opportunity will lead to lifelong regret." The more excited Dai Xingli became, the louder his voice grew, capturing everyone's attention. Dai Yu frowned slightly, saying, "Xingli, why are you saying all this?" Realizing he had drawn everyone's gaze, Dai Xingli exhibited a hint of embarrassment. "I apologize. I got a bit carried away." Dai Ning asked, "Dai Yu, has Xingli truly made a considerable profit?" Dai Yu shook her head. "I'm not interested in stocks, so I'm not well informed about his dealings." Both Dai Yu and Dai Xingli worked for the Shana Foreign Trade Group, founded by Dai Xiushan. The company's annual profits hovered around 200 million, placing it in the lower middle tier among the prominent business families in Yindu. Dai Yu, highly capable, served as Dai Xiushan's right hand. In contrast, Dai Xingli was doomed, having no inclination toward corporate management, instead dabbling in speculative ventures with a group of dubious friends. Dai Xiushan had scolded Dai Xingli countless times, but to no avail, ultimately resigning himself to the situation. Dai Ning turned to Shin Jingyun, asking, "Does your husband also engage in stock investment?" Shin Jingyun replied, "He plays occasionally." Dai Ning curiously asked, "Has he made a profit or incurred losses?" Shen Jingyan remarked. As far as I know, he has only played a few times, and generally, he has made some profit. Dai Ning inquired further, what does some mean? Shen Jingyan smiled slightly and replied, that's a secret. Dai Ning couldn't help but chuckle. Dai Yu disdainfully interjected, I reckon it wouldn't be more than several 100,000. Shen Jingyan shot a glance at Dai Yu, choosing to ignore her. A flicker of anger crossed Dai Yu's face, yet she found herself powerless against Shen Jingyan, who refused to engage with her. After listening to Dai Xingli's words, Zhou Yuchen nodded and said, I concur with your assessment. Future advancements in internet technology will undoubtedly alter the trajectory of the world. Dai Xingli gave a thumbs up, saying, you have an eye for this. However, he continued, but what? Zhou Yuchen prompted. The prospects for internet technology companies are indeed bright, yet the path is fraught with difficulties. Nothing in this world comes to fruition without encountering some obstacles. Zhou Yuchen, feeling fond of Dai Xingli, thought to offer him a word of caution. Were it Dai Xingwen or Dai Xingwu, he would have refrained from saying anything at all. What obstacles? Dai Xingli pressed. Brotherly, I recently visited the Lighthouse Nation, and the situation there is quite grim. Indeed, the stock prices of internet technology companies are soaring. However, the reality is that at least 60 to 70% of these companies are operating at a loss, not only earning nothing, but also requiring investment from their backers. Do you understand what that implies? Dai Xingli's expression changed as he asked, a facade of prosperity? An internet bubble? Zhou Yuchen did not engage with his inquiry, but continued. Brotherly, have you noticed that beyond the internet technology sector, there is another industry experiencing a meteoric rise? What industry? Dai Xingli inquired. Zhou Yuchen was momentarily speechless, realizing that this individual had not conducted any research on the Lighthouse Nation stock market. It seemed he had been misled into investing in the stocks of internet technology companies. Chapter 374. Zhou Yuchen's Favor Real Estate. Over the past 3 years, the stock prices in the real estate sector have averaged a threefold increase. However, from what I understand, banks are already overwhelmed by the pressure of housing loans, with a multitude of bad debts piling up. Ironically, even the homeless can procure loans from banks, and some have even struck it rich. Are you suggesting that the stock prices in these two sectors will decline? Without investigation, one has no right to speak. My point is, it would be wise for you to conduct some research and not easily trust the words of others, including myself. After all, that money is yours. And should you incur losses, the pain will be yours alone. Dai Xingli expressed his discontent, saying, brother-in-law, I feel that you are not being entirely forthright. Zhou Yuchen smiled and replied, all right, then I shall be more candid. I predict that the stock prices of these internet technology and real estate companies in the Lighthouse Nation will indeed fall, likely within 3 months. Dai Xingli exclaimed, 3 months? I could earn several times over by then. Brother-in-law, what do you think? Should I invest? Zhou Yuchen sighed, saying helplessly, brotherly, you need not persuade me. To be honest, I have also invested in stocks from the Lighthouse Nation and plan to sell them in half a month. Dai Xingli asked suspiciously, is that true? What did you buy? Zhou Yuchen replied, Softstar Group, which has already risen by about 50%. Dai Xingli inquired, how much did you invest? What leverage did you use? Zhou Yuchen knew better than to reveal the actual situation, saying, brotherly, I can only tell you that it was 5 times leverage. Dai Xingli assumed that Zhou Yuchen's investment was modest and felt embarrassed to mention it, so he patted his shoulder, saying, brother-in-law, the fact that you can afford Softstar Group stock shows that you possess quite an eye for investment. What you lack is courage. Just think. If you had leveraged 30 times like me, you could have made 14 to 15 times your investment by now. But it's all right. Once I make a fortune, I can take you along. Zhou Yuchen asked, what amount do you consider a fortune? Dai Xingli held up 5 fingers, saying, at least 50 million. Zhou Yuchen continued, and how much could you lend me? Dai Xingli pondered for a moment and replied, 1 million would certainly be no problem. Zhou Yuchen raised an eyebrow, asking really? Dai Xingli patted his chest, declaring, of course. I, Dai Xingli, always keep my word. Zhou Yuchen looked at him intently, a slight smile forming at the corner of his mouth, saying, brotherly, let me offer you a piece of advice. If I make a fortune in the future, feel free to come to me for 2 million. I won't ask for a reason, nor will I charge interest. Dai Xingli joyfully responded. That's what being a brother is about. Shun Shiyan, who had been listening intently to their conversation, looked up at the beaming Dai Xingli, secretly thinking that sometimes foolish people do indeed enjoy foolish fortunes, managing to secure a 2 million investment with just a few words. He had not anticipated that, under Zhou Yuchen's undisclosed identity, merely perceived as a son-in-law by others, Dai Xingli would still be willing to befriend him and even agree to lend him 1 million. Such a pure-hearted disposition was truly commendable. Compared to other arrogant young members of the Dai family, the sincerity of Dai Xingli was undoubtedly a refreshing contrast. Seeing her husband engaging amicably with Dai Xingli, Shun Jingyun felt a slight sense of relief. having been with Zhou Yuqin for quite some time. She understood that despite his seemingly unassuming exterior, he harbored a lofty pride, making it difficult for ordinary individuals to catch his eye. Today, the younger generation of the Dai family, along with the older generation, were scrutinizing Zhou Yuqin, unaware that he was also assessing them in return. Given their haughty demeanor, it was likely that Zhou Yuqin held them in disdain. Little did she expect that the least regarded Dai Xingli would garner Zhou Yuqin's favor, which brought Shun Jingyun both surprise and comfort. Regardless, the members of the Dai family were still her kin, and she hoped for Zhou Yuqin to maintain a positive relationship with the younger generation of the Dai family. After a while, Dai Xingyang, the eldest of the third generation of the Dai family, entered the room. At 33 years of age, he was tall and dignified, occupying a high position. He often issued commands, exuding an air of authority and aloofness. Jingyun, I heard you have registered your marriage? Shen Jingyun nodded, saying yes. Brother Yang, allow me to introduce you. This is my husband, Zhou Yuqin. Zhou Yuqin extended his hand, courteously greeting, hello, Brother Yang. Dai Xingyang scrutinized Zhou Yuqin before disregarding his outstretched hand, turning to Shen Jingyun and saying, Jingyun, step outside for a moment. I need to discuss something with you. Zhou Yuqin's expression darkened immediately, retracting his hand. Dai Xingwen scoffed. Does this guy really think that marrying Jingyun grants him access to the Dai family? How laughable. Dai Xingwu echoed, isn't that the truth? A son-in-law daring to seek our company is rather presumptuous. Shun Shiyan coldly remarked, it truly is amusing. Though, it remains to be seen who the truly amusing one is. A billionaire with international standing. Even high-ranking officials must treat him with respect. It was astonishing that a mere mid-level bureaucrat and a bunch of useless individuals would show such blatant disrespect. Shun Shiyan considered them to be utterly foolish. Witnessing her husband subjected to such humiliation ignited immense anger within Shen Jingyun as she declared, Dai Xingyang, I have nothing to discuss with you. Dai Xingyang was taken aback, saying, I have something very important to leave. Shun Jingyun interrupted him sharply. The room fell silent, all present astonished by Shun Jingyun's fierce response. No one expected the typically elegant and composed Shen Jingyun to display such a domineering side. Dai Xingyang wore an incredulous expression and exclaimed, you want me to leave? Shun Jingyun responded with an unyielding stare. At 33, you have only attained a minor bureaucratic position thanks to your family's resources. What gives you the right to look down on my husband? Aside from your unfounded arrogance, how are you any different from a useless person? If I were you, I'd have long tucked my tail and behaved myself, rather than flaunting your power here. Dai Xingyang, infuriated, retorted, Shun Jingyun, have you lost your mind? She coldly replied, I believe it is you who has lost your senses. At that moment, Shun Shiyan stepped forward and said, Sister, are you familiar with the saying circulating online? A powerful person flaunting their strength is admirable, but a powerless one doing so is merely foolish. I think you, Dai Xingyang, fit the latter description quite well. Dai Xingyang, now visibly shaken, pointed a trembling finger at Shen Shiyan and spat. You scoundrel. Shen Shiyan chuckled. I would rather be a scoundrel than a fool. Chapter 375. Dare to sell my wife? Zhou Yuqing couldn't help but chuckle. What are you laughing at? Dai Xingyang demanded. Zhou Yuqing smiled and replied. Is it not obvious? I am laughing at you, the fool. Dai Yu stepped forward, attempting to defend Dai Xingyang, but was restrained by Dai Xingli, who gently urged, Sister, our uncle has a promising future. Do not offend our aunt's family. Dai Yu raised an eyebrow, her gaze filled with surprise as she looked at her younger brother, who was less than 3 years her junior. Indeed, Shen Xinggang was only 52 this year and, barring any missteps, was likely to ascend to a high-ranking official position. When that time came, Dai Xiubiao would be retired, and Dai Xiuming would be of no help. If any issues arose, only Shun Chungang could extend a helping hand. Realizing this, Dai Yu inwardly chided herself for her foolishness. Not only had she failed to build a rapport with Shen Jingyun, but she had also instigated trouble with her words. Her younger brother, Dai Xingli, was evidently more astute, forging a connection with Zhou Yuqing while others ostracized him. In terms of social acumen, she felt she was far inferior to her brother. Dai Xingwen and Dai Xingwu, however, seemed oblivious to this nuance, standing firmly beside Dai Xingyang. Zhou Yuqing, you should recognize your place. You are merely a son-in-law. What right do you have to speak here? Dai Xingwu declared. Zhou Yuqing chuckled. First, I am not a son-in-law in the traditional sense, and even if I were, I would not feel any shame. Consider this, my father-in-law is a deputy minister. With the potential for further advancement, my mother-in-law is a professor at Yunhai University, and my wife is as beautiful as a celestial being. I estimate that those wishing to marry into the Shen family could line up from Yindu to Yunhai. It is truly unfortunate for them that they missed their opportunity. Dai Xingwen interjected, Jingyun, did you hear that? He married you for your family's power. Shen Shiyan smacked his forehead and said, is that really what my brother-in-law meant? Wengu, Your reading comprehension seems lacking. How did you pass the civil service exam? Zhou Yuqing laughed heartily, genuinely surprised by Shun Shiyan's ability to deliver such a retort. Dai Xingyang continued, Zhou Yuqing, I had initially intended to spare you some dignity. Since you are so shameless, I will speak plainly. The second young master of the Huang family, Huang Guixin, is deeply enamored with Jingyun. Had it not been for Jingyun's pregnancy, he would have proposed long ago. Recently, he married the eldest daughter of the Wang family, but she tragically died in a car accident 6 months ago, leaving behind a 2-year-old son. Just last night, Huang called me, expressing that he does not mind Jingyun having a child. As long as she agrees, he is ready to propose immediately. Zhou Yuqing, compared to the second young master of the Huang family, you are nothing. I hope you do not become an obstacle to Jingyun's future happiness. Dai Xingwen rejoiced. This is splendid. If Jingyun were to marry into the Huang family, we would be kin. In Yandu, the Huang family was indeed a prestigious lineage. Dai Xiaobiao had previously endeavored to curry favor with them, personally persuading Shen Qinggang and Dai Wan. Ultimately, this was abandoned when Shun Jingyun became pregnant. To think that nearly 5 years had passed, and Dai Xingyang still harbored such ambitions, even considering the idea of separating Shen Jingyun from Zhou Yuqing, it was utterly despicable. Shen Jingyun's face turned ashen as she pointed at Dai Xingyang, angrily declaring, shameless. How dare you sell my sister? Shen Shiyan, infuriated, swung a punch at Dai Xingyang. Startled, Dai Xingyang quickly stepped back. Dai Xingwen and Dai Xingwu rushed forward to shield Dai Xingyang. Zhou Yuqing seized Shen Shiyan and pulled him back, his expression dark. Addressing Dai Xingyang, I do not know the extent of the Huang family's influence, but if it can compel you to engage in such despicable dealings, they must be far superior to the Dai family. Your shameless matchmaking is merely a means to secure your own future. Since Jingyun and Shiyan are not pursuing political careers, you believe that marrying Jingyun into the Huang family would provide you with political resources to facilitate your ascent. To sell off a daughter of your aunt's family for your own ambitions marks you as the most shameless individual I have encountered. However, your methods are too crude. With low emotional and intellectual intelligence, even if someone supported you, you would not progress far down this path. Most importantly, you have insulted us as a couple. You view Jingyun as property, and to propose selling her in front of me is something no man can accept. Therefore, I must make my stance clear, lest you mistake me for an easy target. With that, Zhou Yuqing moved swiftly, pushing aside Dai Xingwen and Dai Xingwu, confronting Dai Xingyang directly. He raised his arm and delivered a resounding slap across Dai Xingyang's face, sending him spinning and crashing to the ground, his right cheek swelling visibly. Zhou Yuqing looked down upon him coldly, stating, you should consider yourself fortunate that this is not Yunhai. Otherwise, I would have someone cut out your tongue. Dai Xingyang, utterly unhinged, scrambled to his feet, pointing at Zhou Yuqing and shouting, Zhou Yuqing, you dare to hit me? With a swift motion, Zhou Yuqing slapped his left cheek, declaring, what do you think you are, to dare to provoke me? Dai Xingwu shouted, Zhou Yuqing, have you lost your mind? Zhou Yuqing's aura intensified, his gaze chilling. He approached Dai Xingwu and asked in a low voice, if someone were to stand before you and suggest that your wife should divorce you to marry another, how would you react? Dai Xingwu, overwhelmed by Zhou Yuqing's commanding presence, instinctively took a step back, replying, but you cannot resort to violence. Zhou Yuqing scoffed. Are you saying you lack the courage to act and can only hurl insults? Speak those words to your wife and child. Dai Xingwu turned to his wife, Luo Shilan, who wore a disapproving expression, saying, darling, our child seems thirsty. Could you please fetch some water? Dai Xingwu, not a fool, understood that Luo Shilan was advising him to refrain from meddling. Moreover, he recognized that Zhou Yuqing was not an ordinary individual. His rage exuded a power surpassing even that of the elder. Thus, he chose to heed Luo Shilan's advice and retreated. We can discuss this later. I'll get water for the child. With that, he left in a hurry. You are also in cahoots with Dai Xingyang, intending to sell my wife to the Huang family? Zhou Yuqing turned to Dai Xingwen. Chapter 376. Zhou Yuqing's aura, his piercing gaze made Dai Xingwen feel a twinge of fear, prompting him to hurriedly explain. Xingwu and I were merely attempting to mediate. Zhou Yuqing continued to inquire. Do you believe Dai Xingyang's actions are justified? Dai Xingwen fell silent for a moment, before finally responding, no. Zhou Yuqing shook his head, stating, one must act for oneself, or face dire consequences. From a personal standpoint, his actions were justified. Sacrificing another's family to achieve his own goals is a most profitable transaction. Yet, such behavior would chill the hearts of even ordinary friends, let alone relatives. Shen Shiyan concurred. Indeed, Dai Xingyang is a ruthless individual who will stop at nothing to attain his objectives. If he can treat my sister this way today, he will undoubtedly do the same to you tomorrow. It would be wise to exercise caution in your dealings with him, lest you find yourself betrayed while counting his ill-gotten gains. Upon hearing their words, the The crowd's perception of Dai Xingyang shifted. Reflecting on the situation, it became evident that this was a vivid enactment of coercing a cousin's husband into divorce while persuading the cousin to remarry. They simply did not anticipate encountering such resistance. Dai Ning, sensing the gravity of the situation, rushed forward to help his brother Dai Xingyang to his feet, saying, "This matter was indeed mishandled by Xingyang. Cousin, brother-in-law, I apologize on his behalf." With that, Dai Ning bowed to the two. "Slow down," Zhou Yuqin interjected, "cousin. It is quite normal for an adult to apologize for a child's mistake. However, Dai Xingyang is over 30 and holds a position as a department-level official. It is not your responsibility to clean up his mess." Shun Shiyan added, "Exactly. Dai Xingyang, my sister and brother-in-law are right here. Should you not offer them an apology?" Dai Xingyang spat blood, gritting his teeth as he retorted, "In your dreams." Zhou Yuqin chuckled, saying, "Cousin, do you see? Your brother does not seem to think selling someone else's wife is wrong." Just then, a woman in her 30s, clad in a mink coat, entered. Upon seeing Dai Xingyang's bruised face, she let out a piercing scream. "Darling, what happened? Who did this?" Shen Shiyan quietly remarked. "She is Ho Minner, Dai Xingyang's wife. The Ho family is on par with the Dai family in terms of influence. Her father is a businessman in the electronic sector." Zhou Yuqin nodded, saying, "We must give them face. As long as they cease their hostilities, we need not delve deeper." Shun Shiyan replied, "That's unlikely. This sister-in-law is known for her fiery temperament and will certainly not let this slide." Indeed, upon learning from Dai Xingwen that Dai Xingyang had been beaten by Zhou Yuqin, Ho Minner stormed up to him, delivering a swift slap without a word. Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow, his form shifting effortlessly 3 meters away. Ho Minner's strike missed entirely, nearly causing her to stumble. "If you have the ability, don't run," she challenged. Zhou Yuqin replied coolly, "Had you been a man, your arm would have been broken by now." Shun Jingyun interjected, "Sister-in-law, is it appropriate to strike my husband without understanding the context?" Ho Minner retorted, "There is nothing inappropriate about it. He dared to hit my husband, so I dare to hit him. It's only fair." Shun Jingyun handed little Yeye to Shun Shiyan and stepped forward, icy determination in her voice. "You may wish to reconsider." "Minner, don't escalate this," Dai Ning urged, grabbing her arm. "Jingyun, today is grandfather's birthday. Surely you do not wish to create a scene?" Shun Jingyun responded coldly, "Ningjia, the one he sought to sell was not you, but me. For grandfather's sake, we can let today's events conclude here. But I will remember his actions for a lifetime." Dai Ning's expression shifted as he said, "Jingyun, we are family. You." Shun Jingyun interrupted, "From now on, I am I, and Dai Xingyang is Dai Xingyang. It is best if we never cross paths again. Dai Xingyang, mark my words, whom I choose to marry is none of your concern, and if you attempt to use me in any dealings with the Huang family again, I will do everything in my power to thwart you." Zhou Yuqin scoffed. "Jingyun, he will not even be able to make such a transaction. Though I am unfamiliar with the Huang family, I am certain that young Master Huang is unaware of my marriage to you. Otherwise, he would never engage in such disgraceful dealings. Dai Xingyang, we have merely elevated your foolishness by calling you a fool. Have you considered the repercussions if outsiders learn that you coerced your cousin and her husband into divorce to curry favor with young Master Huang? How will your superiors and subordinates perceive you? Will young Master Huang thank you or despise you for tarnishing his reputation? Could this spell the end of your career? Have you pondered these questions?" Dai Xingyang felt a cold sweat break out as he stammered. I spoke in anger." Zhou Yuqin admonished, "Have you never learned the adage trouble comes from the mouth? Throughout the history of the Xia nation, how many officials have been demoted for a careless remark? And how many have had their whole families executed for offending the emperor with a single phrase? If you, as a government leader, cannot control your words, perhaps you should resign." Shun Jingyun remarked, "This is not a matter to be taken lightly. We certainly will not spread it. However, whether others choose to do so is beyond our control. Dai Xingyang, you must fend for yourself." Observers noted that Zhou Yuqin's reprimand of Dai Xingyang was akin to chastising a child, his commanding presence instilling a newfound respect among them. Realizing the severity of the situation, Dai Xingyang felt as if struck by lightning, drenched in cold sweat. Ashamed, he exited the building with Ho Minner. Dai Yu glanced at the now subdued Zhou Yuqin and quietly asked, "Xingli, just who is Zhou Yuqin?" Dai Xingli shook his head, replying, "I do not know." Dai Yu was taken aback. "You do not know why you sought to befriend him?" Dai Xingli responded, "I cultivate friendships based on character, not background." Dai Yu opened her mouth, but found herself at a loss for words. In this regard, she realized she had not measured up to Dai Xingli's standards. At lunchtime, Dai Wanling noticed the faint handprints on both sides of Dai Xingyang's face and furrowed his brow, asking, "Xingyang, who did this?" Clearly wishing to downplay the incident. Dai Xingyang replied, "I made a mistake and struck myself." Sun Yan, concerned, said, "You foolish child, why do you treat yourself so harshly? You are the foolish one. Everyone thought to themselves. Chapter 377. Shun Qinggong's fury. The elder generations, like Dai Wanling and Dai Xiaobiao, could easily discern that Dai Xingyang was lying. However, since he remained silent, they refrained from pressing further. After this commotion, Zhou Yuqin and Xin Jingyun found themselves truly isolated, with Shun Shiyin also affected. The third generation of the Dai family sat together at a table, none willing to engage with them. Only Dai Xingli, seated beside Zhou Yuqin, appeared unfazed by the earlier events, engaging them in light-hearted conversation. Once everyone had eaten their fill, they enjoyed tea for a while. Dai Wanling surveyed the room and said, Xiaobiao, Xiaoming, Xiaoshan, Xingyang, Xingwen, come with me to the study. As he spoke, Dai Wanling paused momentarily and addressed Shin Qinggang. Qinggang, you should join us. The signal was unmistakable, and all eyes turned towards Shin Qinggang. He replied, Dad, perhaps I should refrain from participating in the Dai family meeting. Dai Xiaobiao frowned and remarked, Qinggang, you are the son-in-law of the Dai family. You are one of us. Shin Qinggang smiled lightly and responded, Eldest brother, had you invited me to join the meeting 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, I would have been delighted. But now that I am 52, such matters no longer concern me. Dai Wanling inquired, Qinggang, do you harbor resentment towards me? Shin Qinggang's smile faded, and he fixed a penetrating gaze on Dai Wanling, retorting, Dad, do you believe I should resent you? What a brilliant counter. This retort left Dai Wanling momentarily speechless. Dai Xiaoming interjected, Qinggang, how could you speak to Dad in such a manner? Shin Qinggang cast a dismissive glance at him and said, some matters are better clarified to avoid future complications. I have been a son-in-law of the Dai family for over 20 years and have never been permitted to attend a single meeting. Now, suddenly, I am invited. The intentions are clear to all. If there are promising young members in the Dai family, I would gladly assist them in achieving greater heights, but if there are none, then so be it. Dai Xiaobiao pointed to Dai Xingyang, stating, Xingyang has been a departmental official for 4 years. Does he not deserve a commendation? Upon hearing this, the crowd exchanged bewildered glances. Shin Shiyin could not resist saying, Uncle, you might as well go home and ask your cousin why he got beaten. Dai Wanling surveyed the room with a fierce gaze, noting the uncomfortable expressions on everyone's faces. Realizing the gravity of the situation, he slammed his palm on the table and declared, let us clarify this matter. His authoritative presence startled everyone. Since the negotiation incident, Shun Shiyin had undergone a transformation. While still affected by Dai Wanling's imposing demeanor, he managed to hold his ground. Just as he was about to speak, Zhou Yuqin interjected, Shiyin, your sister promised not to disclose this unfortunate incident. Shin Shiyin pursed his lips and replied, well, everyone has seen it. There is no need for me to reiterate. Shun Qinggang and Dai Wan exchanged glances, both realizing that Dai Xingyang's beating likely related to their own children. What exactly had transpired? Confusion filled their minds. Dai Xiaoming urged, Xingwen, you speak. Dai Xingwen glanced at the pale-faced Dai Xingyang and stammered, Yang Ji's injuries were inflicted by my brother-in-law. What? Dai Xingyang's mother, Sun Yan, leaped to her feet like a protective hen, pointing at Zhou Yuqin and demanding, you and Xingyang met for the first time. What grievance prompted you to strike him so severely? Before Zhou Yuqin could respond, Dai Ning grasped Sun Yan's arm and said, Mom, my brother indeed made a mistake today. Sun Yan paused and asked, what happened upstairs before dinner? Dai Xingyang gritted his teeth and finally stood up, saying, I admit that my brother-in-law's slap was justified. It was a consequence of my own words. The elders were left even more perplexed by this revelation. Dai Wanling admonished, a man must take responsibility for his words and actions. Since Xiao Zhou has already given you a lesson, what else is there to conceal? Taking a deep breath, Dai Xingyang confessed, last night, Huang Guixin called me, expressing his long-standing affection for Jingyun and his desire to pursue her. I thought it would be a good opportunity for an alliance with the Huang family, so I agreed to assist him. Upon hearing that Dai Xingyang intended for Shun Jingyun to divorce Zhou Yuqin and marry Huang Guixin, Dai Wan's face turned pale with anger, her eyes sparking with fury. Shin Qinggang's expression mirrored her discontent. However, years of navigating the political landscape allowed him to suppress his rage. Dai Xiaobiao rose from his chair and bowed to Shun Qinggang and Dai Wan, saying, Qinggang, Waner, I apologize for my lax oversight, which led to Xingyang's grave error. I hope you can forgive us. Dai Wan coldly replied, this is not merely an error. It is indicative of a twisted mindset. Shin Qinggang added, a civil servant at the departmental level should be focused on his work rather than engaging in matchmaking. You have truly brought shame to the Dai family. Dai Xingyang explained, Uncle, I was merely caught up in the moment and spoke without thinking. Shin Qinggang scoffed, caught up in the moment? I am far more familiar with what anger looks like than you might think. You sought to exploit Jingyun's connection with the Huang family to enhance your political resources. I have spent my life as a police officer and interrogated countless criminals. Your petty schemes cannot escape my scrutiny. Your fault lies in the fact that you knowingly wished to disrupt Jingyun's marriage for your own gain. Your intentions are indeed malicious to the core. With that, Dai Xingyang fell to his knees, saying, Uncle, I swear I only wanted to introduce Jingyun to Huang Guixin. I had no intention of coercing her. Silence. You have brought disgrace to the Dai family. Dai Wanling fixed his intense gaze on Dai Xingyang and stated, We judge actions, not intentions. No one is perfect. Xingyang, you have deeply disappointed me. Tears streamed down Dai Xingyang's face as he pleaded, Grandfather, I was wrong. Zhou Yuchen sensed that this matter needed to come to an end. Prolonging it further would lead to irreparable consequences. Thus, he gently nudged Shen Jingyun. Understanding his intent, Shen Jingyun spoke. This incident concerning Dai Xingyang has already been resolved on the second floor. We have exchanged blows and harsh words. We will not pursue this matter further. Nor will we disclose it to outsiders to preserve his reputation. Grandfather, let's put an end to this. Dai Wanling sighed and said helplessly, Jingyun, I am sorry for the distress you have endured. Shen Jingyun replied, It's all right. I have not suffered any real loss. 10 minutes later, Shen Chenggang excused himself, citing a flight to catch. The three Dai brothers personally saw them off, with Dai Xiaobiao repeatedly apologizing. Chapter 378. A reunion with old Zhao. Just as they stepped out of the courtyard, a resonant voice suddenly pierced the air. Is that you, Xiao Zhou? The crowd turned to see a spirited elder with a glowing complexion. Old Zhao, what brings you here? Zhou Yuchen exclaimed joyfully. This elder was none other than his dear friend Zhao Shenghua. Since Zhao Shenghua moved to Yindu, they had lost touch. After all, two men of their stature would find it cumbersome to make phone calls every fortnight. Indeed, it is you. Zhao Shenghua laughed heartily as he approached Zhou Yuchen. Have you come to celebrate old Dai's birthday? Zhou Yuchen nodded, affirming, yes. Greetings, Grandpa Zhao, said Xiao Yeye, beaming. Zhao Shenghua responded with delight. Xiao Yeye, you remember me. To which she replied, Of course, you brought me so many treats. Zhao Shenghua chuckled, patting her cherubic face and saying, You little foodie. Shen Jingyun inquired, Old Zhao, do you also reside in this neighborhood? Zhao Shenghua nodded. Yes, most of the residents here are retired soldiers, and I get along well with them. Dai Xiaobiao was taken aback to discover the close relationship between Zhao Shenghua and Zhou Yuchen. It was worth noting that Zhao Shenghua's son, Zhao Yanjiang, held a vice-ministerial position, making him the superior of Dai Xiaobiao's superior. Dai Xiaobiao pondered whether he could take a step upward, with Zhao Yanjing's opinion holding paramount importance. It would be splendid if Zhou Yuchen could engage in a few words of self-encouragement. However, recalling the matters he had undertaken with Dai Xingyang, a sigh escaped his lips. The gazes of Dai Xiaoming and Dai Xiaoshan shifted toward Zhou Yuchen, realizing that they had perhaps underestimated this son-in-law from the younger generation. It became evident that Zhao Shenghua valued Zhou Yuchen not merely due to his association with Shen Chenggang, which was quite intriguing. This was the first time Shen Chenggang observed the rapport between Zhou Yuchen and Zhao Shenghua, which was exceedingly casual, akin to an encounter between old friends in a foreign land, clearly emanating genuine joy. This compelled him to reassess their relationship. After exchanging pleasantries, Dai Xiaobiao, Shen Chenggang, and others greeted Zhao Shenghua. Zhao Shenghua turned to Shen Chenggang with a hearty laugh, remarking, Xiao Shen, well done, you've not brought shame to our military. Shen Chenggang replied, Zhao Lao, my achievements today owe much to your and General Zhao's support. Zhao Shenghua waved his hand, stating, This is all a result of your hard work. He who truly toils and who indulges in circles, the higher-ups are well aware. As long as you remain true to your original intentions and excel in your duties, your future is boundless. Shen Chenggang nodded, affirming, I will remember your teachings and will not disgrace my mission. Zhao Shenghua commented, I am merely a retired old man. You flatter me. Xiao Zhou, when will you return to Yinhai? Zhou Yuchen replied, My parents are on a flight tonight, and the three of us will depart tomorrow evening. Zhao Shenghua was taken aback. You two are married? Zhou Yuchen smiled. We have registered our marriage, with the wedding set for next spring. Don't forget to be my witness. Zhao Shenghua assured him. I won't forget. Speaking of which, I still need to hold you accountable. Zhou Yuchen queried, How have I offended you? Zhao Shenghua replied, When we parted, I gifted you 2 bottles of wine. And you? Claim to have nothing of value to offer. Now I discover you are a calligraphy master. Zhou Yuchen chuckled. Honestly, I had no idea my calligraphy would be so appreciated by many masters. Had I known earlier, I might have made a living from it, instead of being a human punching bag at the gym. Zhao Shenghua raised an eyebrow. That's true. However, since we've met today, you must make it up to me. Zhou Yuchen inquired, Do you have the necessary tools for calligraphy? Zhao Shenghua replied, Of course. Xiao Shen, I've detained your daughter's family. You won't mind, will you? Shen Chenggang laughed. How could I mind? It's their honor. Zhao Shenghua then asked, Xiao Yeye, do you wish to indulge in even more delightful treats at Grandpa's? Little Yeye patted her belly and replied, But my little belly can't fit anymore. Zhao Shengwa felt his heart melt at the sight of the adorable child, laughing heartily. You can sample a bit, and whichever you find delicious, you may take home. Little Yeya's eyes sparkled, right? Thank you, Grandpa Zhao. Zhao Shengwa extended his arms. Then, may I have a hug? Little Yeya agreed. Okay. As Zhao Shengwa lifted little Yeya from Shun Jingyun's arms, he laughed. Let us set off. Little Yeya waved her arms and shouted, let us go. Observing the four departing figures, Dai Xiaobiao could not help but inquire, Qinggang, what is the relationship between Xiao Zhou and Zhao Lao? They seem quite close. Dai Xiaoming and Dai Xiaoshan perked up their ears. Shen Qinggang did not conceal the truth, stating they were originally neighbors in the same community. After getting acquainted, they found a mutual affinity, forming a friendship that transcends age. Dai Xiaoshan remarked enviously, Xiao Zhou is truly fortunate. Dai Wan understood the implication behind Dai Xiaoshan's words, saying, Yu Chen was initially unaware of Zhao Lao's status, and even his connection with General Zhao. Even upon discovering it later, their interactions did not alter due to Zhao Lao's standing. Perhaps it is this unpretentious and composed demeanor that made Zhao Lao feel comfortable, leading to their friendship. At this point, Dai Wan turned to Dai Xiaoshan, asking, third brother, having seen their conversation, could you interact with Zhao Lao as freely as Xiao Zhou does? Dai Xiaoshan shook his head, chuckling ruefully, I could not. Dai Xiaoming added, not knowing Zhao Lao's identity is one thing. Even upon learning it, to converse like friends is indeed challenging. This illustrates how carefree Xiao Zhou truly is. Dai Xiaobiao regarded Dai Wan, stating, sister, your son-in-law is no ordinary person, is he? Dai Wan sighed, eldest brother, I have long mentioned Yu Chen's marriage registration with Jingyun. Had you paid a bit more attention, you wouldn't be clueless about his profession. Dai Xiaobiao was momentarily speechless. Once Shen Qinggang, Dai Wan, and Shen Shiyan departed, Dai Xiaobiao promptly dialed the deputy director of the Yunhai business department. Since Zhou Yuchen was neither a military man nor a politician, he must be engaged in business. Consulting the business department was undoubtedly the correct approach. 5 minutes later, Dai Xiaobiao put away his phone, his eyes reflecting disbelief. Chapter 379. The shock of the Dai family. Dai Xiaoshan questioned, eldest brother, what exactly is Xiao Zhou's situation? Dai Xiaobiao pursed his lips, revealing, Xiao Zhou has founded 2 companies, one named Yuechen Gaming Company and the other Kunping Group. Dai Xiaoshan exclaimed in astonishment, these names sound somewhat familiar. Dai Xiaobiao elaborated. The former is the most influential mobile gaming company globally, while the latter is a leading supplier of smartphone batteries and chargers. Conservatively estimated, the annual profits of these 2 companies exceed 15 billion. Dai Xiaoming and Dai Xiaoshan's eyes widened in shock. Dai Xiaobiao was filled with regret. As the deputy director of the business department, he understood the disparity in importance between high-tech companies and ordinary businesses in the eyes of the government. Conventional companies in real estate or apparel are replaceable. If one does not operate, many others will. They are not particularly significant to the government. With a slight shift in resources, even a single real estate company or 100 could easily be supported. In contrast, high-tech research companies with patented intellectual property are irreplaceable. If one does not operate, others cannot step in, and even government resource allocation cannot resolve this issue. This is precisely why they are of utmost concern to the government. Though Yuechen Gaming Company is merely a gaming entity, its global influence has long been recognized by the business department. As for Kunping Group, it monopolizes the global smartphone battery and charger market, achieving results that have garnered high attention from the state, even acknowledged by several senior leaders. After all, these are among the few accomplishments in the realm of national technological research. Dai Xiaobiao had reviewed the profiles of these 2 companies but had not retained the name of their president. Never did he anticipate that it would be Zhou Yuchen. Conversely, Dai Xiaoshan wore a look of delight. Zhou Yuchen's companies were remarkably impressive. He frequently heard their names in various social settings, but had not taken them to heart due to the difference in industries. Now it has come to light that my younger sister's son-in-law is a business magnate worth billions, which undoubtedly serves as a significant support for Dai Xiaoshan. Without delving into other aspects, the mere existence of this familial connection compels others to regard Dai Xiaoshan with greater esteem. By the way, I wonder if Dai Yu and Xingli have offended him in any way? This thought suddenly filled Dai Xiaoshan with a sense of unease. In Dai Wanling's study, the 5 core figures, Dai Xiaobiao, Dai Xiaoming, Dai Xiaoshan, Dai Xingyang, and Dai Xingwen, were gathered together. Dai Xiaobiao recounted the situation regarding Zhou Yuchen, leaving Dai Xingyang and Dai Xingwen astounded. They had never anticipated that Zhou Yuchen, who was several years their junior, was a rising star and a super-rich entrepreneur in the business realm of Xia country. The most astonishing aspect was that he had built his empire from scratch in just 6 months, a feat that seemed utterly unbelievable. Reflecting on Zhou Yuchen's commanding presence and composed demeanor, Dai Wanling murmured, I should have realized he was no ordinary talent. Dai Xiaoming exclaimed in frustration. It's all my sister's fault for not informing us sooner about Xiao Zhou's true identity. Dai Xiaoshan remarked, second brother, individuals like Zhou Yuchen, who are titans in the business world, possess an audacious spirit and keen insight. While we were evaluating him, he might have been assessing us as well. Dai Wanling inquired. Xiaobiao, you mentioned that Zhou Yuchen has a close relationship with old Zhao. To what extent? Dai Xiaobiao replied. They converse quite casually, as if they are old friends. They even referred to each other as friends across generations. Even little Ye knows old Zhao. Dai Wanling's pupils dilated, and he said, exchanging calligraphy with old Zhao and having a close relationship with old Zhao, coupled with the ability to connect with the relatives of two deputy leaders, this young man's network is indeed impressive. Dai Xiaobiao cast a glance at Dai Xingyang, internally lamenting the unfortunate entanglement with such a remarkable ally. Dai Wanling stated, let us not dwell on Zhou Yuchen for now. The crucial matter at hand is whether you, Xiaobiao, can take another step forward. Didn't you meet with old Long yesterday? What was his stance? Dai Xiaobiao replied, it was ambiguous. He neither expressed support nor opposition. Dai Wanling scoffed, just an old fox waiting for results. I will personally seek him out for a discussion. Surprised by Dai Wanling's willingness to take direct action, Dai Xiaobiao felt a surge of relief and said, thank you, father. Dai Wanling waved his hand and turned to Dai Xingyang, scolding, after 4 years of work, you have not developed a composed demeanor. Instead, you impulsively made a public remark about having your cousin remarry, utterly foolish. With his head bowed, Dai Xingyang replied, grandfather, I'm sorry for disappointing you. Dai Wanling snorted and chastised him further before allowing the five to share their work experiences over the past 6 months. On the way to Yindu Airport, Shen Qinggang wore a grim expression. During his time at the Dai family home, Dai Xingyang had merely skimmed over the events. Now, hearing Shen Shiyan's detailed account made Shen Qinggang nearly erupt with rage. Daiwan's expression was equally grim. Her few nephews and nieces, despite their limited capabilities, had inflated egos and treated her husband with disdain, causing her great embarrassment. The punishment was too lenient, Daiwan said bitterly. Shen Qinggang took a deep breath, suppressing his anger, and stated, Yuchen did not escalate the situation, considering your relationship. Daiwan sighed. I have caused Yuchen and Jingyan to suffer. Shen Qinggang remarked. The third generation of the Dai family shares a common flaw, a baseless sense of superiority. Without a fundamental change, their prospects will remain dim. Shiyan, what do you think of your brother-in-law's performance? If it were you, how would you handle it? Shen Shiyan paused for a moment before responding. Throughout the ordeal, my brother-in-law exhibited remarkable calmness, wisdom, and decisiveness. Even in moments of fury, he maintained a rational approach. Before confronting Dai Xingyang, he articulated his reasoning clearly before resorting to physical means. Were I in his position, I might have impulsively attacked Dai Xingyang and then sought legal redress, causing chaos within the entire Dai family. Shen Qinggang shook his head, saying, your brother-in-law's most commendable trait is his ability to assess the situation and prioritize the bigger picture. Today marked his first occasion to celebrate the old man's birthday as the son-in-law, and it was imperative to avoid any disgraceful incidents. However, Dai Xingyang's actions forced him to retaliate, and he chose a method that appeared aggressive yet was relatively restrained. He humiliated Dai Xingyang without disrupting the old man's birthday celebration. Thus, in all endeavors, one must maintain composure and measure their actions carefully. Shen Shiyan offered a wry smile. Dad, I understand your point. Yet, precisely gauging that measure is often the most challenging task. Shen Qinggang replied, if it were me, consumed by anger, I would struggle to maintain that balance. But your brother-in-law managed to do so. I must concede that he surpasses me in this regard. It is a pity he did not pursue a political career. Chapter 380. No chance Zhao Shengwo resided in a more spacious courtyard than Dai Wanling's, both in terms of the building and the yard. Upon retirement, both had served as military district commanders and held similar ranks, but Zhao Yinjiang's status eclipsed that of Dai Xiaobiao and the others significantly. When distributing residences, such considerations were certainly taken into account, an unspoken understanding among all involved. Entering the main hall, Zhou Yuchen surveyed the surroundings, noting that the decor resembled that of Yunhai's expansive flat. Zhao Shengwo brought an array of snacks for little Yeya, presumably for his grandchildren. Many of these treats were unfamiliar to Yeya, bringing her immense joy as her eyes sparkled with delight. Old Zhao, you don't live alone, do you? My daughter visits almost daily. Alas, her temperament is too strong. Since her divorce, she hasn't sought another partner, and it's nearly driving me to despair. Children will find their own happiness in due time. Your worries are in vain. I suspect Zhao Jia is waiting until after retirement to consider personal matters. Humph, by then, who knows if I will still be around. Given your health, as long as you practice Tai Chi for half an hour daily and maintain a positive mindset, Living another 20 to 30 years should pose no problem. I appreciate your kind words. After exchanging pleasantries, Zhao Shengguo raised an eyebrow and said, Today marks your first meeting with the Dai family, correct? Zhou Yuqin nodded, replying, Indeed. Zhao Shengguo grinned and inquired, What are your impressions of them? This question was rather tricky to answer. Regardless of how one assessed the Dai family, they were still Zhou Yuqin's elders. Praising them excessively would be insincere, while criticizing them would be disrespectful. However, Zhou Yuqin was undeterred. Without hesitation, he replied, My father-in-law surpasses all three of Jingyun's uncles combined. Well said. This response earned Zhou Yuqin admiration from Shun Jingyun, who stood nearby. Zhao Shengguo gave him a thumbs up, exclaiming, Your emotional intelligence is impressive. Zhou Yuqin continued, The distinction of my father-in-law lies in his rise from humble beginnings. Over the past 20 years, he has faced countless trials of life and death. And these harrowing experiences have forged his resolute character. No matter the challenges or pressures he encounters, he remains steadfast. In contrast, Jingyun's elder and second uncles are like flowers nurtured in a greenhouse. From them, I sense a pronounced bureaucratic air, devoid of the tenacity and sharpness that defines my father-in-law. Such individuals are easily overwhelmed by adversity. Zhao Shengguo chuckled and remarked, You truly dare to express your opinions. Since you have opened your heart to me, I shall not conceal anything from you. A fortnight ago, I chanced upon your grandfather in the community, and he mentioned your uncle Dai Xiubiao, which left me rather perplexed. Upon further inquiry along the river, I learned that the Dai family is striving earnestly to facilitate Dai Xiubiao's advancement. Zhou Yuqin directly inquired, Is there no hope? Zhao Shengguo refrained from providing a straightforward answer, instead stating, Officials lacking grassroots experience find it increasingly challenging to rise through the ranks, unless they possess genuine talent or have made significant contributions in their roles. Otherwise, the prospects are dim. Zhou Yuqin nodded in agreement, saying, Indeed. Without traversing treacherous paths or enduring hardships, it is arduous to achieve great success. Just like the two companies I founded, they are bound to face formidable competitors in the future. Survival is uncertain. Yet, without enduring trials and tribulations, how can they rise from the ashes and become better? Zhao Shengguo slapped his thigh, exclaiming, What profound insight. Young Zhou, conversing with you often makes me feel as though I am speaking to someone of my own age rather than a lad in his 20s. Zhou Yuqin shrugged and replied, I merely read a few more books, borrowing wisdom from others and feigning profundity. Zhao Shengguo laughed heartily, saying, Whether you are feigning depth or not, what I do know is that your calligraphy has been lauded by Mr. Chow and the Calligraphy Association as the finest in the world. You must create a few more pieces for me today. Are you not concerned about being accused of corruption? I did not request your work for free. I can trade it for some special wine. Upon hearing about the special wine, Zhou Yuqin's eyes brightened, asking, Old Zhao, how many bottles of special wine do you possess? What do you intend to do with them? Naturally, I wish to negotiate a price. 1 piece of calligraphy for 2 bottles of wine. You cannot consider that unfair. Can you? No problem. I have 3 children. If you write 1 piece for each, I will gift you 6 bottles of special wine. It's settled then. Old Zhao, where did you acquire such an abundance of special wine? Yanjiang does not drink, so he sent these special wines to me. You should be cautious. Do not overindulge in a single day. If you truly cannot manage, I can assist you. Dream on. Hearing the banter between the elder and the youth, Shen Jingyun could not help but smile slightly. Upon entering the study, following Zhao Shengguo's suggestion, Zhou Yuqin composed 4 pieces of calligraphy in one breath, all inspired by ancient, grandiose poetry. Zhao Shengguo's 2 sons and daughter are all exceptional talents. Even his daughter Zhao Xin is a remarkable woman of strength. These poems are perfectly suited for them. As Zhao Shengguo admired the pieces, he exclaimed, Truly worthy of being called the finest in the world, they are splendid. Zhou Yuqin questioned, Old Zhao, do you understand calligraphy? Zhao Shengguo's eyes widened. Nonsense. Though I do not enjoy practicing, my appreciation level is quite commendable. Your writing is both grand and effortless, with profound artistic conception. It exudes an unparalleled vigor that even Mr. Chow cannot achieve in his calligraphy. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. It seems you truly understand. As Zhao Xin would be coming to pick up Zhao Shengguo for dinner, Zhou Yuqin finished writing and conversed with him for a while before taking his leave. On his way back, the trunk of his car contained an additional box of special wine. Dear, I apologize for the distress you've endured. Shen Jingyun had long suspected that the younger generation of the Dai family might not be fond of Zhou Yuqin, but she had not anticipated such blatant disrespect. Especially Dai Xingyang, who had ignored Zhou Yuqin's outstretched hand, clearly signaling his disdain, which nearly incited Shen Jingyun's wrath. The one who should feel wronged is not me, but Dai Xingyang. After being soundly slapped twice, he was obliged to apologize. Had I been in his position, I would have been utterly vexed. Chapter 381. The Development of Yang Lei. He deserves it. This person is utterly shameless, devoid of any sense of decency. There is no need to be angered by such a person. It is best to maintain distance from him in the future. In truth, the one who is most affected should be mother. After all, they are all her blood relatives, and such a rift will surely discomfort her greatly. Over the next few days, please call her more often and offer some comfort. Shen Jingyun's eyes reflected a mix of surprise and gratitude. You are truly wonderful, dear. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. It is only natural. My dear, what would you like for lunch this afternoon? Without hesitation, Xiao Yeye replied, roast duck. Zhou Yuqin was taken aback for a moment before saying, Jingyun, quickly call Shiyan to see if we can still secure a reservation at Quanjude. If not, we can choose another roast duck restaurant. We have finally ventured out, and we must fulfill Xiao Yeye's request. Shen Jingyun smiled, all right. At that moment, Shen Shiyan had just dropped off Shin Chenggang and Daiwan at the airport. Originally, Daiwan had wished to spend a few more days with the elder, but following such a debacle, she could hardly remain. Upon receiving her sister's directive, Shen Shiyan promptly called Quanjude, learning there were no available tables. He reached out to another roast duck establishment named Luhua. Some time ago, when Shen Shiyan purchased a home in Yindu, he had taken his team there to dine, and their roast duck was comparable to that of Quanjude. Leaving the airport, Shen Shiyan did not return to the Sihiyuan, but headed directly to Luhua. Upon arriving at the entrance, it was already 6:30 p.m. Zhou Yuqin's family had been waiting for him in the private room for over half an hour. They ordered 2 roast ducks and 6 signature dishes, and the 4 began their meal. Shen Jingyun sampled a few dishes and remarked, I feel the dishes here are even more delectable than those at Quanjude. Shen Shiyan proudly stated, this is what we call talent among the people. Just as he finished speaking, his phone suddenly rang. Checking the caller ID, he saw it was Dai Xingli. Hello, Shirtu, have you returned to Yanhai? We will be back tomorrow. What's up? I would like to invite you and your brother-in-law to watch an underground boxing match. Will you be attending? An underground boxing match? Shen Shiyan immediately became intrigued, saying, yes, I must go. I have long wished to see what this underground boxing match is like, but have never had the chance. What about your brother-in-law? One moment, let me ask. Shen Shiyan turned to Zhou Yuqin, who smiled. The Sihiyuan is too spacious. I want to accompany your sister and Xiao Yeye to spare them any fear. Upon hearing this, Shen Shiyan deflated like a punctured balloon, saying, if you do not go, then I shall not attend either. No need, you all go enjoy yourselves. Shen Jingyun interjected. Yang Lei knows I am in Yindu and has invited me to stay with her. I told her we are not in a hotel, but in a Sihiyuan. And she immediately changed her mind, insisting on spending a night with us. Zhou Yuqin was taken aback. Yang Lei is rather stingy. As the host, she should at least treat us to a meal, shouldn't she? Shen Jingyun replied. Yang Lei is participating in a program for Yindu TV tonight, which concludes at 9 p.m. Therefore, you all may proceed with your plans without concerning yourselves with me. Shen Shiyan cheerfully remarked, brother-in-law, since someone is accompanying my sister, let us go witness this event together. I have heard that the boxing matches are quite intense. Zhou Yuqin pondered for a moment and agreed, very well. Soon, Shen Shiyan arranged to meet Dai Xingli. The boxing match was set to commence at midnight, located in a venue on the outskirts of the 4th Ring Road, and Dai Xingli would come to the Sihiyuan to collect them at 10 p.m. After dinner, the 4 returned home. Shen Jingyun turned on the television and tuned into Yindu TV, where Yang Lei's enchanting visage graced the screen. She was participating in an interview program. Adorned in a long black dress that exuded both elegance and allure, seated gracefully upon the sofa, Xiao Yeye pointed at the television and exclaimed, it's Mama Yang. Shen Jingyun smiled and asked, darling, do you still remember Mama Yang? Xiao Yeye nodded and replied, yes, Mama Yang often buys me delicious treats. Shen Jingyun playfully tapped her nose and said, you little foodie. Zhou Yuqin inquired, wife, how is Yang Lei's recent development? A while back, Zhou Yuqin had proposed to Shen Jingyun, and Yang Lei had made time to attend the ceremony. However, she left in haste before the event concluded. Zhou Yuqin later learned that Yang Lei had come directly from Mango TV that afternoon and returned that evening for a recording of a variety show. This made Zhou Yuqin feel quite embarrassed, further enhancing his admiration for Yang Lei. Shen Jingyun remarked, she has truly become a renowned diva. Since the airing of Ryuan Anshingshin de Haiyan Peak Singer, she has immediately captured attention. Yang Shi spared no expense to acquire the broadcasting rights, allowing Yang Lei to re-record her songs. Accompanied by moving videos that aired repeatedly during prime time for 2 consecutive months, touching countless viewers. With Yang Shi's endorsement, Yang Lei's fame and influence in the industry have surged, earning her the title of a new generation music diva among her fans. Zhou Yuqin said, last time, she went through a lot to attend my proposal ceremony. I must express my gratitude to her. Shen Jingyun chuckled. The best way to thank her is to write her a new song. I shall go write one now, Zhou Yuqin declared, rising to head towards the study. Beside them, Shen Shiyan looked bewildered and asked, Sister, does my brother-in-law write songs? Shin Jingyun confirmed, of course. Ryu and Anshingshan Dahai were both pinned by him. Shin Shiyan exclaimed, so? My brother-in-law is one of the 3 mysterious music creators online, known as Wuming? Shin Jingyun was taken aback. 3 mysterious music creators? What is that? Shin Shiyan explained. In the music scene of Xiaogua, there are 3 individuals shrouded in mystery, Wuming, Wuji, and Huayu. Especially the latter 2, who only release songs without ever showing their faces. Donating all proceeds to charity foundations. This practice has garnered immense praise from countless fans. In comparison, Wuming seems less impressive, having only written 3 songs. Yet each is a classic. Shin Jingyun made a peculiar expression and asked, do you know their true identities? Shin Shiyan shook his head. If I knew, they wouldn't be considered mysterious anymore. Shin Jingyun replied, I can tell you now, you actually know all 3 of them. Shin Shiyan was astonished. Who are they? How is that possible? Shin Jingyun smiled. Wuming and Wuji are both your brother-in-law, and Huayu is me. Shin Shiyan's eyes widened in shock. Sister, you must be joking. I am not in the least bit jesting. You have listened to my songs since childhood, yet you fail to recognize my voice. I am truly exasperated. When did you learn to write songs? For your brother-in-law, writing songs is as effortless as eating or drinking. The 3 songs I sang online were all written by him, with my name merely listed in the lyrics and composition sections. Sister, I don't understand why you and brother-in-law wish to remain anonymous. I love singing, but that does not mean I desire to be a celebrity. Your brother-in-law is busy with his entrepreneurial endeavors and merely treats singing as a hobby outside of work. If we were to become famous, we wouldn't be able to handle it. By the way, you must keep this a secret, understand? Understood. The Yandu television station is merely 5 kilometers from the Sihiyuan. After the interview program concluded, Yang Lei arrived just 20 minutes later. Hearing the doorbell, Shin Shiyan went to open the door. Is this Shin Jingyun's house? Upon seeing a young man at the door, Yang Lei assumed she had made a mistake. Shin Shiyan smiled and said, Sister Yang, you truly do not recognize me? Yang Lei paused, scrutinizing Shin Shiyan before exclaiming, you are sure to. Indeed. How delightful to see you. They say women change significantly after 18. It seems men do as well. We haven't seen each other in 4 or 5 years, and you have become increasingly handsome. Shin Shiyan replied, Sister Yang, my sister and I just watched your television interview. You are radiating diva vibes. Yang Lei, surprised, said, I remember your previous demeanor was rather aloof. You rarely acknowledged me. When did you become so eloquent? In my youth, I was reckless and immature. I've matured a bit now. My sister and Xiao Ye have been waiting for you. Let us head inside. Wait a moment. Please help me with something. Yang Lei retrieved a large bag from the trunk and handed it to Shin Shiyan, while she hugged a life-sized plush toy. Driver Lao, you may head back now. If I need anything, I will call you. Understood, the driver responded before driving away. Upon entering the Sihiyuan, Yang Lei admired the red lanterns hanging in the courtyard and remarked, how beautiful. Sure to, your brother-in-law must have spent a considerable amount on this Sihiyuan, right? Shin Shiyan affirmed. About 500 million. Yang Lei gasped, that's incredibly wealthy. I find myself increasingly envious of your sister. Not only has she married the man she loves, but he is also extraordinarily affluent, a true member of the upper class. How come such fortune eludes me? Simple, you could become my husband's concubine. Shin Jingyun teased as she opened the door to the main room with a smile. Yang Lei, unfazed, replied, if I were to become your husband's concubine, wouldn't you be the one to weep? Shin Jingyun retorted, I would not shed a tear. You would merely be a concubine. Should you dare to disobey, I, as the head matron, would take a rod to your backside. Yang Lei couldn't help but laugh, entering the room and lightly swatting Shin Jingyun while playfully scolding. You have changed since marrying. You now speak with such boldness. Xiao Ye's eyes lit up upon seeing the large toy in Yang Lei's hands, exclaiming, Mama Yang, is that magical plush toy for me? Yang Lei smiled and replied, if you wish for the toy, it depends on how well you behave, Xiao Ye. Instantly, Xiao Ye hopped off the sofa, her short legs carrying her swiftly to Yang Lei. Yang Lei promptly squatted down, and Xiao Ye showered her with kisses, causing Yang Lei to giggle with delight. After playing with Xiao Ye for a while, Yang Lei scanned the room, asking, where is your esteemed husband? Has he become such a wealthy magnate that he no longer wishes to show his face? Zhou Yuchen emerged, holding the song he had just written, and retorted, I feel like my genuine affections have been fed to the dogs. Shin Jingyun laughed, now you realize? Yang Lei, puzzled, asked, what do you mean? Shin Jingyun explained, last time, you made an effort to attend our proposal ceremony. My husband felt quite guilty and decided to write you a song as a token of gratitude. Yang Lei gazed at the 2 sheets of paper in Zhou Yuchen's hand and exclaimed, Mr. Zhou, great wealthy man, I apologize. Please show mercy to a humble woman like me. Zhou Yuchen feigned astonishment as he inquired, my dear wife, is this truly the dignified and graceful musical diva we just saw on television? The contrast seems rather stark, does it not? Am I not putting on a show? Yang Lei chuckled, stepping forward to extend her hand and express her gratitude. Thank you, President Zhou. Zhou Yuqin handed her the classic masterpiece Red Bean, stating, "This song has been tailored specifically for you. If performed well, it should keep you in the limelight for a decade or two without any issue." Upon hearing this, Yang Lei was instantly filled with surprise and delight, exclaiming, "Then I must take a good look at it." Unable to resist the confidence in Zhou Yuqin's words, Shen Jingyan leaned in closer. After perusing the song, Yang Lei began to sing. A true diva, she hit every note flawlessly. Shen Jingyan praised, "It is simply exquisite, imbued with a poetic beauty that is nothing short of sublime." Yang Lei's expression turned serious as she remarked, "Zhou Yuqin, this Red Bean is a classic among classics. And it suits Jingyun's voice perfectly. Are you truly willing to gift it to me?" In the music industry, securing a song of Red Bean's caliber is exceedingly rare. It is not merely a song. Its significance lies in its potential to catapult a new artist to fame. Anyone capable of penning such a piece would consider it a prized treasure. Thus, no amount of money could purchase it, let alone gift it. Zhou Yuqin waved his hand dismissively, saying, "Do not be so dramatic. In my eyes, this Red Bean may not even compare to Ryuan. Now, call your agent and have her draft a song copyright transfer agreement. Let us sign it now to avoid complications later." Yang Lei regarded him thoughtfully before responding, "All right." 15 minutes later, 2 copies of the song copyright transfer agreement were freshly minted. Zhou Yuqin frowned upon seeing the copyright fee was 3 million, saying, "I am gifting it, not selling it." Shen Jingyun also appeared displeased, adding, "Yang Lei, what are you doing?" Yang Lei responded earnestly, "Friendship is one thing, but work is another. I attended your proposal ceremony out of sisterly affection. Accepting your husband's song as a token of gratitude would make me uncomfortable, as if our bond were being commodified. Should I invite you to my wedding in the future, would I then have to find a way to repay you?" Chapter 383. Do you really possess assets worth billions? Zhou Yuqin found Yang Lei's reasoning quite sound and nodded, saying, "You are right. But 3 million is unnecessary." Yang Lei replied, "Top-tier songwriters in the industry typically charge around 3 million. Given the quality of this song, 3 million is already a tremendous bargain." Zhou Yuqin chuckled. "What if the song does not become a hit? You'd better not regret it." Yang Lei confidently asserted, "It will undoubtedly be a massive success." Zhou Yuqin, "Stop hesitating and sign already." Zhou Yuqin shrugged, picked up a pen, and inscribed his name on the agreement. Yang Lei beamed, saying, "I will transfer the money to Jingyun's account tomorrow. I struck gold today, stumbling upon such a fine song." Shen Jingyun teased, "Good songs are not so easily acquired. Tonight, you must keep me company." Yang Lei wrapped her arm around Shen Jingyun's shoulders and planted a kiss on her cheek, assuring, "Fear not, Your Majesty. I shall serve you wholeheartedly." Shen Jingyun playfully wiped her lipstick and chided, "Your first order of business is to quickly remove my makeup." Yang Lei replied with a smile, "As you command." Just as the 2 women were frolicking, Dai Xingli called Shen Shiyan to inform him they had arrived at the courtyard. Zhou Yuqin addressed Shen Jingyun, "Let us go." Shen Jingyun cautioned, "You may watch the boxing match, but avoid any unsavory places." "Rest assured," Zhou Yuqin responded, and he departed with Shen Shiyan. Once they left, Yang Lei curiously asked, "What boxing match are they going to see?" Shen Jingyun replied, "It seems to be an underground boxing match, quite intense." Yang Lei's expression shifted. "I have heard whispers in the circle about this underground boxing match. It's not just intense. Many wealthy individuals engage in high-stakes gambling. Some have reportedly lost billions in a single night." Upon hearing this, Shen Jingyun felt alarmed and quickly picked up her phone to call Zhou Yuqin. However, she soon paused. Yang Lei inquired, "What's wrong?" Shen Jingyun set her phone down, saying, "My husband is exceptionally composed and restrained. He certainly would not partake in high-stakes gambling. I shall not fret unnecessarily." Yang Lei nodded, "That is true." "Jingyun, when are you 2 planning to marry?" Shen Jingyun replied, "Next spring." Yang Lei remarked, "You must keep a close watch during this period. Young tycoons like Zhou Yuqin are the favorites of many beautiful young women, and they are capable of anything to ascend the social ladder." Shen Jingyun smiled, "We already obtained our marriage license last week. Next spring is primarily for the wedding." Yang Lei exclaimed, "So soon? Congratulations. By the way, have you signed a prenuptial property agreement?" Shen Jingyun's lips curled into a warm smile as she replied, "I brought up the matter of a prenuptial agreement, but he did not agree." Yang Lei asked why not. Shen Jingyun explained, he provided 2 reasons. First, such agreements are meant for divorce. Thinking about divorce before marriage is a mindset of a scoundrel. Second, he wishes to assure me with half of his wealth, serving as a reminder to himself to avoid wronging me in the future. Wow. Yang Lei's eyes sparkled with envy, "My dear, do you know? In the entertainment industry, many stars undergo property agreements before marriage to protect their interests in case of divorce. The same applies to wealthy tycoons in business. To be honest, Zhou Yuqin's willingness to do this for you marks him as an extraordinary man. Shen Jingyan's countenance radiated happiness as she agreed. I feel the same. On their way to the boxing match, Dai Xingli glanced at Zhou Yuqin through the rearview mirror and remarked, Brother-in-law, do you truly possess assets exceeding 100 billion? This afternoon, after Dai Xiaoshan concluded a family meeting, he summoned Dai Xingli and Dai Yu to inquire whether they had offended Zhou Yuqin. Upon learning that Zhou Yuqin had built his fortune from scratch and had become a super-rich billionaire in just 6 months, the siblings were utterly stunned. Dai Xingli quickly researched the Moonlight Game Company and Kunpeng Group online, where Zhou Yuqin's name was clearly listed as the founder and president. Overwhelmed with shock, Dai Xingli felt a surge of joy, for while everyone else looked down upon Zhou Yuqin, he had chosen to befriend him. Inviting Zhou Yuqin to the boxing match was, in reality, a test to gauge his attitude. If a person of his stature accepted the invitation, it would undoubtedly signify recognition. Thus, upon confirming Zhou Yuqin's agreement, Dai Xingli was elated, practically bouncing with joy. 100 billion in assets. Shun Shiyan interjected. The rumors outside are nonsensical. Dai Xingli exclaimed with surprise. If it's not 100 billion, it should be around 60 or 70 billion, right? I read online that just the factories of Kunpeng Group are worth that much. Shen Shiyan chuckled. Brotherly, you misunderstand me. I meant to say that my brother-in-law's assets are far greater than what is publicly known. The recent acquisition of nearly 100 properties in the 4 major first-tier cities has amassed a staggering value of over 13 billion, conservatively estimating. This figure has surged by an additional 5 to 6 billion. In a couple of years, selling them for 300 billion should be a certainty. 300 billion? My goodness, that is quite astonishing. Dai Xingli's eyes widened in disbelief. Zhou Yuqing smiled and said, Li Gu, do not be swayed by Shi Yan's exaggerations. While I do possess several properties, they are all mortgaged to Kunpeng Group for bank loans. If property prices soar in the coming years, that would be splendid. However, if they decline instead, I fear bankruptcy may not be far off. Dai Xingli replied, property prices certainly cannot fall. Not long ago, after the purchasing restrictions were imposed in Yindu, I regretted my decisions deeply. I used to look down on those dilapidated courtyard houses, but now they have become highly sought after. Shen Shiyan smugly remarked, this only indicates your lack of vision. My brother-in-law possesses nearly 20 courtyard houses, each over 200 square meters. They are bound to appreciate significantly in the future. Zhou Yuqing sighed. Shiyan, when will you overcome your penchant for boasting? Only then will you be able to stand independently. Shun Shiyan chuckled. Brother-in-law, Li Gu is one of us. It's fine to confide in him. Dai Xingli patted his chest and assured, sister-in-law, rest assured, I'm the best at keeping secrets. What we discuss will remain between us, including for my father and sister. Chapter 384. The charisma of Dai Xingli. Curious, Zhou Yuqing asked, Li Gu, why did you invite me to watch the boxing match? Aren't you concerned about Dai Xingyang's displeasure? Dai Xingli scoffed. He has been displeased with me for quite some time. The moniker shame of the Dai family was bestowed upon me by him. To be honest, watching you slap him twice today was quite exhilarating. Were it not for the occasion, I would have cheered you on. Noticing Zhou Yuqing's puzzled expression, Shen Shiyan provided an explanation. It turned out that Dai Wanling had established Dai Xingyang as the core of the 3rd generation of the Dai family 10 years ago. As the first of the younger generation, Dai Xingyang was expected to exhibit the broad-mindedness and grace befitting a leader, uniting the family's siblings for collective advancement. However, he was narrow-minded, looking down on capable individuals like Dai Xingwen and Dai Xingwu, while ridiculing the less capable Dai Xingli, even giving him the derogatory nickname. It was unclear who spread this nickname, but it turned Dai Xingli into a laughingstock in Yindu. Thus, when he saw Zhou Yuqing dealing with Dai Xingyang, he prevented his sister from intervening, not only to avoid offending his aunt's family, but also because he relished Dai Xingyang's misfortune. After a moment of silence, Zhou Yuqing remarked, as the saying goes, every talent has its use. Even a fool can excel in focus, let alone a normal person. Li Gu, in which area do you believe you excel? Dai Xingli pondered for a moment and replied with a wry smile, I am neither skilled in literature nor in martial arts. It seems I have no particular strengths. Zhou Yuqing shook his head, saying, incorrect. Your greatest asset is your charisma. Children of the Dai family, including cousin Dai Ning, possess a degree of arrogance, yet you lack such traits. Today, as you sought my counsel regarding stock purchases, I found it difficult to harbor any disdain for you. In fact, I engaged with you on numerous investment topics. Reflecting on it, I find it curious why I discussed these matters with you. The only explanation must be your charisma, which allowed me to lower my guard unconsciously. Dai Xingli scratched his head and asked, really? I possess such a quality? But what good is it? Zhou Yuqing offered an analogy. Imagine 2 shops opening next to a school, sourcing from the same suppliers and selling identical products. The one with charisma will be bustling, while the one without will surely fail. Shen Shiyan inquired, brother-in-law, what exactly is charisma? Zhou Yuqing explained, charisma is a humility, sincerity, kindness, and respect that emanates from the heart. Those endowed with such qualities can easily bridge the gap with clients, earning their genuine acceptance. In my past life, the most charismatic entrepreneur was Lei Jun, the president of Xiaomi, revered as the god of sales. Everyone knows Lei Jun is a businessman, and his aim is undoubtedly profit. Yet, the remarkable charisma he exhibits towards clients has garnered him immense popularity and a legion of fans. Xiaomi's technology may not be the best, nor are its products superior, but their cost-effectiveness is unparalleled, placing them among the top 3 in sales. This can be largely attributed to Lei Jun's personal influence. Dai Xingli possesses such potential, although he is far from Lei Jun's level of knowledge and capability. Shen Shiyan remarked, if that is the case, then the marketing department would be the most suitable for Li Go. Zhou Yuqing smiled and suggested, you could also establish your own brand and promote it yourself. Dai Xingli shook his head, saying, let us not get ahead of ourselves. I lack such abilities. As the trio conversed and laughed, they arrived at the Xinhong Conference Hall, located on the periphery of the 4th Ring Road. The hall was quite expansive, with the main building being a 12-story structure surrounded by 2 3-story buildings. Dai Xingli parked the car and led Zhou Yuqing and Shen Shiyan into the shorter building on the right. Inside, a service desk was manned by 4 beautiful waitresses clad in kipeos. Dai Xingli placed 3 access passes on the counter, and one of the waitresses smiled, saying, gentlemen, please follow me. The waitress swayed her hips, guiding them towards the elevator. Zhou Yuqing sensed someone observing them and looked up, noticing a camera in the upper left corner of the elevator. The waitress pressed the button for the 5th floor, and the elevator descended for half a minute before coming to a halt. Exiting the elevator, they turned right and navigated 2 corners, arriving at a grand door. A table was positioned at the entrance, behind which stood a man in a suit accompanied by 5 or 6 imposing bodyguards. The man bowed respectfully to the 3 and said, young Master Dai, greetings. As these 2 gentlemen are first-time visitors, we need to register them. Dai Xingli smacked his forehead, saying, sister-in-law, sure to my apologies, I forgot to remind you to bring your IDs. Zhou Yuqing retrieved his wallet and produced his ID, stating, I have mine. Shen Shiyan added, I have mine too. The 2 presented their IDs to the man, who completed the registration and inquired, what are your professions, gentlemen? Do you have a deposit of 500,000? Zhou Yuqing promptly revealed his black card from a commercial bank, saying, is this acceptable? Upon seeing the black card, the man's expression changed, and his demeanor became even more humble as he said, sir, I apologize for my earlier oversight. Please, come in. To possess a black card with a limit of 100 million indicates one is not an ordinary person, likely a member of a prominent family. As they pushed open the grand door, the trio stepped inside. The boxing venue was vast, capable of accommodating over 1,000 spectators. At the center stood a gigantic octagonal cage, with circular seating radiating outward, each seat generously spaced apart. Zhou Yuqing estimated that around 300 seats were available. At that moment, at least 80 to 90 people had already arrived, grouped in 3s and 5s, engaged in lively conversations, clearly familiar with the venue. Shen Shiyan inquired, Li Gu, where shall we sit? Dai Xingli presented 3 tickets, numbered 126, 127, and 128. I mentioned that I had relied on connections to acquire these somewhat rearward positions. Yet it did not hinder our enjoyment of the match. Shen Shiyan, intrigued, inquired about the cost of these seats. Dai Xingli replied, 300,000. Goodness, Shen Shiyan exclaimed. If seats in the hundreds fetch 100,000, then those in the front must cost over 1 million. Dai Xingli clarified, not quite. Seats numbered 1 to 10 are 50,000. Zhou Yuqing chuckled, it's merely a boxing match. There's no need to squander so much money. Chapter 385. First encounter with Huang Guixin. At that moment, a female voice reached Zhou Yuqing's ears. Xiao Zhou, are you also interested in boxing? Turning to look, he was surprised to find that the speaker was Zhao Xing, the president of Xingyue Electric and the daughter of Zhao Xinghua. Accompanying her were 5 or 6 young men and women, each exuding an impressive aura, likely scions of prominent families. Sister Xian, I should be asking you that. As a distinguished business leader, what brings you to a boxing match? Zhao Xing smiled. 2 matches are held here each month. Whenever I have free time, I come to unwind, primarily to alleviate stress. Xiao Zhou, I had a feeling you would achieve great things, but I did not expect your rise to be so swift. Perhaps I will rely on you in the future. Zhou Yuqing replied, Sister Xian, your words are too flattering for me. However, should you ever find yourself in need, be it for financial support or otherwise, I will certainly lend my assistance. Zhao Xing patted Zhou Yuqing's shoulder, joyfully saying, indeed, you are a true brother. A refined gentleman nearby remarked, Sister Xian, this brother seems unfamiliar. Would you kindly introduce him to everyone? Zhao Xing gestured towards Zhou Yuqin, stating, "This is Mr. Zhou Yuqin, president of Yuechen Gaming Company and Kunping Group. Xiao Zhou, this is Cheng Jiadong, general manager of Haitian Group. This is Long Yanqing, the third son of the Long family. And this is Hu Yanqun, the young lady of the Hu family." The individuals with whom Zhao Xing mingled were not merely executives of public companies, but also heirs of the prominent families of Yindu, each commanding considerable influence. Zhou Yuqin exchanged handshakes and warm greetings with them. It was evident that these individuals had heard of the esteemed Yuechen Gaming Company and Kunping Group and treated Zhou Yuqin with utmost courtesy. "Ha! Sister Xin, it has been too long," boomed a resonant voice that echoed throughout the venue. Everyone turned to see a man in his 30s, slightly taller than Zhou Yuqin, who stood at over 6 feet. He sported a crew cut, thick eyebrows, a prominent nose, and piercing eyes, striding with an impressive presence. Following closely behind him were a bespectacled middle-aged man and 2 burly men, a master of internal martial arts. Zhou Yuqin immediately discerned that this man was a practitioner of the dark force, with formidable skills. The 2 muscular men were likely masters of the external force, while the middle-aged man appeared to be an ordinary individual without martial prowess. Dai Xingli's expression shifted, and he hastily leaned towards Zhou Yuqin, whispering, "Brother-in-law. That man is Huang Guixin, the second son of the Huang family." Zhou Yuqin acknowledged with an "oh," contemplating the immense dedication required to cultivate to such a level. Huang Guixin was undoubtedly a formidable character. A shadow flickered across Zhao Xing's eyes, but she swiftly regained her composure, donning a professional smile. "Young Master Huang, Mr. Qian, your Xinfeng Electric Group is thriving more than ever. In a couple of years, I fear we at Xingyue Electric may have to yield our position to you." The middle-aged man, Qian Shufeng, was the president of Xinfeng Electric Group, a direct competitor of Xingyue Electric. Qian Shufeng was known for his resolute character and exceptional capabilities. Despite his struggle against Zhao Xing's company, he managed to capture 12% of the market share, effectively treading water in a highly competitive environment. 2 years prior, Huang Guixin had invested a substantial sum into Xinfeng Electric Group, becoming its largest investor. With his support, the company experienced a resurgence, increasing its market share to 22%, second only to Xingyue Electric's 37%. The competition between the 2 companies had escalated to a fierce level, with price wars raging intensely. This scenario echoed the adage in the marketplace: when the first and second engage in conflict, the third and fourth vanish. After a year of price wars, Zhao Xing found herself struggling to maintain her position, while Qian Shufeng, bolstered by Huang's investment, became increasingly aggressive. Fortunately, Xingyue Electric had a solid foundation and could endure for a few more years. Huang Guixin remarked, "Sister Xin, you are too modest. If Xingyue Electric were so easily surpassed, it would not have stood firm in Xia country for so many years." Zhao Xing inquired, "I hear you are preparing to represent the foreign Lair Air Conditioning. This cannot be mere rumor?" Xingyue Air Conditioning was the core product of the Xingyue Group, possessing its own intellectual property rights, with virtually no competitors in Xia country. Should Lair Air Conditioning enter the market, coupled with the promotion from Xinfeng Electric Group, it would pose a significant threat to Xingyue Electric. Huang Guixin raised an eyebrow. "Since we are set to announce it next week, there is no need to conceal it. Yes, we have indeed become the agents for Lair Air Conditioning." Zhao Xing replied coolly, "It seems an inevitable price war in the air conditioning sector is on the horizon." Huang Guixin's pupils contracted as he remarked, "Sister Xin, your company must have a considerable funding gap, no? With the prices of appliances dropping so significantly, you wouldn't be engaging in losing ventures, would you?" Zhao Xing understood that Huang Guixin was probing her, and with a sigh, she responded, "With Xinfeng Electric pursuing us so tenaciously, I must contend with you even at a loss. My plan is to forego profits for the next 10 years, allowing consumers in Xia country to benefit from affordable appliances. This way, I consider it my contribution to the people of Xia country." How audacious! The gathered crowd shuddered at her words. A decade without profit? She was indeed willing to fight Xinfeng Electric to the bitter end. Huang Guixin silently cursed her madness while maintaining a composed facade, saying, "Sister Xin, as a formidable woman, you wouldn't genuinely consider such reckless actions, would you?" Zhao Xing smiled. "You should be well aware of my son's character. In 10 years, I will be older, and there will be no successor to take over. Rather than let everything fall into his hands, it is better for me to conclude matters myself. Young Master Huang, the purpose of your investment in Xinfeng Electric is clear to all. I dare say that for the next decade, I can ensure you earn not a single cent. I hope you can endure." Brilliant. Zhou Yuqin mentally applauded Zhao Xing. Huang Guixin's flourishing investment in Xinfeng Electric had instilled him with confidence. When Zhao Xing claimed she could defeat him, it lacked persuasive power to outsiders. However, if they were to engage in mutual destruction, rendering Huang Guixin's investment worthless, the task would be considerably easier. The most crucial factor was their age. Zhao Xing could play her cards for a decade, retiring honorably, while Huang Guoxin would just be entering his prime at 40, unable to endure such a lengthy battle. Chapter 386. Confrontation with Huang Guoxin. Zhao Xian's resolute demeanor caused Huang Guoxin's brows to furrow. Sister Xian, I believe we should sit down and have a proper discussion. Zhao Xian waved her hand dismissively, asserting with authority, there is nothing to discuss. After years in business, I have never feared any challenge. I once bested foreign electronics, and I am confident I can do so again. Mr. Huang, Mr. Qian, I am genuinely curious to see what capabilities you possess to revive foreign air conditioning. With that, Zhao Xian ignored Huang Guoxin and turned her attention to Zhou Yuchen. Shall we go to the front row to watch the match? Zhou Yuchen shrugged, replying, I have no seat. Zhao Xian smiled. That can be arranged. I will take care of it. Zhou Yuchen responded. Then there is no problem. Huang Guoxin scrutinized Zhou Yuchen, feeling a sense of familiarity. After a while, he remembered that this was indeed Zhou Yuchen, the husband of Shun Jingyun. Following a call from Dai Xingyang, Huang Guoxin had conducted an investigation and only 2 hours prior had seen his photograph. Yet, in that moment, he failed to connect the photo with the man before him. Mr. Zhou, what is your relationship with Shun Jingyun? Huang Guoxin's question was direct, devoid of any preamble. Zhou Yuchen replied, we are husband and wife. I believe it is necessary for me to clarify something. Although I am not a paragon of virtue, I would never engage in disgraceful conduct. Had I known you were already married, I certainly would not have sent Dai Xingyang to convey messages. Zhou Yuchen nodded. There is no need for clarification. I had already suspected you were unaware. Thank you for your trust. However, to be candid, I have a strong dislike for you. If it weren't for Shun Jingyun giving birth out of wedlock, we might have been a couple by now. Zhou Yuchen frowned. Mr. Huang, what do you mean by that? Huang Guoxin elaborated. From the moment I first met Shun Jingyun, I was smitten, even asking my grandfather to propose to the Dai family. Mr. Huang, Zhou Yuchen interrupted sharply. Your words are quite inappropriate. Firstly, Jingyun's surname is Shun, not Dai. Any proposal should have been directed at the Shun family, not the Dai family. Secondly, you may misunderstand the term smitten. When a man and woman first meet, it is often merely physical attraction. Were my wife unattractive, you likely wouldn't have given her a second glance. Thirdly, I have heard that your wife bore you a son, but tragically passed away in a car accident. To publicly declare your affection for my wife in front of so many is profoundly unfair to the woman who bore your child. If your son were to hear this, I imagine he would be deeply saddened. Zhou Yuchen's words were a piercing indictment, leaving Huang Guoxin with no retort. Zhao Xian nearly burst out laughing, astonished by Zhou Yuchen's eloquence, which had effectively cast Huang Guoxin into a moral abyss. In stark contrast, Huang Guoxin was seething. You are deliberately misinterpreting my words. Zhou Yuchen replied coolly, your irresponsible comments have been heard by all. Whether it is a misinterpretation or not, everyone has their own judgment. Zhao Xian sighed, Mr. Huang, you should consider how to explain this to Ms. Zhuang. To put it bluntly, if I were a relative of Ms. Zhuang, I would feel compelled to slap you. Huang Guoxin's face flushed with anger as he glared at Zhao Xian and Zhou Yuchen, practically breathing fire. My affection for Shun Jingyun 5 years ago does not imply that I still harbor feelings for her. Zhao Xian scoffed. Then why did you send Dai Xingyang to convey messages to the Dai family? Huang Guoxin was momentarily at a loss for words. Just then, a woman clad in a striking red qipao approached, her presence alluring. Are you two about to fight? She teased, covering her mouth with a giggle. Fight. Zhao Xian chuckled. Lizhen, you are quite the jokester. I am not foolish enough to engage in a physical altercation with Mr. Huang. That would simply be inviting a beating. Laughter erupted among those present. Zhong Lezhen linked arms with Zhao Xian, playfully exclaiming, Sister Xian, when did this formidable iron lady become so humorous? Zhao Xian replied, work is inherently dull. Without a touch of humor, life would be unbearable. Rest assured, our earlier exchange with Mr. Huang was merely casual conversation and will not affect the normal proceedings of your boxing match. It was surprising to discover that the stunning and seductive Zhong Lezhen was the proprietor of the venue. Zhou Yuchen's eyes sparkled with intrigue. Huang Guoxin inhaled deeply, suppressing his anger, and coldly regarded Zhou Yuchen. Mr. Zhou, I will remember this incident. We shall see how it unfolds. Zhou Yuchen smiled. Mr. Huang, I come from humble beginnings and am rather timid. Your words frighten me. However, I perceive your audacity is boundless. Huang Guoxin sneered and strode away. Zhong Lezhen cast a surprised glance at Zhou Yuchen, clapping her hands. All right, the match is about to commence. Everyone, please return to your places. Upon hearing this, the crowd dispersed. Shin Shiyan said, brother-in-law, we will head over first. Zhou Yuchen nodded. All right. Soon, only Zhao Xian, Zhong Lezhen, and Zhou Yuchen remained. Zhao Xian smiled. Lezhen, do me a favor and arrange 2 adjacent seats for us. as long as they are in the front 3 rows. Zhong Lezhen assessed Zhou Yuqin while responding, Sister Xian. Seating is no problem, but shouldn't you introduce this handsome gentleman first? Zhao Xian replied. His name is Zhou Yuqin, a close friend of our family's patriarch. Little Zhou. This beautiful lady is Zhong Lezhen, the largest shareholder of this venue. You may simply call her Sister Zhen. Zhou Yuqin politely greeted, Sister Zhen, hello. Zhong Lezhen beamed. After knowing Sister Xian for so long, this is the first time I've seen her bring a younger brother along. Zhao Xian quickly realized Zhong Lezhen had misunderstood their relationship and clarified, Lezhen, little Zhou hails from Yunhai. He is a self-made entrepreneur and a true business prodigy. In just 6 months, he has become a billionaire. Zhong Lezhen gasped in surprise, is that true? Zhou Yuqin chuckled, Sister Xian is merely flattering me. Zhong Lezhen shook her head, Sister Xian never flatters anyone. Little Zhou, what is the name of your company? Zhou Yuqin replied, Yuechen Gaming Company and Kuanping Group. Sister Zhen, you can call me Little Zhou, and please refrain from adding brother at the end. It feels a bit uncomfortable. Chapter 387. Bringing 2 women aboard. Zhong Lezhen erupted into laughter, her bosom heaving with exuberance, creating a breathtaking spectacle. You truly are amusing. However, I have indeed heard of the 2 companies you founded. They hold significant influence even on a global scale. Little Zhou, whenever you find yourself in need of funding, do not forget to bring Sister Zhen along to prosper. Sister Zhen, how much can you contribute? Zhou Yuqin, while uncertain of Zhong Lezhen's true identity, recognized that her ability to host underground boxing matches in such a sensitive location as Yindu indicated she possessed an extraordinary background. He would soon be heading to the lighthouse country. If I could leverage the recent stock market crash in the land of the lighthouse to help Zhong Lezhen earn a substantial profit and cultivate a favorable relationship with her, it would undoubtedly be an exceptional choice. What initially seemed to be a mere jest from Zhong Lezhen was taken seriously by Zhou Yuqin, who chuckled. It appears you genuinely possess a knack for making money. I am no match for you. After years of hard work, I can only muster 500 million xia yuan at most. After a moment's contemplation, Zhou Yuqin replied, convert it to USD. Allow me 3 months, and I shall provide you with a 30% return. Should I fail, I will compensate you for any shortfall. This assurance can be formalized in a contract. Sister Xian, if you are interested, you may also consider investing with me. Zhong Lezhen's expression shifted, and she turned to Zhao Xian. At this moment, Zhao Xian was in dire need of funds, and upon hearing of such an opportunity, her demeanor grew serious as she inquired, Xiao Zhou, are you certain you are not jesting? Zhou Yuqin replied with a smile, Sister Xian, I would not dare to play such a grand joke on you and Sister Zhen. To speak candidly, I am extremely confident in my ability to generate returns exceeding 30%. I simply lack the necessary capital. Zhao Xian remarked, your Kuanping Group and Yuechen Gaming Company are raking in profits daily. If you were to mortgage them to a bank, you could secure at least over 10 billion. Zhou Yuqin candidly stated, I have already mortgaged them to the bank. Recently, I invested over 13 billion in Yindu, Yunhai, Pingcheng, and Guangqing, acquiring nearly 100 properties. Zhao Xian and Zhong Lezhen were taken aback. Zhong Lezhen incredulously asked, how could you have foreseen that the 4 first-tier cities would impose purchase restrictions? Such a significant event must have been a decision from the highest echelons. Even you and Sister Xian could not have known in advance, let alone myself. I come from a finance background and, through analyzing the real estate sector, concluded that property prices would inevitably soar in the future. Particularly in the 4 most developed first-tier cities, the increase would surpass that of ordinary cities. As for the purchase restrictions, I had predicted them as well. Only the announcement came more than 6 months earlier than I anticipated. I must admit, those financial experts are indeed formidable, and the government's actions were swift, nearly derailing my purchasing plans and leading to failure. Zhou Yuqin shared this to bolster Zhong Lezhen and Zhao Xian's confidence in investing with him. I managed to predict the purchase restrictions. What are you 2 waiting for? Zhao Xian exclaimed. After the announcement of the purchase restrictions, property prices in the 4 first-tier cities skyrocketed. When do you plan to sell? Zhou Yuqin replied. It depends on the circumstances. As long as I can secure around 10 billion in profit, I will withdraw. Zhong Lezhen interjected. You seek USD, indicating that this opportunity lies abroad, correct? Zhou Yuqin nodded, affirming, indeed. Zhong Lezhen raised an eyebrow. The stock market in the land of the lighthouse? Zhou Yuqin gave her a thumbs up. Sister Zhen is astute. Zhong Lezhen pondered. The stock market in the land of the lighthouse carries significant risks. Zhou Yuqin reassured her, I will bear all the risks. Should I fail, I can use several properties under my name to settle debts. If I succeed, it will be a win-win. My returns may even exceed yours. At that point, I hope you and Sister Zhen will not criticize my gains. Zhao Xian took a deep breath, declaring, 400 million USD. Xiao Zhou, I will invest 400 million USD with you. Zhou Yuqin smiled. Sister Xian, I knew you had ample funds. Zhao Xian shot him a glare. This is my life savings. If I incur losses, I will be finished. Zhou Yuqin countered, Sister Xian, that is not quite right. Regardless of gains or losses. 2 months from now, your 400 million USD will transform into 5.2 billion. The one who stands to lose will be me. And what about Sister Zhen? I have proposed such a generous plan. Are you truly not tempted at all? Zhong Lezhen replied, it is impossible not to be tempted. Since Sister Xian trusts you so much, I shall also invest my life savings of 200 million USD with you. Zhou Yuqin snapped his fingers joyfully. Excellent. I will provide you both with an account in Hong Kong. As soon as the funds arrive, we shall sign the contract. Zhao Xian laughed. Now that you mention it, I suddenly feel as if I am being duped. Zhou Yuqin shrugged. Borrowing 600 million USD to repay 780 million USD is something I believe many would willingly undertake. Zhong Lezhen expressed, I hope that in 2 months, I will hear news of your triumphant success rather than news of you selling properties. Zhou Yuqin confidently affirmed, absolutely. Before long, Zhong Lezhen secured seats for Zhao Xian and Zhou Yuqin in the second row. The first row was occupied by members of elite families, and Zhong Lezhen dared not allow them to vacate their seats casually. Once seated, Zhou Yuqin inquired, Sister Xian, what is Sister Zhen's background? Zhao Xian was taken aback. You do not know? Zhou Yuqin replied, this is our first meeting. I have only just heard her name. Zhao Xian asked, then why did you bring her onto your ship? Zhou Yuqin shrugged. To operate such an establishment in Yindu, Sister Zhen must have significant backing. If there is an opportunity that allows me to earn money while befriending someone of her stature, why would I pass it up? Zhao Xian chuckled, you are quite clever. Since you are so confident, would you like me to introduce you to a few more young gentlemen and ladies? Zhou Yuqin replied, please do not. The capital market is ever-changing. I am confident in my judgment, but there are always uncertainties. If I were to lose, I could at most repay the two of you. Anything beyond, that would be detrimental. You certainly possess a sense of boundaries. Zhao Xian complimented. Sister Lezhen's identity is extraordinary. She has formidable connections behind her, akin to 2 imposing mountains. As long as she does not commit a fundamental error, no one can touch her. Zhou Yuqin gasped. To be referred to as a mountain by Zhao Xian, the daughter of the Zhao family, indicated that only a select few held such influence. The fact that Zhong Lezhen had close ties with 2 of them was utterly astonishing. It seemed that his decision to befriend her was indeed a wise one. Chapter 388. The illusory boxing match. At the stroke of midnight, the boxing match commenced. A referee took to the ring, delivering a brief speech, and his animated expression and fervent demeanor stirred the atmosphere into a lively frenzy. Shortly thereafter, the large screens on either side of the ring displayed the photos of 2 boxers, one from the Bear Country, named Lev Akil, who had trained in a Siberian camp and was known as the Bloodhen Butcher. The other was a white fighter from Eastern Europe, Dreiser Ken, who had maintained an undefeated streak of 30 matches in the underground boxing circuit of the West, earning the moniker of the King of Fighters. Amidst the audience's enthusiastic applause and cheers, Lev Akil and Dreiser Ken made their way into the spotlight. With similar height and weight, their presence was equally formidable, leaving even Zhou Yuqin unable to predict the outcome. Next to each seat was a red and blue voting device. Supporting the red corner allowed one to enter a numerical wager, competing against those supporting the blue corner, with the maximum bet not exceeding 5 million and the minimum not less than 100,000. Each match commenced with 3 minutes of betting time. Zhou Yuqin observed as Zhao Xian picked up the red voting device and placed a bet of 500,000, asking, Sister Xian, are you certain Lev Akil will win? Zhao Xian shook her head. If I were certain, I would not have only bet 500,000. Are you not participating? Zhou Yuqin chuckled. I shall observe for now. On the large screen, the betting amounts for the 2 boxers appeared in real time. The red corner, Lev Akil, had 8,600,000, while the blue corner, Dreiser Ken, boasted 11,200,000. The figures alternated and surged, eventually stabilizing at 19,600,000 and 32,400,000 after 3 minutes. Lev Akil and Dreiser Ken ascended the ring, glaring at each other from a distance of 10 meters. With a jarring ring of the bell, both fighters unleashed a fierce roar and charged at one another. Their fists flew like a torrential downpour, engaging in no probing attacks, but rather launching into a thunderous onslaught. Instantly, the air was filled with the rush of punches and the shadows of their legs, creating an extraordinarily intense battle. The audience below erupted in fervent cheers for their respective fighters, faces flushed and brimming with excitement. Before long, both boxers bore swollen faces, blood streaming from their wounds. The sight of blood only heightened the crowd's fervor. Zhou Yuqin cast a glance at Zhao Xian, who was cheering for Lev Akil, feeling somewhat bemused. The 2 combatants appeared to be fighting for their lives, yet they deftly avoided each other's vital spots, the bout leaning more towards performance than genuine danger. In a true life-or-death match, Both opponents would target each other's weaknesses, especially in a duel among martial arts experts where survival hinges on a mere instant. There's no way such a contest could last 3 minutes, at most. It would last half a minute before a victor emerged. Just as Zhou Yuqin indulged in his musings, Lev Aker suddenly unleashed a kick aimed at Draesken's vital area. Startled, Draesken swiftly stepped back. Seizing the moment, Lev Aker executed a move from the 8 Extremes fist, the Iron Mountain Lean, striking forcefully against Draesken's chest. Draesken flew back 5 meters, crashing heavily to the ground. In the blink of an eye, he was knocked unconscious. The audience initially sat in stunned silence before erupting into thunderous applause, cheers, and shouts that cascaded like a tidal wave. Lev Aker spat out a mouthful of blood, pounding his chest while letting out a primal roar, reminiscent of a ferocious beast. Zhao Xian felt exhilarated, after deducting fees. Her bet of 500,000 had transformed into over 1,200,000. Zhou Yuqin nudged Zhao Xian, saying, "Sister Xian, they don't seem to be fighting for real." Zhao Xian nodded, replying, "Indeed, everyone knows." Zhou Yuqin was taken aback, incredulously asking, "If everyone knows, why do they still participate?" Zhao Xian smiled, "Because this is Yindu. A fatal incident absolutely cannot occur here." It turned out that the outcomes for these fighters were determined by a drawing, and aside from the two currently fighting, not even Zhong Lejun knew who would win. Thus, rather than betting on the fighter's prowess, it was more about wagering on the results of the draw. The fighter's task was to provide an exhilarating spectacle. The loser, having sustained injuries, would have their medical expenses covered by the venue and would also receive a handsome reward. Upon hearing Zhao Xian's explanation, Zhou Yuqin remarked with a smile, "I see." The subsequent 12 matches were equally vibrant, and setting aside the question of victory, the boxers' performances and the intensity of their clashes were indeed blood-pumping. However, in the presence of Zhou Yuqin, a master of martial arts, their efforts felt somewhat awkward. What could be resolved with a single blow was instead drawn out over 20 moves, an unbearable spectacle for anyone. As the hour-long boxing match concluded, Zhou Yuqin calculated that the total funds wagered reached approximately 1.5 billion. The venue took a 5% cut, amounting to over 75 million, a staggering daily profit. Just as the boxing event wrapped up and everyone prepared to leave, Huang Guoxin, seated in the front row, suddenly stood and shouted, "Wait a moment." Everyone halted and turned to him. Huang Guoxin glanced at Zhou Yuqin with an odd smile before striding to the ring. Zhong Lejun frowned slightly, expressing her displeasure. "Huang, what are you doing?" Huang Guoxin replied, "I'm here to entertain everyone." Zhong Lejun inquired, "What do you mean?" Huang Guoxin pointed at Zhou Yuqin and proclaimed, "Everyone. This man is Zhou Yuqin, the current husband of Shen Jingyun. You may have heard that I was particularly fond of Shen Jingyun. Even now, I have not completely forgotten her. Of course, I am not the kind of person who disrupts others' families, but I find him quite unsavory. Thus, I wish to challenge Mr. Zhou in this ring." "Mr. Zhou, I assume you are not a coward?" The crowd gasped at Huang Guoxin's words. Wow, Huang is quite the man. This is the true embodiment of masculinity. He won't disrupt your family, but he simply wants to fight. No issue with that. Huang has cornered Zhou Yuqin into a precarious position. Indeed, Huang Guoxin was well known in Yindu as a martial arts expert. Should Zhou Yuqin accept the challenge, he would inevitably face a beating, but if he declined, he might find it difficult to establish himself in Yindu thereafter. Chapter 389, Zhou Yuqin vs. Huang Guoxin. The onlookers transformed into spectators, their eyes fixed on Zhou Yuqin. Dai Xingli anxiously remarked, "Sure to, what should we do?" Shun Shiyin calmly replied, "This guy dares to challenge my brother-in-law. He is truly courting death." Dai Xingli was taken aback, saying, "Sure to, Huang is quite formidable. Having practiced Hungar and hard Qigong since childhood, he once defeated over 10 thugs single-handedly." Shun Shiyin retorted, "Even if he defeated 100 thugs, facing my brother-in-law, he is destined to lose." Dai Xingli was left astonished. Could Zhou Yuqin truly be that formidable? Zhao Xian, already aware of Zhou Yuqin's prowess from her father, quietly asked, "What do you think? Do you have confidence?" Zhou Yuqin replied, "With someone like Huang Guoxin, I can defeat 10 with one hand." Upon hearing this, Zhao Xian felt reassured. Zhong Lejun expressed her displeasure regarding Huang Guoxin's challenge, stating, "Huang, you are breaking our venue's rules." Huang Guoxin clasped his fists in respect to Zhong Lejun, saying, "Sister Zhun, regardless of the outcome, I will pay 50,000 as an expression of my apology." "Mr. Zhou, if you are a man, just give a straightforward answer. Hiding below is not the way of a turtle." Zhou Yuqin understood that Huang Guoxin sought to avenge their previous confrontation, making this fight unavoidable. Thus, Zhou Yuqin walked slowly to the ring, stopping 5 meters away from Huang Guoxin, calmly asking, "How do you wish to proceed?" Huang Guoxin extended a finger, saying, "Don't say I'm bullying you. Let us have a match. If you can last a minute without hitting the ground, I will give you 20 million. Conversely, if I knock you down within a minute, you owe me 20 million. I know your net worth is in the billions. 2 million should be trivial for you. Zhou Yuqin felt a flicker of annoyance and desired to teach him a lesson, shaking his head and stating, I do not agree. Huang Guoxin raised an eyebrow, disdainfully asking, Are you afraid? Zhou Yuqin replied, It's not fear. I simply do not enjoy gambling, but if it's for charity, I might be willing to make an exception. Huang Guoxin chuckled and remarked, Are you aspiring to be a hypocritical gentleman? Zhou Yuqin replied nonchalantly, A true gentleman concerns himself with actions, not intentions. If one can maintain the facade of a hypocritical gentleman throughout his life, then he is indeed a true gentleman. You just claimed that I am a billionaire. 20 million is far too trivial. If we are to play, let us play for something grand. Huang Guoxin's expression shifted. What scale are you proposing? Zhou Yuqin retrieved his wallet and produced a card from a commercial bank, stating, This card holds over 500 million. I consider it 500 million. If you can bring me down within a minute, it is yours. Conversely, if you fail, you shall donate 500 million to the Red Cross in my name, thus allowing this hypocritical gentleman to contribute to charity. The crowd erupted in astonishment. 500 million was no trifling sum in this era. Even a tycoon worth 50 billion would struggle to produce such liquidity. Impressive. Initially, it seemed that Huang Guoxin was the formidable one, but it turned out Zhou Yuqin was the true powerhouse. Huang Guoxin had now encountered an insurmountable challenge. The stakes of 500 million were minor compared to the weight of pride. Huang Guoxin found himself unable to retreat. The audience buzzed with speculation. Dai Xingli's eyes nearly bulged. Brother-in-law is playing too big. This will surely offend Huang Guoxin gravely. Shen Shiyan scoffed, whether or not this occurs. An offense has already been made, so what is there to fear? On stage, upon hearing Zhou Yuqin raise the wager to 500 million, Huang Guoxin's face paled. That figure was astronomical. Even liquidating all his assets might not suffice. Huang Guoxin seethed. Are you attempting to intimidate me into withdrawing from the duel with this 500 million? Zhou Yuqin smiled, indeed. If you lack the funds, let us forego the duel. I am a businessman, not someone any fool can challenge. With that, Zhou Yuqin turned to exit, showing no sign of hesitation. Wait, Huang Guoxin commanded sharply. This wager is mine. Zhong Lezhen interrupted. A child of fortune should not sulk. I must close soon. Let us conclude the matter of the duel here. Huang Guoxin insisted. No, if I leave now, others will think I fear him. Zhong Lezhen sighed. Huang, 500 million is substantial for anyone. Huang Guoxin coldly replied. I do not believe I will lose. Sister Jin, please prepare a contract to ensure no one disputes the outcome. Zhou Yuqin paused, casting a deep glance at Huang Guoxin. Huang, I have already given you your chance. Huang Guoxin retorted. I see you are afraid of a beating. Zhou Yuqin replied with a smile. Very well. Since you insist on performing charity in my name, I shall oblige. Sister Jin, please prepare the wager contract. I have no objections. Once both parties reached an agreement, Zhong Lezhen was reluctant to play the villain. 5 minutes later, a wager contract was freshly drafted. Zhong Lezhen read it aloud to ensure its accuracy. Zhou Yuqin and Huang Guoxin each affixed their signatures. Zhong Lezhen took on the role of referee. Victory or defeat will be determined in this 1 minute. Are both parties ready? Huang Guoxin took his stance. Eyes sharp as blades. I am ready. Zhou Yuqin stood calmly with his hands behind his back. I am equally prepared. The duel commenced. As Zhong Lezhen's voice faded, Huang Guoxin lunged forward like a tiger descending from the mountains, launching a ferocious assault with both hands and feet. Zhou Yuqin, wearing a faint smile, remained relaxed, employing only one arm and utilizing the principles of Tai Chi to deflect Huang Guoxin's strikes. Despite being a master of hidden strength, Huang Guoxin appeared as a mischievous child before Zhou Yuqin, who possessed both greater power and speed, rendering him utterly harmless. Moreover, Huang Guoxin needed to take Zhou Yuqin down within a minute. Even if he could shatter the air, how effective would that be if he could not land a hit on his opponent? Zhou Yuqin effortlessly blocked Huang Guoxin's attacks with a single hand, displaying remarkable skill. Huang Guoxin attacked relentlessly, while Zhou Yuqin merely defended, with time favoring Zhou. It seemed inevitable that Huang Guoxin would succumb in this duel. In the midst of the audience's chatter, Huang Guoxin unleashed a flurry of 8 kicks and 16 punches. Zhou Yuqin either evaded with agile footwork or neutralized the blows with Tai Chi, exuding an air of ease. With victory assured in under a minute, Zhou Yuqin had no desire to attack, treating the entire encounter as mere sport. Huang Guoxin soon recognized this, inhaling deeply and amplifying his movements. Yet Zhou Yuqin glided like a fish, evading Huang Guoxin's rapid strikes, each block sending tremors through Huang's iron-like arms, leaving them tinged with discomfort. Frustrated, Huang Guoxin realized he had been outsmarted, but with his arrow drawn, He had no choice but to release it. Gritting his teeth, he summoned all his strength for a relentless onslaught that cracked the solid wooden floor beneath him. Zhou Yuqin remained unperturbed, allowing Huang Guixin to unleash his fury. Ding ding ding. The bell rang, signaling the end of the minute. Huang Guixin, seemingly deaf to its toll, continued his frenzied assault on Zhou Yuqin. Zhou Yuqin, however, would not engage in a prolonged struggle. He deftly sidestepped and appeared behind Huang Guixin, then deftly avoided a kick from him and retreated 10 meters. Sister Zhen, have I won? Zhou Yuqin inquired with a smile. Zhonglizhen nodded. Indeed, you have triumphed. Huang, cease your attack, you have lost. Huang Guixin, snapping back to reality, gazed at Zhou Yuqin. You are skilled in martial arts? Zhou Yuqin replied. I have practiced Tai Chi and Xingyi for a few years. Huang Guixin queried. If you are a martial artist, why do you not dare to face me in a proper match? Zhou Yuqin chuckled. I am merely a businessman with some martial knowledge. According to our agreement, all I needed was to endure for a minute to claim victory. Why should I expend energy on a direct confrontation? Huang Guixin's face reddened with anger, gritting his teeth. Scoundrel. Zhou Yuqin gazed intently at him. Your arrogance is your downfall. Your Hongchuan is commendable, but it lacks the refinement to compete with true masters. You would struggle to withstand even 2 moves. Huang Guixin sneered. Though you have won the wager, it does not imply your skills surpass mine. You lack the right to critique me. Zhou Yuqin replied coolly. I merely see potential in your martial arts. Hence, I offered some advice. If you do not wish to hear it, so be it. Huang Guixin's expression darkened. Within 3 days, I shall procure 500 million for the Red Cross, even if I must sell my possessions. Zhou Yuqin smiled. With so many witnesses, I trust you shall not renege. Sister Zhen, please keep the wager agreement safe until Huang completes the payment. Kindly return it to him afterward. Zhonglizhen nodded. Understood. The matter concluded, Huang Guixin, who had lost 500 million, stormed away with his entourage. Zhao Xian patted Zhou Yuqin on the shoulder and remarked, Xiao Zhou, it seems reconciliation between you and him will be quite difficult. Zhou Yuqin chuckled and replied, Sister Xian, do you believe that with Huang Guixin's arrogance, even though I am the one who lost 500 million, he would still scrutinize me and perhaps even humiliate me harshly? Zhao Xian conceded, indeed. Regardless, you must exercise caution in the future. The Huang family is a prominent family, and they are unlikely to let this go easily. Zhou Yuqin inquired, Sister Xian, how do you think the Huang family will deal with me? Zhao Xian pondered for a moment before saying, you are currently a prized asset of the Yunhai city government. On the surface, the Huang family has no means to act against you, but behind the scenes, it is another story. Zhou Yuqin's gaming company, Yueqin, along with Kunping Group, contributes at least 2 to 3 billion in taxes to Yunhai city each year, making them significant taxpayers. More importantly, these 2 companies wield considerable influence globally. Should the Huang family dare to create trouble for Zhou Yuqin at the government level, unless it is reasonable and lawful, the Yunhai city government would handle it without him needing to intervene. It would be a foolish move to provoke a world-class enterprise, as it could escalate into an international incident, bringing disgrace not to the Huang family, but to the leaders of the Yunhai city government. Zhou Yuqin stated, when soldiers come, I shall meet them. When water rises, I shall build a dam. As long as there are no conflicts at the governmental level, I have no fear. After bidding farewell to Zhao Xian and Zhonglizhen, the 3 departed the club. Shun Shiyan, brimming with excitement, asked, brother-in-law, why did you donate that 500 million to the Red Cross? Zhou Yuqin did not respond directly, but countered with a question. Do you think this club will encounter issues in the future? Shun Shiyan contemplated briefly before replying. The possibility of trouble is low, but it is not impossible. Zhou Yuqin affirmed, exactly. If something were to go awry with the club, the police would inevitably learn of my significant gamble with Huang Guixin. Should I take that money? It would be like inviting disaster upon myself. Conversely, donating it to the Red Cross changes the narrative. The police would perceive my involvement in gambling as being coerced, and I would only face a reprimand at most. Shin Shiyan remarked, brother-in-law, you are being overly cautious. Zhou Yuqin smiled. Caution is the key to longevity. If I were to fall due to this mere 500 million, I would be utterly frustrated. Just 500 million? Dai Xingli felt somewhat speechless. For his family, 500 million represented 3 to 4 years of profit, while Zhou Yuqin seemed to regard it with indifference. Such disparities between individuals are truly incomparable. Upon reaching the entrance of the courtyard, Zhou Yuqin stepped out of the car and said, Li Go, it is quite late. Let us stay here for the night. Dai Xingli was taken aback and quickly nodded, saying, all right, thank you, brother-in-law. Being allowed to stay at home undoubtedly signified that Zhou Yuqin regarded him as one of his own, which filled Dai Xingli with joy. The 3 entered the courtyard, and Zhou Yuqin remarked, Shiyan, your sister and the children should be asleep. We can find a bedroom in the west wing to make do for the night. Shin Shiyan suggested, Let us go to the East Wing. The West Wing's bedrooms lack bedding. Zhou Yuqin agreed, and they proceeded to the East Wing. Dai Xingli glanced at his watch and announced, the European League Championship between Real Madrid and Juventus is about to start. Shen Shiyan's eyes lit up. I'll go fetch some seeds and fruit. Let us watch the game together. Zhou Yuqin replied, I have no interest in football. You two can enjoy it. Shen Shiyan exclaimed in surprise, really, brother-in-law? You don't even watch football? Zhou Yuqin replied nonchalantly, I will only watch when the Xia country football team qualifies for the World Cup. Compared to his previous life, the Xia country's football level had improved somewhat, consistently ranking between the 40th and 45th positions globally and 9th in Asia. As of now, the national football team had never qualified for the World Cup, disappointing countless fans. Chapter 391. The True Big Gamble. Zhou Yuqin, in the adjacent bedroom, observed the stock market trends of the lighthouse country, which mirrored that of the Soft Star Group. The most significant gains were seen in the technology sector, followed by real estate, although stocks in other industries were also rising. The majority lagged behind the market as a whole. Zhou Yuqin was nearly certain that the day Soft Star Group's stock plummeted would coincide with the outbreak of a financial crisis in the lighthouse country. While watching the game, Dai Xingli seized the commercial break to ask Shen Shiyan, sure to, is it truly inadvisable to invest in lighthouse country stocks? Shen Shiyan chuckled, what's wrong? Are you intimidated by what my brother-in-law said? Dai Xingli, with a woeful expression, replied, I have invested my entire fortune in the lighthouse country stock market. If I lose it all, I'll be finished. How could I not be afraid? Shen Shiyan pondered, and then said, let me share a secret with you. But you must not tell anyone, including your parents and sister. If you do, our brotherly bond will be severed. Dai Xingli straightened his face. All right. I swear I won't tell anyone. Shen Shiyan continued, recently, my brother-in-law personally went to the lighthouse country. He used $400 million with 5 times leverage to purchase shares in the Soft Star Group, and he probably has already profited $700 to $800 million. Dai Xingli gasped, wow, brother-in-law's moves are too bold. Shen Shiyan scoffed, this is just the beginning. Do you know what I've been doing for the past month? Dai Xingli rolled his eyes, stop teasing me and just say it. Shen Shiyan grinned and proudly declared, I helped my brother-in-law purchase nearly 100 properties in the 4 major first-tier cities, totaling over $130 billion, just 4 days after the purchase. The government issued a restriction order, and my brother-in-law's properties skyrocketed in value, roughly estimated to be worth about $180 billion. In yen capital, my brother-in-law has nearly 20 more properties. Dai Xingli was completely stunned, muttering, that's incredible. Now this is what I call a big move. Shen Shiyan felt a surge of pride and continued to bombard Dai Xingli with information. This is a big move? Huh, how amusing you are. Dai Xingli stared wide-eyed at Shen Shiyan, speechless with disbelief. My brother-in-law predicts that a stock disaster is highly likely in the lighthouse country, soon. We will take $20 billion and short the Nasdaq stock market. If successful, we could earn tens of billions, even over $100 billion. Dai Xingli was so shocked that he struggled to articulate his thoughts, his face reflecting utter incredulity. Shen Shiyan patted his shoulder and said with a smile, honestly, I was quite surprised when my brother-in-law advised you to sell your stocks yesterday afternoon. He seems easygoing, but is actually exceedingly proud and looks down on most people. Dai Xingli regained his composure and asked, sure to, should I hurry and sell my stocks? Shen Shiyan replied, not necessarily. My brother-in-law hasn't sold his Soft Star Group stocks yet. It would be wise for you to wait until he sells before you do. Dai Xingli questioned, but how will I know when he sells? Shen Shiyan thought for a moment, I will inform you after I go to the lighthouse country. But I must clarify, if you make a wrong move, it is not my responsibility. Dai Xingli quickly responded, of course. Sure to, my spoken English is quite good. When you go to the lighthouse country, could you take me along? Shen Shiyan replied, I can't decide. We need to ask my brother-in-law. Furthermore, I implore you to keep these matters confidential, particularly from my brother-in-law. This is an absolute secret, as I have no desire to incur his ire. Dai Xingli chuckled. When did you become so timid, sure to? Shen Shiyan sighed. I suffered a catastrophic loss in my investments. Over 300 million, all of which my brother-in-law covered. Consequently, I find myself in a position of working to repay him. Dai Xingli exclaimed in astonishment. A loss of over 300 million? I had no idea your ventures were so substantial. Shen Shiyan replied. The size of the investment is irrelevant if one cannot generate profit. Unfortunately, my foray into gold futures did not endure, resulting in a total collapse and a catastrophic loss. Meanwhile, my brother-in-law seized the opportunity to invest over $1 billion in gold futures and, within a week, found himself profiting immensely. The disparity between individuals is truly striking. Dai Xingli, struck by a thought, said, you must certainly need to purchase plane tickets in advance for your trip to the Land of Lights, correct? Shen Shiyan confirmed. That is indeed the case. What are you planning? Dai Xingli raised an eyebrow and playfully replied. If you share with me the precise dates of your journey to the Land of Lights, I shall arrive in Yunhai a few days early, knowing you are going there. I am simply seeking an invitation from my brother-in-law to accompany you. Is that not feasible? Shun Shiyan, taken aback, gave Dai Xingli a thumbs up, exclaiming, Li Go. You truly are exceptionally astute. Dai Xingli, brimming with pride, responded, I shall take your words as a compliment. By the time the match concluded, it was already past 3 in the morning. At 7 o'clock the next morning, Zhou Yuchen, seeing the two deeply asleep, refrained from waking them for breakfast. As they were to visit the Forbidden City with the little girl that day, Shun Jingyun had risen early to prepare her. After they had completed their morning routines, Zhou Yuchen entered with breakfast, timing it perfectly. Yang Lei had an event to attend and, after breakfast, departed in haste. At precisely 9 o'clock, the family of 3 entered the Palace Museum. Zhou Yuchen had assumed that little Yiya, being so young, would not be particularly interested in the artifacts. To his surprise, she was quite captivated by the stories behind the relics. As a result, Zhou Yuchen engaged a guide to provide a thorough explanation for the little girl. After spending the afternoon at the Forbidden City, they returned to the courtyard at 4 o'clock. Tidying up their belongings, Dai Xingli volunteered to drive them to the airport. On the way, Zhou Yuchen received a phone call from Shin Chenggang. Yuchen, when will you be returning? We are on our way to Yindu Airport and should be home around 10 o'clock, he replied. Is there something you need, Dad? Your uncle called me, sounding quite upset. He mentioned that you had a wager with Huang Guixin that amounted to 500 million. Zhou Yuchen felt a surge of indignation. Huang Guixin had the audacity to involve the elders. Thus, he recounted the entire sequence of events from the previous night. Upon hearing this, Shin Chenggang said, Yuchen, those affluent heirs in Yindu act without restraint, lacking even the most basic boundaries. You should avoid entangling yourself with them, as you are not like them. Engaging in such gambling, if it becomes a public scandal, could severely tarnish your reputation. Chapter 392. Shun Jingyun's fury. Zhou Yuchen smiled wryly. I merely wished to witness the underground fight scene last night, unaware that it would provoke Huang Guixin. Caught in a difficult position, I had no choice but to step into the ring with him. Rest assured, I will not attend such events again. They hold no appeal for me and could lead to unnecessary trouble. As long as you understand, his father replied. Dad, what does my uncle mean by this? Do not concern yourself with him. This situation was entirely instigated by Huang Guixin, and the loss of 500 million is solely his own doing. Will it affect you in any way? Though the Huang family is powerful, their influence does not extend to Yunhai, nor will it impact me. Your uncle's anger stems from the damage you've done to the relationship between the Dai and Huang families. Dad, does my uncle expect me to apologize? Leave that matter be. And be cautious on the road. After hanging up, Zhou Yuchen's expression darkened, his brows furrowing tightly. Although Shun Chenggang had not explicitly stated it, Zhou Yuchen was not oblivious. If Dai Xiaobiao had not instructed him to apologize, Shun Chenggang would not have needed to divert the conversation. In the face of adversity, instead of protecting his own kin, he expected them to extend apologies. Zhou Yuchen felt utterly disillusioned with the Dai family. As they were all in the same vehicle, Zhou Yuchen's conversation with Shun Chenggang was overheard. Dai Xingli remarked, Brother-in-law, this is my fault. I should not have brought you and Shi to the fight. Zhou Yuchen waved his hand dismissively, saying, Huang Guixin's trivial matters are hardly worth my concern. What troubles me is my uncle, as the head of the Dai family. He is far too lenient. No sooner had he finished speaking than Zhou Yuchen's phone rang again. The caller ID displayed an unfamiliar number. Hello, this is Zhou Yuchen. Who is this? This is Dai Xiaobiao. Uncle, greetings. I am not well. Why did you provoke the Huang family? Do you know the trouble you've caused me? Zhou Yuchen replied coolly, Uncle, let us clarify who provoked whom. If you are unclear, I suggest you investigate thoroughly. Moreover, even if I did provoke the Huang family, it is my father-in-law who has been troubled, not you. Is this how you choose to speak to me? Is there a problem with my demeanor? Or have I said something incorrect? The relationship between the Dai and Huang families was once quite amicable, and now it has been affected because of you. Shouldn't you take responsibility? What do you suggest I do? Immediately nullify that gambling agreement and apologize to the Huang family. Upon hearing this, Shin Jingyun's brows furrowed in anger. Zhou Yuchen felt a surge of fury as well, but in deference to his mother-in-law, he maintained a semblance of composure, stating, Uncle, if you've had too much to drink, perhaps you should rest. I'm en route to the airport and cannot continue this conversation. As for Huang Guixin, you might ask my cousin to handle it. He enjoys currying favor. With that, Zhou Yuchen abruptly ended the call, fearing he might succumb to the urge to chastise Dai Xiaobiao harshly. What nonsense! Shin Shiyan exclaimed angrily. This is utterly ridiculous. He is nothing but a pushover. Dai Xingli added, Uncle has become accustomed to being the nice guy, adept at downplaying significant issues while trivializing minor ones, yet the cost is often borne by his family. Shun Shiyan remarked, a poor leader leads to a poor following. It is no wonder the Dai family is struggling with such a figure at the helm. Dai Xiaobiao continued to call Zhou Yuqin several times, but Zhou Yuqin silenced his phone and ignored the calls. Undeterred, Dai Xiaobiao then called Shen Jingyun. She answered without hesitation. Jingyun, your husband has gone too far. Uncle, I overheard your conversation. If you are here to stir trouble on behalf of Huang Guixin, then there is no need to continue. What is your tone? I am doing my utmost to maintain control. Uncle, I hope you understand that throughout this incident, my husband has done nothing wrong. It is Huang Guixin who instigated trouble. His loss of 500 million is entirely self-inflicted. Do you understand the impact of offending the Huang family on our Dai family? Is it a personal impact for you? Dear uncle, have you ever contemplated the reasons behind the current predicament of the Dai family? When your family members are being bullied, rather than standing up for them, you compel them to apologize. What do you believe others will think of you? How will they perceive the Dai family? Please, allow me to finish my thoughts. My husband is a self-made billionaire. Even at the municipal government of Yanhai City, he would be personally received by a deputy minister. What is Huang Guixin? He merely earned some money through the backing of the Huang family. Asking my husband to apologize to him is sheer folly. Those who are incompetent often seek out trouble. After losing, they go crying to their parents. Huang Guixin is utterly disgraceful. If old Master Huang were to learn of this, he would surely break his legs. After listening to Shen Jingyun's outburst, Dai Xiaobiao fell silent for a moment, uttering not a word before abruptly hanging up the phone. Sitting in the passenger seat, Shen Shiyan was left speechless. Just yesterday, his sister had lambasted Dai Xingyang, and now she had gone even further, showing no regard for Dai Xiaobiao's authority and confronting him as well. Shen Shiyan felt as though he hardly recognized his sister anymore. Had marriage transformed her into such a formidable figure? Little Yeye remarked, Mom, you were quite frightening just now. Shen Jingyun gently tousled her hair, responding, They were bullying your father, which made me very angry. Did I scare you? Little Yeye shook her head and said, I wasn't scared. Mom, why do they bully Dad? Shen Jingyun replied, Because they are all bad people. Little Yeye raised her tiny fist and declared, I will help Dad fight the bad people. Zhou Yuqin smiled and said, Then you must eat well. When you grow up, you can protect Mommy and Daddy. Little Yeye nodded vigorously, affirming, I will eat well. Zhou Yuqin kissed her on the cheek, his eyes filled with affection as he looked at Shen Jingyun. The typically graceful and poised Shen Jingyun had fiercely confronted the Dai family twice, stirring deep emotions in Zhou Yuqin. With such a wife, what more could he desire? He gently took Shen Jingyun's hand and said, Your uncle must be furious with you. I suspect he is currently complaining to my mother about us. Shen Jingyun replied, But Mom certainly won't call us. Zhou Yuqin chuckled, I think you're right. If she were unaware of the situation, that would be one thing. But given Dai Wan's character, she would never support Dai Xiaobiao in reprimanding her daughter and son-in-law. In fact, she might even scold Dai Xiaobiao herself. Chapter 393. The conflict of the Zhou family. Zhou Yuqin's conjecture proved correct. After receiving Dai Xiaobiao's call, Dai Wan showed him no mercy. Yet her emotions were not as intense as Shen Jingyun's. She simply expressed her dissatisfaction in a somewhat veiled manner. My elder brother is becoming increasingly unreasonable. After hanging up, Dai Wan's expression was far from pleasant. Shen Xingang sighed and remarked, Compromise and tolerance are entirely different concepts. What my elder brother is doing will only lead to him losing face. Dai Wan inquired, Is the Huang family very powerful? Shen Xingang replied, Currently, yes. But in 5 years, they will find themselves in an embarrassing position of transition. However, my elder brother cannot afford to wait 5 years. He fears that the conflict between Yuqin and Huang Guixin will hinder his progress. Dai Wan stated, Progress? Given my elder brother's conduct over the years, I truly cannot see any possibility of advancement. Shen Xingang fell silent, realizing that Dai Wan, a professor in the Department of Literature, understood many matters more clearly than he did. Following the recent birthday banquet, the Shen family had definitively severed ties with the Dai family. At 9 o'clock that evening, a plane gently descended at Yanhai Airport, where their driver had long been awaiting their arrival. On the way home, Zhou Yuqin and his companions dined at a hotel before returning to Lijiang Garden. As night fell, Shen Jingyun decided not to send Shen Shiyan home, but instead welcomed him into their residence. The following morning, Shen Jingyun accompanied Shen Shiyan to his parents' home, while Zhou Yuqin took little Yeye to kindergarten. Once settled, Zhou Yuqin called his mother to inform her that he would be home for lunch, after which he headed to Yuechen Game Company. The development progress of the 3 games at Yuechen was exceedingly promising, far exceeding Zhou Yuqin's expectations. Honor of Kings was already 1/3 complete, while War Elite was approximately 1/5 finished. The rapid progress of the latter was primarily due to enlisting numerous external parties to handle tedious repetitive tasks. The game that would be ready for internal testing the soonest was Plants vs. Zombies, which would be ready in about a week. The PC version posed no issues. But the mobile version faced challenges primarily due to internet speed. If conditions proved unsuitable, Zhou Yuqin would have to wait for the advent of 4G networks before launching it. To maximize profits, Plants vs. Zombies adopted a free download with in-app purchases model. A single in-app purchase from the casual game Endless Match had already filled Zhou Yuqin's coffers. And with the anticipated success of Plants vs. Zombies, his annual earnings were poised to surpass 50 billion, provided that players in this world shared a fondness for the game. Upon returning home for lunch, Zhou Yuqin discovered that his father was absent, leaving only his mother, Su Xiaowan, sitting alone on the sofa watching television. Her expression far from cheerful, Zhou Yuqin immediately sensed that a quarrel had taken place between his parents. "Mom, who upset you? Tell me, and I'll send someone to deal with them." He sat beside Su Xiaowan, wrapping his arm around her shoulder and smiling. Su Xiaowan shot him a glare and said, "Your father upset me. You can deal with him." Zhou Yuqin replied, "Then never mind. I fear the heavens will strike me down." Su Xiaowan angrily stated, "I feel as though he is driving me to my wit's end." It turned out that his cousin Cheng Tao was getting married the day after tomorrow, and the Zhou family had come to visit today. Zhou Qingjiang had called Zhou Qingjian, inviting him and Su Xiaowan to lunch. Without a second thought, Su Xiaowan declined, which displeased Zhou Jianli. His displeasure ignited Su Xiaowan's grievances towards the Zhou family, leading her to initially present logical arguments before unleashing a torrent of insults upon Zhou Jianli. Zhou Jianli, red-faced and furious, found himself unable to retort. In a fit of rage, he smashed a cup and stormed off. After hearing the sequence of events, Zhou Yuqin chuckled, "Mom, there's no need to be angry. Dad can be quite foolishly filial, unable to discern the right from the wrong. Your decision not to obstruct him from seeing the Zhou family already demonstrates your magnanimity. How can he still expect to bring you along? It's simply absurd." Zhou Qingjian's inability to rise in rank stemmed not only from his steadfast integrity, but also from a significant flaw. He often lacked decisiveness, hesitating and being overly cautious. His suggestion for Su Xiaowan to join the Zhou family for a meal was merely for the sake of his own reputation. Yet, he failed to consider that if a confrontation ensued, not only would he lose face, but he would also find himself in an awkward position. Su Xiaowan declared fiercely, "I will never forgive the Zhou family for their actions. If your father aligns himself with them, I will divorce him." Zhou Yuqin replied, "And after the divorce? He will only find a girl in her 20s or 30s, one tea that just benefit him?" Zhou Yuqin smiled gently, then his expression turned serious as he stated, "Mom, I reiterate, I don't care how my father honors the old man, but I cannot reconcile with the Zhou family. My patience has reached its limit. I will change my surname to Su." Su Xiaowan gently patted his hand and said, "In 2 days, Taozi is getting married. You must maintain your composure when meeting the Zhou family. They may be despicable, but we cannot disrupt Taozi's wedding and bring shame upon your aunt and uncle." Zhou Yuqin replied, "Don't worry, Mom. I know how to handle it." Su Xiaowan said, "No more talk. Hurry to the kitchen and prepare a meal for me." "What?" Zhou Yuqin exclaimed in surprise. "Mom, you can't be serious?" Su Xiaowan shrugged and replied, "Who says you cook better than I do? Rest assured, I've done all the prep work. You just need to cook." Zhou Yuqin stood up and said, "All right, I will let you taste my culinary skills today." Su Xiaowan had only prepared a mackerel and a few stalks of celery. Instantly, Zhou Yuqin envisioned 2 quintessentially simple dishes, braised mackerel and stir-fried celery with meat. In just 15 minutes, 1 meat and 1 vegetable dish were served on the table. As Su Xiaowan ate, she praised her son's culinary skills profusely. Meanwhile, the Zhou family, having finished lunch at the hotel, arrived at Longxing Community to view the wedding residence. 82-year-old Zhou Xinyuan, with graying hair and a frail appearance, emerged from the car with the support of his eldest son, Zhou Qingjiang. He appeared to have some trouble with his legs, leaning on a cane. The urban landscape was indeed impressive. This community was far superior to those in the countryside. One could only assume it was quite expensive. Zhou Xinyuan surveyed the surroundings and turned to his daughter, Zhou Yaling, inquiring. Zhou Yaling nodded and replied, "It is certainly not cheap." Zhou Qingtian, noticing his sister's reluctance to disclose the price, raised an eyebrow and pressed, "Sister, how much is the price per square meter here? If it is reasonable, I intend to buy a unit for Yukoan as well." As the deputy director of the Education Bureau of Zhu County, Zhou Qingtian placed great importance on his appearance. Dressed in a sleek black coat with meticulously styled hair, he bore a resemblance to Zhou Qingjian, but with a significantly stronger presence. He believed that since his sister's family could afford a home here, he too should be capable. Zhou Yaling had no choice but to tell the truth. About 6,100 per square meter half a month ago, it seems to have risen considerably since then. 6,000? At the mention of this figure, the Zhou family was visibly shaken. Zhou Qingtian, incredulous, exclaimed, "Just at lunch. Tao said his apartment is over 160 square meters. Does that mean it costs nearly 10 million? Cheng Tao clarified, to be precise. It is 9,600,000. Zhou Qingtian asked, where did you acquire such funds? Cheng Tao smiled and replied, I know a wealthy businessman from whom I borrowed. This was a prearranged statement between Cheng Yanchu and Zhou Qingjian to prevent others from harboring ill thoughts. Zhou Qingtian scrutinized him and remarked, it seems you have encountered a benefactor. Cheng Yanchu, wishing to divert the conversation, suggested, let us continue upstairs to discuss. Upon reaching room 1201, the Zhou family was taken aback by the sight before them. The spacious and bright living room, adorned with exquisite decor and accompanied by high-end electrical appliances and furniture, exuded an air of grandeur. Zhou Qingjiang's wife, Lin Xiaomei, surveyed the surroundings, her enchanting eyes filled with envy, exclaiming, it is simply stunning. Look at this sofa. This coffee table. They must be international brands, costing a fortune. Cheng Yanchu shook his head, saying, not at all. This property is move-in ready, with all renovations handled by the developer, including furniture and appliances. Lin Xiaomei remarked, expensive houses are good. There's no need for personal effort. Zhou Qingtian's wife, Xing Fun, squinted her eyes and chirped, I must say, Taozi is quite capable. He bought a house without troubling his parents. Truly impressive. Lin Xiaomei added, however, while he has acquired a home worth over 10 million, the question remains, how will he manage the payments? Can you afford it, Taozi? The duo, Lin Xiaomei and Xing Fun, could undoubtedly be labeled as scheming rivals, both inclined to belittle others to elevate themselves. When Zhou Yuqin's grandmother fell ill years ago, she was sent to Zhou Qingjian's home, primarily due to their mutual reluctance to take her in. Though it was agreed they would take turns caring for her for 2 months, Zhou Qingjian found it impossible to let her go when he returned her home. Witnessing her tears, Su Xiaowan, unable to bear it, took her in herself. Ideally, both families should have contributed financially, yet not a single penny was given until her passing, and they were rarely seen, fearing Zhou Qingjian might send her back to them. Of course, neither of them had fared well. The grandmother had intended to sell a treasured ancestral bracelet to divide among her 3 daughters-in-law, but upon realizing their true character, she bequeathed it to Su Xiaowan instead, leaving Lin Xiaomei and Xing Fun in ignorance of this fact. Now, witnessing their once lesser sister-in-law's sudden rise, with her son becoming a civil servant in Yunhai City and residing in such a fine home, they felt a pang of envy, prompting their earlier remarks. Zhou Yaling, well aware of her sister-in-law's nature, silently scoffed and refrained from responding. Cheng Yanchu and Cheng Tao exchanged glances, choosing to ignore the comments. Zhou Qingjiang, who fancied himself the family's moral compass, noticed the silence and furrowed his brow, saying, Tao, I feel compelled to remind you, as a public servant, if you borrowed money from a business owner to purchase a luxury home, it could be construed as corruption should the disciplinary department investigate. That would pose significant trouble. Zhou Qingtian concurred, I was just about to mention this concern. Sister, 9 million is far beyond what Tao's salary could ever cover in a lifetime. You should proceed with caution in this matter. Zhou Yaling smiled confidently, there is no need for concern. We are well aware of what we are doing. The previously silent Zhou Qingjian interjected, Father, you all may continue viewing the property. I will head back. Wait a moment, Zhou Qingjiang said. I heard you resigned from your job and moved to Yunhai. Now that father is here, do you not intend to invite him to see your place? Lin Xiaomei immediately chimed in, indeed. Su Xiaowan is, after all, his daughter-in-law. It has been years since she last visited. Is it not rather inconsiderate? Zhou Qingjian had already prepared his response, saying, with our meager salaries, we cannot afford a house, let alone a mere toilet. Thankfully, Xiaoqing has succeeded, purchasing 2 units in the same community and bringing us here. At this point, Zhou Qingjian glanced at the old man, whose expression appeared somewhat tense, asking, Father, do you truly wish to visit Xiaoqing? Zhou Xinyan seemed hesitant to meet Zhou Qingjian's gaze, replying, I am tired. I shall not go. Zhou Qingtian remarked, Third brother. Has Xiaoqing become a wealthy businessman overnight? How could he buy 2 apartments at once? Zhou Qingjian replied nonchalantly, whether Xiaoqing is a wealthy businessman is irrelevant. What matters is that he has not broken any laws. The Yunhai Public Security Bureau has not only verified the facts, but also cleared his name, hiring him as a technical consultant. Zhou Qingjiang frowned and said, Third brother. The reason we expelled Yuqin from the family tree back then was that the Zhou family cannot harbor criminals. We cannot let one person's misdeeds tarnish the entire Zhou family. Zhou Qingjian scoffed, enough with the nonsense. We are well aware of the true reasons. Zhou Qingjiang's expression changed abruptly. What do you mean? A failure to catch a thief only results in greater loss. Zhou Qingjian replied calmly, Elder brother, have you ever pondered why you and second brother have not been promoted all these years? Surely, you must have figured it out by now. Zhou Qingjiang was rendered speechless. Zhou Qingjian suddenly seemed somewhat disinterested, waving his hand. Our gathering in Yunhai is primarily to attend Taozi's wedding. let us refrain from discussing the past. Otherwise, it will not reflect well on anyone. Upon hearing this, the atmosphere in the living room became exceedingly oppressive. Old Master Zhou opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but the words caught in his throat. I'm leaving, Zhou Qingjian announced, turning to exit. Third brother, let me see you off. Zhou Yaling hurriedly followed him. Chapter 395. The identity of Zhou Yuchen. The siblings reached the ground floor, and Zhou Yaling pursed her lips. Third brother. Father intends to reinstate Yuchen into the Zhou family tree. Zhou Qingjian chuckled bitterly. Do you think Xiaochen would agree? There is a saying, spilled water cannot be retrieved. The harm has been done. Xiaochen cannot coexist peacefully with the Zhou family. Zhou Yaling sighed. This child has been imprisoned for a year and drifted for 4 more. Suffering greatly. His character has transformed considerably. Zhou Qingjian nodded. Xiaochen is much more composed now, yet he is also more domineering. Sometimes, even I find myself intimidated by his anger. Zhou Yaling remarked. Perhaps that is the aura of a significant individual. Third brother. Did my sister-in-law mention anything when you visited today? Zhou Qingjian sighed. We had a quarrel. Zhou Yaling asked in surprise. Your wife disagreed with your visit? Zhou Qingjian replied. No, it was my wish to bring her along. The moment I spoke, she scolded me. Zhou Yaling was left speechless. Third brother. Let me advise you. Never harbor the illusion that my sister-in-law will get along harmoniously with father and elder and second brothers. As a mother myself, I am acutely aware of her animosity towards the Zhou family. If what happened to Xiaochen had befallen Xiao Tao, I would have fought them tooth and nail. Comparatively, my sister-in-law's restraint is already quite generous towards you. Zhou Qingjian said, I understand. Well then, I shall take my leave. You should return. Zhou Yaling grasped Zhou Qingjian's arm. Third brother, allow me to say one last thing. Unless you have my sister-in-law's or Xiaochen's permission, do not bring them home. Zhou Qingjian assured, rest assured. I am not foolish. An hour later, Zhou Qingjian returned home, and, with his eloquence, finally managed to appease Su Xiaowan. Su Xiaowan stated earnestly, Old Zhou, I hope you understand that my not opposing your filial piety towards the old man is already my greatest concession, as well as Xiaochen's. If you wish for our relationship with them to return to its former state, that is absolutely impossible. A bitter smile crept onto Zhou Qingjian's lips. I understand. Su Xiaowan scoffed. If you truly understood, you would not indulge in such daydreams. Do not blame me for not warning you. The one who harbors the deepest resentment is not me, but Xiaochen, who was stabbed in the back. All your efforts in this regard appear to him as nothing short of betrayal. No matter how egregious your actions, Xiaochen will not retaliate against you. But he will direct his animosity towards the rest of the Zhou family. Given his current identity and status, with a mere word, he could plunge your elder brother and second brother's families into the deepest abyss from which they could never rise. Zhou Qingjian's body trembled. Would Xiaochen truly do that? If you doubt me, you may test it. Su Xiaowan stood up. I will not engage in this conversation any further. I am going to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Tonight, Xiaochen and his family will be dining with us, and Xiaoqing, who has no classes these days, will also be coming. Zhou Qingjian regained his focus. I will join you. In the evening, after the Zhou family finished dinner, they returned to the hotel. Zhou Qingtian felt something was amiss regarding Cheng Tao's house. Over 9 million. Even if Cheng Tao knew some boss, no matter how much he had saved the man's life, it was unlikely the latter would lend him such a sum. What was even more suspicious was that he and elder brother Zhou Qingjiang had clearly articulated the severity of the issue, yet it only garnered Zhou Yaling's nonchalant response of, We are aware. What does we are aware imply? Essentially, it means they are not afraid of investigation. But why are they unafraid? Because they have sufficient reasons to manage the discipline inspection department. What could those reasons possibly be? Zhou Qingtian found himself puzzled. Old Zhou, what are you thinking about? I've called you several times, and you haven't responded. Xingfen nudged Zhou Qingtian, annoyance evident in her voice. Zhou Qingtian snapped back to reality and shared his doubts with Xingfen. Her mind was far more agile. Third brother mentioned that his son bought 2 apartments in the same community. What does that imply? Zhou Qingtian smacked his forehead. Right, it must be Zhou Yuchen. Since he can buy 2 apartments simultaneously, it indicates that he has struck it rich. Given the recent closeness between my sister and third brother, it is entirely possible that Zhou Yuchen lent Cheng Tao over 9 million. Xingfen added, Zhou Yuchen and Cheng Tao are cousins. A cousin lending money to another cousin to buy a house, with a promissory note in place, means he hasn't engaged in any improper dealings. So the relevant authorities cannot take action against Cheng Tao. Zhou Qingtian nodded. Our conjecture must be correct. Just then, there was a sudden, urgent knock at the door. Zhou Qingtian opened it to find elder brother Zhou Qingjiang and sister-in-law Lin Xiaomei standing outside. Elder brother, sister-in-law, what brings you here? He asked as they entered. Once inside, Zhou Qingjiang spoke solemnly. Do you know what Zhou Yuchen, third brother's son, does? Zhou Qingtian shook his head. No? Zhou Qingjiang elaborated. He is the president of Yuchin Gaming Company and Kunping Group, a billionaire tycoon. What? Both Zhou Qingtian and Xing Fan widened their eyes in disbelief. A billionaire? What does that even mean? Just the zeros alone amount to 10. In all of Xia country, there are only about 100 or so billionaires. The fact that Zhou Yuqin, a young man of merely 25 who once served time, possesses 100 billion is beyond their imagination. Zhou Qingtian took a deep breath and inquired, "Elder brother, how did you find out?" Zhou Qingjiang replied, "I just spoke with Xiao Ming on the phone. You know, Xiao Ming works in the mobile division of Xiaoguang Communications Group, which has business dealings with Kunping Group. Today, he inadvertently heard the chairman of Kunping Group mention Zhou Yuqin, and he searched online. Sure enough, the name of the president of Yuchin Gaming Company is indeed Zhou Yuqin." Zhou Qingtian concluded, "I see. Qing Tao's house must have been purchased with Zhou Yuqin's money." Xing Fan was invigorated. If he can help Qing Tao buy a house, he can certainly assist other siblings as well. Lin Xiaomei nodded, "Exactly. Stop daydreaming." Zhou Qingjiang furrowed his brow and remarked, when Zhou Yuqin faced his most challenging times, "We erased his name from the family tree. It seems rather unrealistic for you to expect benefits from him." Lin Xiaomei interjected, "If he refuses to show us and the old man respect, we can always turn to the third brother." Zhou Qingtian nodded in agreement, stating, "Indeed. The third brother is our key. With assets worth billions, a mere glimpse of Zhou Yuqin's wealth would suffice for our needs." Zhou Qingjiang contemplated for a moment and then said, "At Qing Tao's wedding, Zhou Yuqin will undoubtedly make an appearance. We should first gauge his attitude." Chapter 396. The Zhou family's plans. The following noon, the Zhou family convened once more to discuss the wedding arrangements. During the meeting, Zhou Qingjiang suddenly inquired, "Xiao Tao, I presume Xiao Chen will be attending your wedding tomorrow?" Qing Tao nodded, replying, "Cousin mentioned he would arrive at the hotel in the afternoon." Zhou Qingjiang remarked, "You must have borrowed the funds for this apartment from him, correct?" Zhou Qingtian and the others turned their gazes toward Qing Tao. Qing Tao's expression shifted. Realizing they must have uncovered Zhou Yuqin's true identity, there was no escaping it. The prominence of Yuchin Gaming Company and Kunping Group was so significant that anyone with a discerning eye would quickly discover that Zhou Yuqin was the president of both companies. Qing Tao had promised Zhou Yuqin to keep his borrowing a secret, thus he remained silent, which was tantamount to an admission. Xing Fan interjected, "Sister, you are mistaken. Xiao Chen's rise to wealth is a tremendous boon for our Zhou family. Why would you conceal this from us?" Acknowledging their awareness of Zhou Yuqin's identity, Zhou Yaling ceased her attempts at concealment, stating, "This is what Xiao Chen wishes." Xing Fan scoffed, "What? Is he afraid we might come to him for favors?" Zhou Yaling sighed. "Xiao Chen is no longer a member of the Zhou family. Why would he fear your advances?" Zhou Qingjiang frowned. "Is he still harboring resentment over the family tree incident from back then?" Zhou Yaling replied, "It is not merely resentment. It is a deep-seated hatred. If not for the sake of the third brother, who knows?" Zhou Qingjiang's pupils dilated. "Who knows what?" Zhou Yaling responded, "He might have already taken action against you." "He dares?" Zhou Qingjiang exclaimed in shock. The disbelief was palpable on everyone's faces, including the elder Zhou. Zhou Yaling sighed once more. "Some wounds run too deep to heal." The elder Zhou coldly stated, "I shall see what he dares to do to me. Qingjiang, call the third brother and arrange for him to discuss reinstating Zhou Yuqin in the family tree." Upon learning that Zhou Yuqin was a billionaire, the typically composed elder Zhou Zhinshan could no longer remain still. He intended to tether Zhou Yuqin back to the Zhou family vessel. "Very well," Zhou Qingjiang acquiesced, immediately dialing Zhou Qingjian, only to be declined under the pretext of picking up his granddaughter from school. Zhou Zhinshan paused. "Zhou Yuqin has a daughter? He is married?" Zhou Yaling nodded, saying, "Yes, they have a child who is nearly 4 years old." Zhou Zhinshan queried, "What does his partner's family do?" Zhou Yaling vaguely replied, "I only know her name is Shun Jingyun, the most beautiful girl I have ever seen, seemingly working in the tax department. Beyond that, I am not well informed." Zhou Zhinshan pondered for a moment and said, "Once the wedding concludes, let us pay a visit to the third brother's home." Lin Xiaomei concurred, "Indeed. I refuse to believe that Su Xiaowan and Zhou Yuqin would deny us entry." Zhou Yaling shot a glance at Lin Xiaomei, thinking to herself, "They truly dare." That afternoon, Zhou Qingjiang's son, Zhou Yuming, along with Zhou Qingtian's son Zhou Yuquin and daughter Zhou Shui, arrived in succession. All three were older than Zhou Yuqin, yet none were married, let alone had children. Zhou Zhinshan held a particular fondness for Zhou Yuming. Upon seeing this eldest grandson, a smile spread across his wrinkled face. Although Zhou Yuquin was somewhat wayward, he still garnered Zhou Zhinshan's attention. However, when Zhou Shui arrived, she merely greeted the elders and then retreated to a corner, saying nothing. The Zhou family held a clear preference for sons over daughters, and Zhou Shui had grown accustomed to it. During dinner that evening, Zhou Shui listened as they discussed Zhou Yuqin, astonishment flashing in her eyes. Her cousin, the top scorer of the college entrance examination, had become a billionaire? Was it true? She discreetly pulled out her phone, searching for news about Yuechen Gaming Company and Kunpeng Group, discovering that her frequently played game, Leisure Match, was indeed produced by her cousin's company, and that Kunpeng's mobile batteries and chargers monopolized the market worldwide. How impressive! Zhou Shui could not help but admire Zhou Yuchen profoundly. After dinner, everyone returned to the hotel. Xingfen entered Zhou Shui's room, asking, Xiao Shui, do you have 50,000 yuan? Without even hearing the reason, Zhou Shui replied bluntly no. Ever since Zhou Shui began working at the Longping City Power Supply Company, Xingfen had persistently approached her for money at regular intervals. Sometimes asking for 20 to 30,000 yuan, other times 5 to 6,000, which had become a source of annoyance for Zhou Shui. She was acutely aware that Xingfen sought money merely to support her useless brother's indulgences. Thus, she had not given Xingfen a single penny in over 6 months, and the mother-daughter relationship was strained, to say the least. Xingfen's expression fell. The monthly salary at the City Power Company can reach 10,000. You, as the head of the marketing department, surely earn at least 15,000. How could you possibly not have 50,000? Zhou Shui replied coolly. I have already paid off my loans. What loans? Xingfen paused, astonished. Zhou Shui explained, I purchased an apartment in Longping City, and I need to pay about 7,000 a month in mortgage. Xingfen scolded, what on earth are you doing buying a house? Are you insane? Zhou Shui shot her a glance, coldly stating, of course, I want to spend all my money so you won't have anything to covet. Are you trying to drive me to my grave? Xingfen's face paled. Zhou Shui harbored a profound resentment towards her parents' gender bias, laughing as she said, Zhou Yukuan, that good-for-nothing, has done countless disgraceful things and hasn't killed you yet. How could I possibly achieve that? You overestimate me. As the head of the marketing department, Zhou Shui's eloquence and quick wit were undoubtedly top-notch. Though Xingfen was a shrew, she was no match for her daughter's verbal sparring. What has become of you? Xingfen feigned a heartbroken expression. Zhou Shui questioned, Mom, please answer me one question. In what way are boys superior to girls? Why do you treat Zhou Yukuan and me so differently? Xingfen retorted, the reason is simple. Boys carry on the family line, while girls ultimately marry off. Zhou Shui felt an overwhelming sorrow in her heart, saying, being born into a family like yours is truly unfortunate. Xingfen insisted, Xiao Shui, you have always been the most obedient. With the housing market soaring, sell your apartment, and give your brother 200,000 for a car. After all, when you marry, the other side will prepare a house. Zhou Shui, infuriated to the point of laughter, replied, by Zhou Yukuan a car? Aren't you afraid he might get killed in an accident? What did you say? Slap. Xingfen raised her hand and slapped Zhou Shui across the face. The slap was delivered in anger, leaving 5 vivid red marks on Zhou Shui's delicate face. She spat a mouthful of blood onto the floor, her gaze towards Xingfen becoming as frigid as ice. Startled, Xingfen took a step back and asked, what do you intend to do? Zhou Shui, a formidable woman, did not shed a single tear after being struck. Listen carefully, mother, this is the last slap I will endure because of that useless Zhou Yukuan. Should there be a next time, do not blame me for severing ties. What, do you still wish to hit me? Indeed, I shall not strike you. But I will have someone punish Zhou Yukuan. For every slap I receive, he will lose a finger, if I endure 10 slaps. I assure you that you will never see him again. Xingfen could hardly believe her ears and pointed an accusatory finger at Zhou Shui, exclaiming, have you lost your mind? He is your own brother. Zhou Shui picked up her backpack and calmly replied, I must say, your and father's education has been a resounding failure. From the moment you both beat me over a decade ago for his sake, I wished nothing more than to see him suffer. The person who longs for his demise the most in this world is none other than his own sister. Mrs. Xing, do you understand? Xingfen was utterly stunned, never having imagined her daughter would utter such words. Zhou Shui reached the door of the room, paused, and turned back to say, since I began working, you and father have taken a total of 226,300 yuan from me. I have kept records of every transfer. Do you know why I gave it to you? Because I wish to repay your nurturing. From now on, I shall not return home, but I will remit 2,000 yuan to your bank account monthly, as the law mandates. If you choose to sue me, do not blame me for lacking compassion. With that, Zhou Shui opened the door and walked out. Xingfen stood frozen for a moment before suddenly rushing out, shouting, Xiao Shui, come back. Hearing the commotion, Zhou Qingjiang and Zhou Qingtian opened their doors. They saw Xingfen sprinting towards the elevator on the right side of the corridor. Zhou Qingjiang asked, Qingtian, what is happening? I don't know, Zhou Qingtian replied, shaking his head in confusion. However, he was acutely aware that the two women had likely quarreled over the issue of 50,000 yuan. As Xingfen exited the hotel, she spotted Zhou Shui slipping into a taxi. Don't leave, she called out while running. Unfortunately, the taxi sped away, ignoring her pleas. Watching the vehicle disappear, Xingfen suddenly felt as if she had lost the most vital thing in her life. Returning to the hotel room in a daze, Zhou Qingtian inquired, "What is going on?" Xingfen recounted the events in detail. After listening, Zhou Qingtian sank into a chair, exclaiming, "This cannot be. How could Xiao Shui say such things?" Xingfen murmured, "Have we gone too far?" Zhou Qingtian opened his mouth, but could not find the words. After a moment, he picked up his phone and dialed Zhou Shui's number. He called 3 times, but she did not answer. Instead, she sent back a single text, "Do not contact me. I will not give you a single cent." Zhou Qingtian quickly replied, "Xiao Shui, your parents were wrong. Please come back." Regrettably, after waiting for a long while, there was still no response from Zhou Shui. Zhou Qingtian and Xingfen exchanged glances, uncertain of what to do. They were unaware that Zhou Shui had taken a taxi to Cheng Tao's home. "Cousin, what brings you here so late?" Cheng Tao exclaimed in surprise as he opened the door to find Zhou Shui. Zhou Shui presented a red envelope with a smile, saying, "Taozi, I have an urgent matter to attend to and will not be able to attend your wedding tomorrow. This is a gift from your cousin. I wish you and Yi a lifetime of happiness." Cheng Tao did not take the envelope, but rather scrutinized Zhou Shui's face, anger flaring within him. "Cousin, who struck you?" Hearing the commotion, Cheng Yinshu and Zhou Yaling emerged from their bedroom. "Taozi, what are you doing? Quickly, let your cousin in." Upon hearing her mother's words, Cheng Tao rushed to grab Zhou Shui, insisting, "Cousin, you must clarify what happened, otherwise, I won't let you leave." With no other choice, Zhou Shui stepped inside. Zhou Yaling poured her a cup of warm water and gazed at the marks on her face, asking, "Your mother did this, didn't she?" Zhou Shui was taken aback, replying, "Aunt, how did you know?" Zhou Yaling explained, "The delicate 5-fingered imprint clearly indicates a woman's hand. Why did she strike you?" After a moment of silence, Zhou Shui replied, "She demanded 50,000 yuan from me to buy a car for Zhou Yukuan, and when I refused, we argued." Zhou Yaling sighed, saying, "Your grandfather favored males over females. Had it not been for your grandmother's support, I cannot imagine where I would be now. Your father is just like your grandfather, but your mother is not like your grandmother. Xiao Shui, are you planning to return to Longping?" Zhou Shui nodded. "I have severed ties with my mother and will no longer tolerate their bullying." Zhou Yaling raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Zhou Shui smiled. "We will live our separate lives. I will reside in Longping, while they will stay in Leshan. As their daughter, I will send them 2,000 yuan monthly for living expenses, but we will have no further interactions." Zhou Yaling was taken aback. "You want to return home?" Zhou Shui replied, "That home belongs to Zhou Yukuan, not to me. Every time I return, I feel an overwhelming sense of oppression. Now that I am capable of living a good life, I will no longer make endless sacrifices for a home that does not belong to me. Aunt, I must take my leave. Goodbye." Zhou Yaling asked, "Where will you go at this hour?" Zhou Shui responded, "I will find a hotel and catch a train back in the morning." "Xiao Shui, stay here," Zhou Yaling urged. Zhou Shui shook her head and stood up, saying, "Aunt, if you still regard me as family, please do not tell them I was here and do not insist that I stay overnight. You will be busy with the wedding tomorrow, so you should rest early. I must go." With that, Zhou Shui turned and walked out. By the time Cheng Tao changed his shoes and rushed outside, Zhou Shui had already taken the elevator down. Zhou Yaling slammed her hand on the coffee table, fuming. "What a tragedy." Cheng Yinshu, who had remained silent, remarked. When Xiao Shui spoke of these matters, her expression was eerily calm, indicating her complete despair over her second brother and sister-in-law. They have forced away such a promising daughter, and they will surely regret it in the future. Chapter 398. The wedding banquet begins. Zhou Yaling noted, "The third generation of the Zhou family includes 3 sons and 2 daughters. Now, with Xiao Chun, Xiao Qing, and Xiao Shui having severed ties with the family, only Zhou Yuming and Zhou Yukuan remain." Cheng Tao scoffed, "Let us forget about Zhou Yukuan. He is useless, always the first to cause trouble." Zhou Yuming was in Pengcheng, 1,000 miles from home, and merely a regular employee. After 20 years of hard work, it was uncertain if he could even afford a house. If something were to happen, he might not even have the capacity to help. Cheng Yinshu sighed. "This is their own choice. It has nothing to do with us. Our task now is to get some sleep and prepare for the wedding tomorrow." At 6 o'clock the next morning, 8 BMWs escorted a Rolls-Royce as they made their way to Du Yi's home. The Du family did not make things difficult for Cheng Tao. They merely played a few games, requested some red envelopes, and allowed him to take Du Yi away. At 7 o'clock in the evening, Zhou Yuqin drove Su Xiuwan, Xin Jingyun, Zhou Qing, and Xiao Yeye to the Marriott Hotel. Cheng Tao and Du Yi promptly greeted them with warm smiles. Su Xiuwan surveyed the bride, who was adorned in a striking red coat, and remarked, "You look absolutely stunning today." Du Yi responded, "Auntie, in front of Sister Jingyun, I dare not claim such beauty." Su Xiuwan shook her head and said, "Though Jingyun is my daughter-in-law, I must assert that tonight, you are the most beautiful one here. Jingyun, don't you agree?" Xin Jingyun smiled and replied, "Of course. This is a small token from me and your cousin. Please accept it. Du was taken aback and turned to Cheng Tao. Cheng Tao declined, saying, Sister-in-law, cousin, you have already helped us immensely. We truly cannot accept this red envelope. Shen Jingyun grasped Dui's hand and insisted. I have already mentioned that this is a gift for you, unrelated to Taozi. Su Xiaowan also produced a red envelope and pressed it into Dui's hands, saying, and this is from me. Zhou Qing shrugged her shoulders and said, cousin, sister-in-law, I am currently in college and quite broke. When you have children, I promise to give you a substantial red envelope to make up for this. Xiaoqing, do not be modest, Zhou Yuqin interjected, waving his hand as he noticed that the couple seemed poised to refuse again. Taozi, allow Yi to accept it. It would be quite inappropriate for us to pass red envelopes back and forth at such an occasion, with no alternative. Cheng Tao and Du Yi thanked them and accepted the envelopes. Since the Cheng family had few friends in Yunhai, this wedding banquet was co-hosted by both families, each welcoming their own relatives and friends. Du Jingyuan personally escorted an important leader to the hotel suite and, upon exiting, spotted Zhou Yuqin's family and immediately approached them with Zhang Yuran. Zhou Yuqin shook Du Jingyuan's hand and said, Uncle Du, Aunt Zhang, congratulations. From now on, we are family. Du Jingyuan chuckled, since we are family, we must keep in touch more often. Zhou Yuqin replied, that is essential. After some pleasantries, Cheng Tao arranged for Zhou Yuqin's family to sit at table 12 in the hall, surrounded by younger relatives of the Cheng family. Du Jingyuan, puzzled, inquired, Taozi, what is going on? Why is your cousin's family not sitting at the Zhou family's table? Cheng Tao, with a troubled expression, replied, this is a rather complicated matter. I will explain it to you later. Du Jingyuan exchanged surprised glances with Zhang Yuran, sensing that something was amiss. In the Zhou family suite, besides their large gathering, there were also family members of Zhang Yuran present. Since it was their first meeting, the conversation flowed effortlessly as they shared similar backgrounds from a small county. Cheng Tao's arrangement appeared quite prudent. Zhang Yuran's parents had passed away early, leaving her elder brother, Zhang Ku, as the head of the Zhang family. Zhang Ku chuckled. Uncle Zhou, you have truly managed your family well. You have raised an extraordinary individual. Although Zhou Jinshan was aging, he was not oblivious and understood that Zhang Ku was referring to Zhou Yuqin. A hint of embarrassment crossed his face as he mumbled, you flatter me. Zhang Ku insisted. This is no flattery. My sister has sung praises of Mr. Zhou Yuqin over the phone. At just 25, he started from scratch to establish Yueqin Game Company and Kuanping Group. I looked it up online, and astonishingly, the net profit of Kuanping Group alone exceeds 100 billion annually. It's simply staggering. By the way, is Mr. Zhou not here today? Zhou Jinshan found himself at a loss for words. Zhou Qingjiang was the quickest to respond, pointing to Zhou Qingjian and saying, Brother Zhang, the Zhou Yuqin you speak of is my third brother's son. Is that so? Zhang Ku exclaimed, giving Zhou Qingjian a thumbs up. Brother Zhou, how did you educate your child? He is simply remarkable. Zhou Qingjian felt a swell of pride, but remained humble in speech. We haven't done much. Primarily, this child is quite ambitious. He has never caused us concern. Zhang Ku remarked, indeed, those who achieve great things possess extraordinary qualities. Is he not here today? Zhou Qingjian, feeling pressured, replied. He is downstairs in the hall. My granddaughter loves lively events and wanted to see the wedding banquet. So he had Cheng Tao arrange for their family of 3 to stay below. Lin Xiaomei, who always enjoyed the lively atmosphere, suggested, third brother, why not call Yuqin up? It would be nice for everyone to meet him. At these words, Zhou Jinshan, Zhou Qingjiang, and Zhou Qingtian exchanged alarmed glances. Zhou Qingjian felt a surge of anger. Lin Xiaomei was being utterly unreasonable. Brother Zhang, to be honest, I hold the least authority at home. No one listens to me. And this troublesome boy is even less likely to heed my words. Zhou Yuquan, with his bleached hair and carefree demeanor, stood up and said, third uncle, is it just about calling cousin up? I'll go. Zhou Jinshan attempted to intervene, but with everyone watching, he found it difficult to voice his objections. Zhou Yuming, ever the sensible one, stood and said, Yuquan, wait for me. I will go with you. Seeing Zhou Yuming follow, Zhou Jinshan felt a sense of relief. Once outside the suite, Zhou Yuming caught up with Zhou Yuquan and pushed him into a secluded corner, saying, what are you doing? Don't you know how Zhou Yuqin feels about Grandpa and the others? Zhou Yuquan, unfazed, replied, that was 5 or 6 years ago. Zhou Yuqin is merely concerned about appearances. If I talk to him, he will definitely come. Chapter 399. Zhou Yuquan's bold maneuver. Zhou Yuming could hardly believe his ears. Incredulity etched on his face as he said, Kuner, such a significant matter, and you treat it so lightly. I am truly astonished by you. Zhou Yuquan, growing impatient, retorted, stop wasting time. Are you going or not? Zhou Yuming replied, I will go. It has been years since I last saw this cousin, and I am genuinely curious to see how he has changed. The two made their way to the hall, which was filled with 26 tables. Over a dozen children played on stage amidst a cacophony of loud music, creating a lively, chaotic atmosphere. Wow, Minggu, look at that stunning beauty, Zhou Yuquan exclaimed, pointing at a woman whose beauty was ethereal. Zhou Yuming followed his gaze, immediately captivated. In Pingcheng, a bustling first-tier city, it was not uncommon to see beautiful women. But the exquisite combination of looks, grace, and figure displayed by the woman before them was a rare find. Beside her sat another young, attractive woman. But she lacked the charm and presence of the first. Hey, why does that girl seem somewhat familiar? Zhou Yuming wondered aloud. Zhou Yuquan cast him a sidelong glance, dismissively saying, your flirting techniques are outdated by at least 20 years, let alone now. Just then, a middle-aged woman in her 40s, still possessing a certain allure, approached and sat beside the stunning beauty. Zhou Yuming instantly understood, exclaiming, that is my third aunt. No wonder she looks familiar. That young beauty is Zhou Qing. In the past, during the Spring Festival, the younger generation of the Zhou family would gather together. However, after the incident involving Zhou Yuchen, Zhou Qing had not returned to the old patriarch's home since. As the saying goes, a woman changes greatly by the age of 18. Zhou Yuming and Zhou Yuquan had not seen her for over 5 years and naturally failed to recognize her. Zhou Yuquan, filled with suspicion, exclaimed, could that stunning beauty be Zhou Yuchen's wife? Goodness, this fellow is truly fortunate. Zhou Yuming took a deep breath and said, regardless, let us go greet her. The two approached Su Xiaowan from behind and chorused, Auntie. Upon hearing this, Su Xiaowan turned to face them, saying, Yuming, Yuquan, what brings you here? Although one was the son of Zhou Qingjiang and the other of Zhou Qingtian, the events of the past had no bearing on them. So Su Xiaowan treated the brothers with courtesy. Zhou Yuquan remarked, Auntie, this must be Zhou Qing, right? It's been years, we hardly recognized her. Zhou Qing shot him a glance and retorted, could you possibly shave off that hideous yellow hair of yours? It's utterly repulsive. Zhou Yuquan replied, Zhou Qing, I am still your cousin, and your words are quite disrespectful. Zhou Qing shot back, cut the nonsense, what are you here for? Without a moment's hesitation, Zhou Yuquan proclaimed, to invite you to the private room upstairs. Zhou Qing shot back, in your dreams. Su Xiaowan interjected, Xiao Qing, do not speak like that. Yuming, Yuquan, you should return. We certainly will not be joining you. Zhou Yuming sighed inwardly and remarked, Auntie, are you still holding on to grievances from the past? Su Xiaowan waved her hand dismissively and said, today is Taozi's wedding banquet. Let bygones be bygones. We chose the main hall to avoid conflict with your parents, to prevent any unpleasantness from disturbing the celebration. You two should leave. Find your own reasons. Seeing Su Xiaowan's resoluteness, Zhou Yuming attempted a diplomatic diversion, focusing his attention on Shun Jingyun. Auntie, this must be your sister-in-law, right? Shun Jingyun nodded at the two, saying, hello. Zhou Yuquan whistled and commented, sister-in-law, to be frank, you are the most stunning beauty I have ever seen, far superior to those girls in the dance halls. Zhou Yuming inwardly cursed him. Not only had he whistled like a rogue, but he had also insultingly compared Shun Jingyun to those dance hall girls. As expected, Shun Jingyun nearly slapped him in response to Zhou Yuquan's words. Su Xiaowan, incensed, splashed her tea at him, reprimanding, get out. Zhou Yuquan reacted swiftly, stepping back, but alas, he was a moment too late, and the tea drenched his clothes. Annie, what was that for? He exclaimed, flustered and angry. He had been out in the world for too long, failing to realize the impropriety of his words. Zhou Qing, fuming, said, you dared to speak like that about my sister-in-law. Not hitting you was already quite courteous. Zhou Yuming quickly interjected, Annie, Xiao Qing, please do not be angry. Sister-in-law? I sincerely apologize. Yuquan meant no disrespect. He is simply accustomed to the rougher ways of the street, speaking in such a crude manner. A voice from behind Zhou Yuming chimed in, indeed, that is precisely what I meant. Zhou Yuming turned to see a younger man, slightly younger than himself, holding a beautifully crafted little girl in his arms. The young man's gaze was sharp, and he exuded a powerful aura, standing there like an indomitable ancient mountain. In this world, there are always individuals who stand out from the crowd. Regardless of their surroundings, they can be spotted at a glance. Shun Jingyun was one, and this young man was another. The distinction lay in the former's beauty and the latter's commanding presence. Darling, come to mommy, Shun Jingyun said, standing to take the child from Zhou Yuchen and softly adding, the ceremony is about to commence. Zhou Yuchen understood Shun Jingyun's intent to avoid any trouble and replied, I am well aware. Zhou Yuming said, cousin, I have been expelled from the Zhou family tree, so we are no longer relatives. Thus, it would be best if we ceased addressing each other as cousins. Zhou Yuchen promptly interrupted him and turned to Zhou Yuquan, stating, the reason they expelled me from the family tree was that they claimed I was a person who had been incarcerated, which would tarnish the Zhou family's reputation. At 27, your attire and demeanor scream of a petty criminal, especially in this setting. You only serve to disgrace the Zhou name. You better be cautious, lest they also expel you from the family tree. Zhou Yuquan retorted, this is fashion, do you not understand? They merely expelled you from the family tree. It did not inflict any substantial harm. That was 5 years ago. Clinging to it serves no purpose. You boast of being a billionaire, yet with such narrow-mindedness. Your business will surely falter. Chapter 400, Scolding the Zhou Family. Zhou Yuqin coldly responded, do not advise others on virtue without having experienced their suffering. The success of my business is inconsequential, at the very least. It surpasses those who squander money without knowing how to earn it. Some individuals are nothing but burdens to their parents and siblings, utterly oblivious to their own worth, believing they are trendy. Such people are merely a waste of resources. Zhou Yuqin had learned from Su Xiaowan about Zhou Shui's estrangement from the family. He held Zhou Yuquan, this so-called cousin, in utter disdain. This fellow resembled the comedic characters from television dramas, utterly revolting. It was hard to fathom the depth of resentment Zhou Shui must have harbored to make such a decisive break. Now, this worthless individual brazenly spewed nonsense before him. It was laughably absurd. Zhou Yuquan was about to unleash a torrent of insults when Zhou Yuming quickly restrained him, saying, let us leave. Yuchen, I understand the events of the past. What my grandfather, father, and uncle did was indeed excessive. However, we are family, sharing the same bloodline. A fact that cannot be altered. Zhou Yuqin nodded, responding, you are correct. I still bear the Zhou surname, yet I shall never engage with them again. Nor shall they expect any benefits from me. Zhou Yuming asked, what about Uncle San? Do you not consider him? Zhou Yuqin calmly replied, my father is easily swayed, unable to distinguish right from wrong. Rest assured, I will clarify matters with him. As for you, focus on persuading your parents. Do not entertain unrealistic fantasies. Zhou Yuming's face flushed with rage as he retorted, do not think that because you have become wealthy, others will seek to take advantage of you. Zhou Yuqin scoffed. Have your parents not benefited enough? Yuming, when grandmother lay bedridden for 5 or 6 years, it was my mother who cared for her. Ask your parents how many days they looked after her. Did they ever contribute a single cent to my parents? If one chooses to be a harlot, they should not erect a memorial arch. Speaking of it only brings shame. Shun Jingyun smacked Zhou Yuqin, expressing her displeasure. Do not speak such nonsense in front of Zaiyu. Zhou Yuqin offered an apologetic smile to Shun Jingyun and turned to the furious Zhou Yuming, saying, I have no desire to argue with you. I hope you refrain from bothering me. The best way for us to coexist is to keep our distance, remaining as strangers. Zhou Yuming felt his pride shattered. Leaving in a huff, Zhou Yuquan venomously declared, we shall see. As he watched the two depart, Zhou Yuqin suddenly broke into laughter. Zhou Qing asked, brother, what are you laughing at? Zhou Yuqin remarked, I find it amusing that the Zhou family seems to decline with each generation. Zhou Qing responded, I believe Zhou Yuming is quite commendable. Zhou Yuqin shook his head and said, Zhou Yuming possesses an upright demeanor and speaks and acts with precision. He is a man of great integrity, yet his thoughts lack agility. Such individuals are best suited for labor, not for positions of authority. And I foresee no significant achievements in his future. After pondering this, Zhou Qing concurred, brother, do those of you in high positions particularly enjoy assessing others? Zhou Yuqin chuckled. The paramount duty of an exemplary leader is to place the most suitable individuals in the most appropriate roles. Thus, evaluating others becomes an indispensable aspect of our education. This holds true in both business and governance. Zhou Qing mused, that does seem quite reasonable. Zhou Yuqin continued, when you graduate and ascend to a leadership role, you will come to appreciate the significance of discernment. Suddenly, the sound of firecrackers erupted outside, signaling the commencement of the wedding ceremony for the bride and groom. Zhou Yuming and Zhou Yuquan returned upstairs, their faces clouded with discontent. The former's parents had been ridiculed, while the latter had been insulted as worthless, making it understandable that their spirits were low. Zhou Yuming said, Yuquan, once we enter the room, we will assert that Zhou Yuqin is unwilling to come up as he wishes to keep his distance from us. Zhou Yuquan raised an eyebrow and asked why. Zhou Yuming replied testily, it is, of course, to preserve the Zhou family's reputation. In any case, you must not speak. Let me handle everything. Zhou Yuquan acquiesced, very well. However, as soon as they entered, Zhou Yuquan, with his loose tongue, blurted out, Grandfather, Zhou Yuqin refuses to come up, saying he wishes to keep our lives separate and be strangers henceforth. Zhou Yuming felt an immense surge of anger within him. How could he be so utterly foolish? Zhou Zhinshan's face darkened to the point where it seemed ready to drip with disdain. What utter humiliation! The Zhang family exchanged bewildered glances, their expressions revealing astonishment at the apparent rift between Zhou Yuqin and the Zhou family. But that was not all. Zhou Yuquan pointed to his attire and complained, Third uncle. Third aunt splashed tea all over me. This outfit cost over 2,000. You must compensate me. Zhou Qingtian scolded, be quiet. Zhou Yuquan persisted. I have not finished speaking. Zhou Yuqin is still brooding over past grievances, unable to forget them for a lifetime. He even mocked uncle and aunt, suggesting that since they have behaved disgracefully, they should not expect to save face. Zhou Qingtian slammed the table, exclaiming, did he truly say that? Zhou Yuquan affirmed, indeed. Zhou Yuqin mentioned that during grandmother's severe illness, lying in bed for 5 or 6 years, it was third aunt who took care of her, while you contributed neither effort nor finances, a disgraceful display of shamelessness. Zhou Qingtian's face turned a deep shade of anger. Third brother, is this the exemplary son you have raised? He is nothing more than a poorly brought-up wretch. Zhou Qingshan, already harboring profound dissatisfaction with Zhou Qingtian, was instantly enraged upon hearing his son insulted. He rose abruptly, declaring, what makes you think my son is uncouth? Which of his statements is incorrect? Back then, in your pursuit of promotion, you expelled him from the family tree during his most vulnerable time. Now, seeing his success, you naively hope to reintegrate him into the Zhou family. What a pipe dream. When mother was gravely ill, both families quarreled over not caring for her. I had no choice but to bring her to my home, where my wife tended to her for over 5 years. Zhou Qingtian, how many times did you visit her? How much did you contribute? In the end, mother was profoundly disappointed in you both. To dare say my son lacks upbringing, I would argue you are the most disgraceful one among us. With that, Zhou Qingshan turned to leave. At the door, he paused and pointed at Zhou Qingtian, stating, what Zhou Yuqin said is accurate. You are merely a shameless charlatan who contributes nothing but seeks to save face. As the years of suppressed rage surged forth, Zhou Qingshan felt a refreshing release from within.